From Radio Iowa Sports, this is the Scouting Report, an in-depth look at this week's prep and college games. Now from our studios in Des Moines, Todd Kim.
Home games for Iowa and Iowa State. The Hawkeyes host Minnesota in the Battle for Floyd of Rosedale, while the Cyclones host 11th-ranked BYU. UNI is at Southern Illinois, and it's Week 9 of the high school season. That and more on the Scouting Report.
Okay, men, this is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. It's up to you. So what are you gonna do? You're gonna go grocery shopping, cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments. Don't you forget about the pharmacy. I know you won't, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. This is your time to show the world, your family, and yourself that you're tougher than tough. Now go out there and be the best caregiver this world has ever seen. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. A public service announcement brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
In terms of the outcomes, Iowa has dominated the series with Minnesota, having won 9 of the last 10 encounters. But that does not tell the whole story. 7 of those games have been decided by 7 points or less, and the Gophers posted a 12-10 victory 2 years ago in Kinnick Stadium in the infamous fair catch game. Another close one would not be surprising as both teams enter 5-2. Iowa's experienced offensive line will have a challenge against a Gopher defensive front that was a big part of the school record 9 sacks in a 24-6 win over Nebraska. And Hawkeye coach Kirk Ferentz says they must avoid 3rd and long.
Because the probabilities always go down. So a big part of our success, I think, this Saturday is going to have to be being productive first, second down. So we're not looking at a lot of 3rd and 7s, 3rd and 8s, because they've proven they can be very, very effective when that comes to bat. So, we're going to have to do a good job there.
Iowa sophomore left tackle Trevor Lauk says the Gopher defense will provide a challenge.
They got a lot of unique looks, and I think their main thing is they just want to try and confuse the offensive line. So we got to have a good week in film and study the film and know when we get out there that we'll be on the same page and stuff like that. So, it's going to be a good challenge. I'm looking forward to it.
Kickoff in Kinnick Stadium, 2:30. It'll be televised by CBS. After back-to-back losses, Iowa State returns from a bye week to host 11th-ranked BYU. The Cougars are balanced on offense and feature a standout defensive line, and ISU coach Matt Campbell says the Cyclones need to be competitive at the line of scrimmage.
I think the reality of it is you're playing one of the most veteran and complete O-line and D-lines that we face this year. And so they're big, they're physical, and really they've done a great job in all the games of winning the line of scrimmage, and we're going to have to be ready to compete in those areas for sure.
The Cyclones are 5-2. It's a 2:30 kickoff in Jack Trice Stadium. It'll be televised by Fox. UNI takes a struggling offense on the road in Missouri Valley play to take on 18th-ranked Southern Illinois. The Panthers are 0-3 in the conference, the offense averaging less than 14 points per game.
You just got to keep showing them the evidence that they can do it, it can be done, and just the thing that we can control is what we do moving forward. So if we choose frustration and disappointment and doubt, then we're not going to make any progress.
That's UNI coach Todd Steps as Drake takes a 3-0 Pioneer Football League record on the road to Marist. Drake's success can be traced to a simple combination. The Bulldogs have the second-best run game in the PFL. They also rank second against the run.
Especially on the defensive side, I think our defensive staff and of course the players are carrying it out. They're executing. They're really starting to understand what we're doing on defense, and they're just playing fast, and that gives you an opportunity to be able to stop the run.
That's Drake coach Joe Woodley. The lead in the American Rivers Conference will be on the line when 7th-ranked Wartburg hosts number 14 Central. Wartburg is 7-0. Coach Chris Winter says this game features similar teams.
It's going to be one of those type of games, I think, where you're going to see some kind of back and forth and closely contested, and who's going to be the one that can find a way to make the play at the right time and separate. That's like I said, those are the games you want to play, and those are the fun ones, but they're going to be a good team, no doubt about it.
High school football's next on the Scouting Report.
Okay, gotta be late. Gotta go. Where'd I put... Wallet, check. And, phone, check. Keys, check. Lunch, check.
Checking for the things you need doesn't take long. But what about checking for your safety? Right now, 1 in every 5 vehicles on the road has an open safety recall. But it only takes seconds to check for open recalls on your car at checktoprotect.org. All you need is your vehicle identification number or license plate number. Your automaker may not have the right information to notify you about recalls by mail, especially if you recently moved or drive an older or used car. Checktoprotect.org is the quick, easy way to find out if your vehicle has an open safety recall and find the closest dealer who can make the repair for free.
Laptop. Check.
Before you go, take a minute. Visit checktoprotect.org. Check to Protect is a program of the National Safety Council.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
It is week 9 of the high school season, and that means it's the opening night of the postseason in the 4 smallest classes. We begin in Class 2A, where familiar foes collide when 7th-ranked Cherokee hosts Spirit Lake. Caleb Claycamp has a preview.
Last season, for the first round of playoffs, it was the Braves traveling up to Spirit Lake to take on the Indians, with Spirit Lake winning that matchup and advancing in the postseason. This year, the tables have turned, and the Cherokee Braves will be hosting Spirit Lake, and only one will advance. Head coach of the Spirit Lake Indians, Josh Beloit, gave his thoughts on the tough matchup here in week 1 of the postseason.
You know, Jackson Palzer is just a phenomenal football player. You watch him on offense and defense, and I just admire the way the kid plays game. You know, he plays with physicality. He plays with heart. It's going to be a tough matchup for us. Ton of respect for them and what they've done.
First-year head coach of the Cherokee Braves, Chris Olish, and his team are looking for redemption tonight.
We've got nothing but respect for them, but our boys haven't forgotten what happened last year, and that's kind of been our mindset all week, is making sure you don't forget getting that shot at redemption and embracing it.
It's the Cherokee Braves hosting the Spirit Lake Indians tonight in a Class 2A win-or-go-home postseason matchup. For KCHE Radio in Cherokee and your Radio Iowa Scouting Report, I'm Caleb Claycamp.
Also in Class 2A, top-ranked Kemper Catholic is at home against Grandview Christian. Second-ranked Osage hosts Boyden Hull Rock Valley. 1A, top-ranked and 3-time defending champion Grundy Center opens at home against Eddyville Blakesburg Fremont. Second-ranked West Lyon hosts East Sac County. It's third-ranked Regina Catholic at home against Northeast. 7th-ranked Pekin opens the Class A playoffs at home tonight against Earlham. The Panthers finished the regular season 8-0. Coach Clint Weber's squad takes on an Earlham team that runs a version of the single wing. It's an offense Weber knows all about, having played and coached at Sigourney Keota.
We've got to find a way to get some tackles for loss or stop them for gains of 0 to 1 yards, because I can remember clear when I was in high school and coaching in that system. If you can consistently get 3.5 to 4.5 yards a play, and do that consistently, it's very defeating mentally for the defense.
Also in Class A, top-ranked West Hancock opens the playoffs at home against Galen Catholic. It's number 2 St. Ansgar hosting East Marshall. And an 8-player, top-ranked Bishop Garrigan is at home against Kingsley-Pierson, while second-ranked Iowa Valley entertains Moravia. This season, Bex is recognizing student athletes that are not only a star in athletics, but a player that shows heart in school, at work, through the community, and in the ag industry. Benton's Chloe DeGroot says her favorite sport is volleyball. She and her high school teammates work with youth players.
So we were basically just teaching them and helping them with drills, and if anyone needed a partner, we would help them and just try and make them more feel more welcome to be there. So I know sometimes little kids can be scared to go to things like this.
Riverside's Adeline Martins has enjoyed growing up on the family farm, even though one of her earliest memories was not a good one.
I was riding with my dad. It was me and my brother, and he was in the buddy seat, so I was just stuck on the floor. And if riding in combines and tractors, there's not a lot of room. And we were going down a hill, and we hit a bump, and I smacked my head on the front windshield. Hudson Clark of Gladbrook-Rhinebeck is a 5-sport athlete who also takes part in several activities, including FFA, student council, and musical theater.
For one, it keeps me out of trouble, and for two, it's just I love being part of stuff. I love the community I'm in, so just having people around me to support me, it's the best time I can think of.
Bishop Garrigan's Ethan Marceau says his father has given him a larger role on the family farm.
Going going out and cultivating the field by myself or hauling manure by myself, running a tractor, stuff like that. Doing some bills and helping him at the computer, getting the financial stuff down. And that has really helped me as a person, grow and see what it's all about.
Nominate a student athlete by searching Beck's Player with Heart. The rest of Week 9 is next on the Scouting Report.
Every day, farmers rise before the sun and put everything they have into a job so few can do. Their courage, resilience, and relentless work shape the legacies and future of our country. At Beck's, we're proud to stand alongside those who don't wait to see what the world will do. They act, they lead, they are the difference. Beck's honors your commitment to your land, family, and purpose. And while we can't predict what the future holds, there is one thing we can do to change it, and that's be the difference, right now, in every decision and every season.
At Beck's, we believe that true champions are not just made on the field, but also in the heart. The Beck's Player with Heart Scholarship celebrates high school student athletes who show dedication, teamwork, and leadership, both in sports and in their communities. We're honoring those who go above and beyond, demonstrating passion, perseverance, and a commitment to making a difference. Nominate a high school student athlete by searching Beck's Player with Heart.
The Scouting Report from Radio Iowa Sports.
It is the final night of the regular season for the three largest classes, and it's highlighted by a pair of rated matchups in 3A. It's a battle of unbeatens as top-ranked Clear Lake hosts number 4 West Delaware. Bob Fisher has a preview.
Clear Lake coach Aaron Stensland says West Delaware's offense will be a challenge to a Lion defense that has allowed only one touchdown in district play.
West Delaware will present a different type of some confusion for us this week. They run a little bit of stuff similar to Webster City with the way they spin and move in the backfield. So we've seen something similar, but they kind of do their own thing. So it's going to take us a little while to adjust. They've been able to move the ball on everybody they played this year, so it'll be a challenge for sure.
West Delaware coach Ryan King says Clear Lake's speed is impressive.
They're fast, in all aspects. You see that I think the first thing that stands out when you flip on the film is just, we've been watching them for a couple weeks, with different opponents and seeing them. It's, they got some good team speed and, up front and in the middle levels and the back end, they've got some really good playmakers.
Both teams have qualified for the postseason. Tonight's game will decide the district title in Class 3A District 2. In Clear Lake, I'm Bob Fisher for the Scouting Report.
Also in 3A, at second-ranked Solon on the road at Fort Madison, number 3 Bishop Heelan visits Algona. The title in 3A District 6 up for grabs as 9th-ranked Atlantic visits number 10 Carroll. Chris Varney reports.
If these two teams looked in the mirror, they might see each other. Atlantic is ranked number 4 in Class 3A in rushing with Ethan McNeil and Gavin McLaren leading the way. Carroll head coach Craig Rowetter.
That's just a dangerous combo with those guys as far as the full, they can hit you inside with McLaren, and then obviously McNeil, I think he's number 2 right now in the state in rushing yards, so once he gets to the outside, if you don't really need an angle because you aren't going to catch him.
Carroll is ranked 5th in 3A in rushing, led by junior Adam Malik with 1,131 yards. Trojan head coach Joe Brummer.
Yeah, he does a phenomenal job of reading his blocks. He does a really good job of getting open. He does a great job of, finding the hole, getting that extra wiggle, and he's explosive in space. He's not a straight 4.4, 4.5 40, but, he brings the pain, he brings some energy.
Number 9, Atlantic 6-2. Number 10, Carroll 5-3. For the Scouting Report, I'm Chris Varney.
The champion in Class 4A District 5 will be on the line tonight when 6th-ranked Gilbert hosts number 3 North Polk. Gilbert's Tiger Bone offense has piled up nearly 2,500 yards of rushing in an 8-0 start. Coach Graham Lunt says North Polk provides a big hurdle to an undefeated regular season.
They just are, from top to bottom, a very solid program, and so they win in the margins. They do details the right way. Coach DeBrink, I know very well, and he runs an outstanding first-class program, and so they are going to be very well prepared, very well coached. They're very talented, and so you're going to see a very, very good football team out of North Polk on Friday.
Also in Class 4A tonight, it's top-ranked Cedar Rapids Xavier visiting Mason City. Number 2 Sergeant Bluff Luton is at Spencer. And in Class 5A tonight, top-ranked Dowling Catholic visits Marshalltown. It's number 2 Iowa City Liberty at home against Muscatine. Third-ranked Sioux City East visits Ames. That's all for the Scouting Report. For Radio Iowa Sports, I'm Todd Kim.
It's Football Friday night, which means it's the Raw Customs and the Homestead Country Store Friday night tailgate show. Sports Director Tyler Lance will talk to the coaches from West Bend Mallard and North Union about tonight's matchups. Here's Tyler with all the details from inside the locker room.
It's week 9 of the high school football season, which means it's postseason time in the 4 smallest classes, that being 8-player through Class 2A, and it's the final week in the regular season for Classes 3A and up. Of course, for the tailgate show, our focus turns to the 8-man game, where North Union and West Bend Mallard are both playing tonight. For the North Union Warriors, it's a playoff game and a rematch from the regular season against 8-0 GTRA. That was a game in which the Titans beat North Union 52-28, but the story of that game, North Union had a 28-24 lead in the first half before GTRA ripped off 28 unanswered points to run away in the second half of that game. So this week, the Warriors will try to put full 4 quarters together and upset undefeated GTRA in the first round of the postseason. Meanwhile, for the West Bend Mallard Wolverines, they scheduled a week 9 game going up against East Mills in the Wolverine Bowl as the Wolverines of West Bend Mallard look to end the season on a strong note and go into the offseason with a bit of momentum with the win tonight. We'll talk with North Union head coach Matt Ernster and West Bend Mallard head coach Tyson Wirtz after this on KLGA and KLGZ.
The Homestead Country Store invites you to stop by their location at 203 South Broadway Avenue in West Bend, where you're sure to find all your favorite candies and snacks. Let's not forget the ice cream. Do you need syrup for your pancakes or waffles? Check out their New York syrup. Homestead Country Store has a wide variety of supplies from King Arthur brand all-purpose and wheat flour to spices and herbs for your canning supplies. From our homestead to yours, you'll find what you need at the Homestead Country Store in downtown West Bend.
Back here on the Friday Night Tailgate Show here on Hometown at Home Country Radio, talking North Union football with head coach Matt Ernster. Coach, great to be talking to you here as the Warriors get ready to start the playoffs against GTRA coming up on Friday night. As always, thank you so much for your time today here on the Tailgate Show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
As we begin, Coach, let's go back to last Friday night as the Warriors clinch a playoff berth with an exclamation point, defeating Northwood Kensett 58-0. What did you feel were some of the biggest things that came together to result in that win?
I just think practice was really good all week. You know, not perfect, but our guys did a good job of implementing the game plan and then really having good reps in practice to get kind of accustomed to that triple option that was, it's pretty scary going into it. And so I thought defensively, they just executed it really well Friday. The best defensive performance I've seen in a long time for us. And so that was really fun to watch. And then our offense just keep continuing to find ways to keep improving every week, being able to run the ball and mix the pass in as well at times. And just executing at a very high level there. So I just thought we played really, really well all the way around.
And, Coach, I think it's really worth talking even more about the defense because you look at the past couple of weeks, last week against Norfolk Kensett and the week prior against West Bend Mallard, facing 2 pretty different offenses, but ultimately 2 of the best defensive performances of the season for North Union. Overall, where would you say some of the biggest improvements are coming from on the defensive side of the ball?
So I just think right now we got guys that are getting lined up really well. We got guys that are getting into gaps, and then we're tackling well. So we're reading keys, and then once we're getting to the ball, we're doing a good job of not letting guys break through and break tackles and make big plays. So they're recognizing, reading, and getting downhill quick, and we're just doing a really good job with that in these 2 weeks.
Coach, now moving ahead to the playoffs, you guys draw a rematch against GTRA, and that was a game where the Warriors played well in stretches, but ultimately didn't put the full 4 quarters together. Do you guys take any confidence from knowing that there were some good things from that first matchup, and now the team just needs to maintain that for a full game?
Yeah, I think it does lend itself to giving us some confidence. I think we know that in that second quarter we played really good football, and we're right there, like you said. I think we also realized that we've come a long way since that game as well, and we feel that we're a better football team now overall than we were at that time too, and I'm sure they are as well. So we just know that if we play to our capabilities, and like you said, if we can put it together 4 quarters, we're going to give ourselves a shot there to kind of pull the upset here.
We're talking right now for North Union head coach Matt Ernster. Coach, when people think of the Titans, they think of a pass-first offense with a really good quarterback and a few big play receivers who can really help them spread things out. What are some of the big focuses on defense this week going against one of the better 8-man offenses?
Yeah, I mean, like you said, they're tough. The quarterback does a great job throwing the ball, making decisions, being accurate with his throws, and then he's got a number of playmakers. It just really spreads you thin. That can hit home runs from pretty much anywhere in the field. So they put a lot of pressure on you all the time to be
really good at everything you're doing. So I think for us, to have success, we've got to find a way to put pressure on the quarterback with our front three and not have to blitz to do that. When we have opportunities to get sacks, we got to do that. I think we got to be able to ID what we want to do as far as coverages and not be confused pre-snap and be confident in what we're covering and how we're doing it. Then, when opportunities for turnovers present, we got to make sure that we do that. And when they catch the ball in the open field, a big thing that hurt us the last game was, missed tackles in the open field just because of how spread it is. If you miss one, they're kind of gone. So we've got to do a lot of really good things in order to kind of shut down that offense.
Coach, wrapping up the interview by moving over to the other side of the football, what's the scouting report on the GTRA defense, and how do you have a good night offensively against them?
Yeah, an aggressive style, kind of what they've been known for a long time. Their kids are physical. They get after it. They're good tacklers, and so they've got a lot of good guys on that side of the ball as well that do a lot of good things as far as just being in the right positions when they need to. They got a middle linebacker and the Sweden kid that just makes a lot of plays. He's fast. He reads things really well, and he doesn't miss tackles. And so we got to find a way to control the ball. We got to find a way to identify fronts and be able to block a lot of different things that we want to. And then we got to be able to mix it in. We didn't pass very well the first time that we played them, and we got to be able to do that more this time to get them to kind of loosen up the box so that we can run. But we feel if we can get a mixture of those things going and be a little bit balanced and control the clock, get first downs, and finish drives, we can put ourselves in a good position.
Coach, we're excited to see the playoffs get underway for North Union this Friday night as you guys take on GTRA. As always, thank you so much for the time today on the Tailgate Show.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
That's North Union head coach Matt Ernster, his thoughts on the Friday Night Tailgate Show. We'll come back with West Bend Mallard head coach Tyson Wirtz after this on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Tired of being another boring and generic ride in the parking lot? If you want to stand out, call Raw Customs in West Bend today. From wheels, tires, fender flares, lift kits, running boards, bed covers to upgrading to LED lighting. No matter what your preferences are, they have all the accessories you could possibly want with the quality and service you deserve. If you want to turn heads, call Raw Customs to upgrade your classic or muscle car, truck, side-by-side, and more at 515-887-2800.
Coming back on the Friday Night Tailgate Show here on Hometown and Home Country Radio as we're talking West Bend Mallard football with head coach Tyson Wirtz. Coach, as always, thank you so much for giving us a few minutes today on the show.
You bet. Thank you.
As we begin the new week for the Wolverines, Coach, it is the final game of the season as you guys take on East Mills in a Week 9 matchup. And I think the question heading into Week 9 is always, this is a situation where the team has a choice whether to play or not. You can obviously end the season after Week 8 if you don't make the playoffs, or you can try to go out there and get another game on the schedule to play one more time. So why did you and the team feel it was important to get one more game in here going up against East Mills this week?
Yeah, I mean, we definitely left it up to the guys and let them vote and decide if they were interested, and it was pretty much unanimous that, partially they just want to play football. So for the seniors to get one more game was big, especially since we lost the Rockford one. Even without the seniors, I think a lot of the younger guys, they love to play football, and that's a great sign for our program. Developmentally, we just really want to, get another test on the road somewhere. We, had a really tough schedule this year. We faced a lot of adversity with injuries and whatnot, and so it'd be the last 4 weeks especially have kind of been a little bit of a slide for us, and we'd love to kind of end on whether we win or lose, whatever that is. That doesn't make a huge difference, but just end on a positive note as far as, we got some guys back that we haven't had for a while, and we're excited to kind of get the team together for one more this year and then get ready for next year.
Well, Coach, like you said, it's a chance to end the season on a positive note, and obviously a win or a loss in this game doesn't impact things as far as a playoff race would be concerned, but how big would a win tonight be just from the standpoint of you go into the offseason with kind of a good feeling at the end of the year, and maybe the guys get a little confidence out of something like that?
Yeah, it's definitely a priority. Ending on a positive note, we played a Week 9 game 4 years ago now against Boyer Valley and got a big win against them, and we've talked as coaches a lot about how it really springboarded us into the offseason in a belief of, we beat a solid team, and we were all basically going to be coming back the next year. And so ending on that note of positivity gets kids to buy into the weight room, it gets kids to buy into the philosophy, all that stuff. And we hope that happens anyways, but it definitely helps to end on a positive note instead of, we took a big loss to Garrigan last week, and that's not a fun way to end the season.
Well, Coach, this week you guys go up against East Mills. What have you been able to learn about them and scouting the Wolverines here for this Wolverine Bowl that it's being called?
Yeah, it's kind of a fun coincidence. They reached out to us. They were looking for anybody to play, and we've, it's always fun to look at teams you don't play throughout the regular season. It's a lot of time to watch all the film, but they've got a lot of different looks. They do a lot on offense. They've got some athletes for sure. We don't know for certain what they're going to do in this game because I know they're kind of prepping for things for next year too. So definitely learn they're probably going to try and sling the ball a little bit on us on the offensive side of things. They'll give us a couple different fronts on defense. They've run some fours against some run heavy teams like we are, and so we assume they'll probably do something similar to that against us. But we think we match up pretty well physicality-wise. I think we'll match up okay with them. On the edges, I think we've got the athletes to keep up with their athletes. So just excited to see it. It's none of our opponents are common, so it's kind of hard to gauge perfectly, but it'll be fun game to play.
No doubt about that, Coach. As we wrap up the tailgate show for this week, what do you feel a couple of the biggest keys for the Wolverines to end the season strong and pick up a win in this one are?
We want to come out confident. I feel like the last month we've really just kind of gotten kicked over and over again, and our guys' mental capacities have taken a lot of hits. And, that's not the end of the world. It's not bad for a young kid to, face some adversity in life, but the important part is figuring out how to bounce back from it. So really want our guys to get off the bus with a belief that, we can come out and win and play physical and play with confidence that we haven't had for quite a while. So that's kind of where we're at. Play confident and play clean.
Well, Coach, best of luck this week, and thank you so much again for joining us on the Tailgate Show.
Thank you, Tyler. We appreciate being on.
That's West Bend Mallard football coach Tyson Wirtz here on the Friday Night Tailgate Show, as that will wrap up the program for this week. Pregame coverage of your matchup is coming up next on KLGA and KLGZ.
It's time to hit the field. That's it for Raw Customs and the Homestead Country Store Friday Night Tailgate Show.
Get ready for football with the Garrigan Golden Bear pregame show. Brought to you by your Edward Jones representatives Bruce Keith, Jerry Soka, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen. We've got interviews with coaches, the starting lineups, Kimnaw Auto Center's keys to the game, the Grassmasters field conditions report, Algona Plumbing and Heating's game time temperature, Eyes on Thornton's coin toss, and more as we preview tonight's matchup. The pregame is also brought to you by Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare, JDR Seeds of Wesley, Tom Eishin Sales, your store in the country, Banwork Trucking of Odison, Cook's Scrap Iron and Metal, family owned since 1913, and Algona Feed Store, livestock, dog, and cat food. Here's Tyler Lance on the Golden Bear Edward Jones pregame show.
The smell of playoff high school football is in the air here at Bishop Garrigan High School as tonight, the 8-0, number 1 ranked Golden Bears open the postseason by going full circle, hosting the 6-3 Kingsley-Pierson Panthers in a rematch of Week 1 of the season. Good evening, everyone. Once again, I'm Tyler Lance here on KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream, and the postseason has arrived for the 3rd year in a row for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. Of course, it's a long journey throughout the regular season, but it was a journey where Bishop Garrigan took care of business night in and night out, blowout after blowout. Great performance after great performance, superstar after superstar on the field for this Golden Bear team, and they have lived up to the hype with an 8-0 record so far. But the old cliche, the overused cliche in sports, everyone is 0-0 when the postseason begins as the Golden Bears welcome Kingsley-Pierson in what is a very tough first-round matchup, easily the toughest matchup Bishop Garrigan's had in the first round in any of the past 3 seasons. This is a Panther team that started off the season with trouble in that first game, losing 60-20 against Bishop Garrigan, but that was Week 1 of the season when the Panthers were making the adjustment, moving down from 11-man football to 8-man this season. Since that time, they have greatly improved their team, and now they'll take on the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears tonight after dropping their final 2 regular season games. This was a Panther team that dropped that first game of the season, then they won 6 in a row with 2 forfeits being in there by some opponents who did not field football teams this season, and the Panthers actually had their eye on a district title for a little bit, but that slipped away in the final 2 weeks with a loss against number 7 ranked GTRA 62-46, and a tough one last week against St. Edmund, where this excellent Panther offense got shut down in a 24-20 loss against the Gales. So Kingsley-Pierson will try to rebound this week and get the offense back on track with their senior quarterback Landon Howe, who only threw for 97 yards last week, but prior to that had games of 338 and 278 yards passing. This is a Panther team as we saw in Week 1. A lot of great skill position talent, a really good running back, some tough, big wide receivers who can stretch the field vertically. So this Golden Bear defense. They're going to be spread out here tonight, and that secondary will be tested. The good news for Bishop Garrigan, in the secondary, they'll be returning Titan Troyer. He's been out pretty much the entire regular season after an injury that followed week 2 against Riceville. But Troyer's back out there. He's in a game uniform tonight, and you can expect him to chip in the secondary alongside the other Golden Bears in tonight's matchup. Again, it's Bishop Garrigan and Kingsley-Pierson. Second time this season, and a rematch from week 1. It's coming up on Home Country Radio, KLGZ. We'll talk with Bishop Garrigan's John Kesselring here in just a little bit. We'll also check out of Kingsley-Pierson's Travis Newman, all on your Edward Jones pregame show, coming up next.
You shouldn't need an advanced degree to figure out how to pay for one. Hi, I'm Brady Ross, your Algona Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help you understand all the options you have when paying for an education. Whether you're the first in your family to attend college or planning for a grandchild to build on a legacy that goes back generations, let's work together to take care of your unique financial needs. Call me at 515-295-7763 to get started today. Together with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Cook Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Think Cooks for all your new steel and welding supplies. Do you have any leftover material you don't need anymore? Cooks will take your scrap iron and scrap metal too. A family-owned business since 1913. Cooks Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Call them today at 515-295-2512 or stop in at 900 East McGregor Street, Algona.
Is your student athlete on the injured list? We can help. This is Wendy Wagner, Physical Therapy Assistant at Kasuth Regional Health Center. As a former student athlete and coach, I want to help you get back in the game feeling healthy and injury-free. Our staff works closely with local healthcare providers and specialists throughout the area for a recovery plan that works for you. Best of luck to all our area athletes this season. We will be cheering for you.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for healthcare.
And the high school football postseason begins tonight here on Home Country Radio KLGZ as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears welcome the Kingsley-Pierson Panthers. And joining us to preview the game is Bishop Garrigan's John Kesselring. Coach, first of all, thank you so much for joining us today on the pregame show.
Thanks, Tyler. Happy to be talking to you in the postseason, so this is an exciting time.
And, Coach, the regular season wrapped up much the same way it's been going throughout with a 56-0 win for the Golden Bears. I want to start by talking about senior night. It's the final regular season game, a chance for you guys to go 8-0 and secure some home field advantage throughout the playoffs, and also a chance to really honor those 7 seniors as well and really celebrate the accomplishments that they've had over the past 4 seasons. So, overall, how special is it to have that senior night at home and then not just to have that, but the guys come out and they take care of business against West Bend Mallard?
Yeah, our seniors, they're great kids and they're great young men and they're great. They have great families, and they're special kids, and they've done a lot for the school, and they've done a lot for the football program and other sports as well too. And Tate Virch and Carter Schwab and Ethan Marshall and Caden Graves and Kyle Borman and Lucas Bahanic and Carter McGregor. Those 7 have been wonderful leaders for young people. They've been just wonderful in the classroom as well. So it was fun to honor them and honor their families and their senior year and getting it off to a great start, all in the same breath.
After that game on Friday night, you and I talked to the coaches show on Saturday, and we were trying to, off the air, predict who Bishop Garrigan would play in the first round and what that would look like. Needless to say, no one ever knows what the state's going to do, and we ended up both being wrong in our predictions. But you play Kingsley-Pierson, a game that ends up being a rematch from week 1. First of all, when you look at this playoff matchup, are there any unique challenges in preparing for a game where you've already seen the team earlier in the season, but at the same time, that was multiple weeks ago, so both teams have made steps forward since that time?
Yeah, I think that the physical side of it is one part of it, and I think the mental side is another part of it. I think on the physical side, I mean, they don't look anything like they looked week 1, and we don't either. We're so far removed from the first game of the year, and they are too. And so I think that physically it's going to feel and look like we're playing somebody we haven't played before. On the mental side of it is, are we tough enough and are we mature enough to, the score was what it was the first time we played. That really doesn't matter now. And so it doesn't matter at all. And so are we mentally mature enough and mentally focused enough to get past that? We are a drastically different team than we were week 1, and so are they. And so it's really going to be fresh. And so there's just some layers to that. And really it's a lot of maturity and a lot of mental focus.
And, Coach, I'm certainly interested in the concept of mentally tough football because, as we know, at some point in the postseason, adversity arrives for every team. And whether that's this game or sometime down the road for either of these teams, you know it's going to arrive at some point. So you obviously have a group of guys who are experienced when it comes to playing playoff football. But from your perspective, what does mentally tough football look like, especially as it comes to dealing with the postseason atmosphere?
Well, I think for us, it's being able to do what you're supposed to do when you're supposed to do it to the best of your ability all the time. And that is something we talk about, and it's just being, so locked into your job and your piece of the puzzle and what you can do for the team. And I think being able to do that consistently over the length of time really is what our kids need to be able to do on Friday night. But it's also, something we do talk about. So are we mature enough and mentally tough enough to really take one play, one play is the only play that matters, and then the next play is the next play that matters, and keeping that mindset through and through, and kind of playing, nameless, faceless football a little bit is what we've talked about. The scoreboard doesn't matter. The opponent doesn't matter. What are we going to do everything that we have to come out victorious?
And, Coach, getting into some of the specifics now as you guys take on Kingsley-Pierson in this one, let's start with the Kingsley-Pierson offense. Their team that obviously has a senior quarterback just like you guys, and then a couple of really talented skill position players, some big size at receiver on the outside, and a couple of different guys who can run the ball as well. So the defensive coaching staff, I'm sure, has been challenged this week in preparing for Kingsley-Pierson, but what does that preparation kind of look like, and what you feel some of the keys are defensively this week for the Golden Bears?
Yeah, Landon Howe is their quarterback. He's a great quarterback. I think by far the best quarterback we have seen all year, and that's not a knock on anybody else, but just a very tall, lanky quarterback. When we played him week 1, he did not run a ton on us. Now he's carrying the football more, and we know the advantage of having a running quarterback, and it is a challenge. You can really get outnumbered a little bit in the box with the quarterback who's good at carrying the football, and so him doing that, they have a Neeson kid that's a receiver. He did catch 2 touchdowns on us on the first team in the first game we played, and he was a load for us to handle out in space and covering. And then their running back is Tyler Cook. He's a great running back. He could carry the ball 30 times. He's also a great receiver too. They split him out. They don't just leave him in the backfield to where we can find him all the time. So they present a lot of challenges. They're going to spread us out, which is, our kids really thrive in that phone booth football where it is, come right at you downhill. They love that kind of football. This is not going to be that. They're going to spread us out, and they can throw it. They have a mobile quarterback. So we're going to that's going to stress us in a lot of different ways. I think when we played them week 1, it just snowballed on them a little bit. And we've been able to do that to people to where we can just get on top of you so fast. We can just get you out of what you want to do. If they get comfortable, it's going to be a battle.
And, Coach, looking at the other side of the football now, it was another productive game offensively for Bishop Garrigan against West Bend Mallard as you guys put up 56 points in that game. And now you take on a Kingsley-Pierson defense that has also taken some steps forward since week 1. So when you're on offense in this one, what do you feel some of the biggest keys for the Golden Bears are?
Identifying some of their best players, the same kids I talked about on offense are really good defensive players. They move them around. The scheme they played against us week 1, they haven't played that against anybody else really, so obviously they made a change there and found some different things that they could do more effectively and more efficiently. So the scheme is a lot different than it was week 1. They've moved some players around, in the last 8 weeks, and that has made them better. So we have to be balanced. We have to get the ball to the people that need to touch the ball on a consistent basis and let them do the things that they're really good at, and that's just going to be kind of a chess match a little bit. They've really become multiple defensively, whereas week 1 they really kind of stuck in the same thing and couldn't get out of it. They're really multiple now with guys moving around a lot, so it's going to be, from a scheme side of things, a lot more exciting and a lot more fun on Friday night.
Coach, we're looking forward to seeing playoff action get underway from Conway Field on Friday night. Best of luck this week, and thank you so much for joining us today on the pregame.
Thanks, Tyler.
That was John Kesselring here on the Edward Jones pregame show, previewing tonight's matchup between Bishop Garrigan and Kingsley-Pierson. When we come back, we'll chat with Kingsley-Pierson head coach Travis Newman on KLGZ, Home Country Radio, and at the El Gordo Radio YouTube stream.
Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? Hi, I'm Bruce Keith, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help make your retirement goals a reality. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and how we get you there. Together, we can plan for the expected and make sure you're ready for the unexpected. Contact me, Bruce Keith, at 515-295-5173. Together with Jerry Sokup, Mackenzie Jorgensen, and Brady Ross, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, members SIPC.
At Wiffles Hybrids, they're completely focused on developing and producing the very best seed corn on the planet. A snack they've been polishing for more than 70 years, right here in the heart of the Corn Belt. Wiffles Hybrid. One thing done right. For more information, contact Rich Rosenmeyer, Dale Lappy, or Mitchell Carroll at JDR Seed of Wesley, 515-341-2452, or visit wiffles.com.
What you feed your animals makes a difference. Hi, this is Philip Dietrich from the Algona Feed Store. We are driven to provide you with products and answers that will improve the health and well-being of your animals. We proudly offer products from Hubbard Feeds, so whether you produce meat, milk, and eggs, or just want to give your family pet the proper nutrition it deserves, you can count on the very best with the Algona Feed Store. Visit our location at 525 South Phillips Street and see the difference proper nutrition can make.
And postseason high school football is coming up here on Home Country Radio KLGZ as your Edward Jones pregame continues right now with Kingsley-Pierson head coach Travis Newman. Coach, first of all, we appreciate your time today on the pregame show. Obviously, things have gone full circle since the start of the season as you begin in week 1 of a game at Bishop Garrigan. Now you start off the playoffs going to Bishop Garrigan as well. Starting off this interview, a common saying amongst teams is you're a very different team now than you are in week 1 of the season. So as we begin here, can you start by talking about how you feel this team has evolved since week 1, last time they played Bishop Garrigan?
Definitely a full circle situation playing them week 1, and yeah, I feel like probably both teams have grown quite a bit. Honestly, our biggest difference from week 1 to now is we kind of had a offense that was pretty limited as far as how, say, in the playbook that we had gotten come that point. Obviously, dropping from 11-man to 8-man is a change, and so a new playbook, a little bit. Just kind of getting used to the new plays and wrinkles that can come off of them. And so I would say that's a big difference that we have from week 1 to now. We have a little bit more access to our playbook, a little bit more openness, but at the end of the day, you got a very physical and very good Garrigan team that, as we were going through the season, we weren't necessarily looking to have to go play first round, but hey, you got to live with what's in front of you.
No doubt about that, Coach. And talking more about your guys' offense, it's obviously been some big point totals this season put up in the Kingsley-Pierson victories. What do you feel has been some of the biggest keys this year to generating the kind of big plays that your offense seems to be hitting on week after week?
Some of it is from our defense putting us in spots. It's been a good mix. When our offensive line gives our quarterback some time, he has the ability to make some plays. We got some good skill guys on the outside that have had some good success. And then, our quarterback's good at creating when he gets some pressure on him. So his legs have been able to generate a lot of success as well when he can get into the open field and go make some guys miss.
We're talking right now with Kingsley-Pierson head coach Travis Newman. And, Coach, it was obviously a tough one last week to end the regular season all around for the team against St. Edmund, and a tough one for quarterback Landon Howe as well. That being said, he's had a big year, obviously, and he kind of wiped the slate clean this week heading into the postseason. So what gives you the confidence that he's ready to bounce back and have a big game against Bishop Garrigan?
We were just a lot out of sync last week, all from top to bottom. Definitely wasn't one of our better performances. St. Ed's had a really good game plan, came in, kind of punched us in the mouth right away, and unfortunately we just didn't have the answers. Last Friday night, Landon's resilient. He'll bounce back. There were opportunities that we had. Unfortunately, just wasn't seeing it great on Friday night. Didn't necessarily put him in the best advantageous spots as a coaching staff, and we'll be better this week. Obviously, we know the task at hand, and he knows kind of what we got to go up against, and I think our guys will be ready for the fight.
And, Coach, locking in more on this week, let's start with Kingsley-Pierson's on defense. What are some challenges that are going to be presented to you by this Bishop Garrigan offense, and how do you try to counteract that with your defense this week?
They're big, physical. They definitely have a size advantage when it comes to their offensive and defensive lines. They're aggressive. They do a lot of things. They're going to get downhill at you. They want to get physical with you, and so our biggest thing we have to do is we have to come out and match. I felt like week 1 we had a lot of young guys, a lot of new faces in the lineup that weren't used to a varsity physicality aspect, and obviously going up against Garrigan, you got to be physical from the jump. And I felt like as the game went on, we had some younger guys that got some reps in that showed that they can handle some of that physicality, and I think throughout the rest of the season we were able to utilize the games to really
drive home that physicality aspect.
And, Coach, wrapping up the interview for today, we'll flip things around to the other side of the ball. What's the scouting report on the Bishop Garrigan defense, and how do you generate enough points against them?
We're just going to have to be content with taking what we get given. We can't be trying to push the ball down the field the whole time. We can't be trying to expect big plays every time. They're very sound. They want to keep everything in front. They want to get pressure on the quarterback, so we gotta protect our quarterback. We got to be able to get a run game going a little bit and just kind of give them different looks that hopefully we can get some big plays when it matters.
Coach, we appreciate your time today on the pregame show and wish you best of luck in the first round against Bishop Garrigan.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Go Panthers.
Kingsley-Pierson head coach Travis Newman on your Edward Jones pregame show. We'll take a quick timeout. More pregame coverage after this on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
What does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Jerry Sokup. Count on me for financial strategies that can help support a life you love, because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. Contact me at 515-295-7766 and let's find your rich. Along with Bruce Keith, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Member SIPC.
Kasuth Regional Health Center is your home for recovery care. I'm occupational therapist Ben Krause, ready to help you with recovery care. We work with a wide range of patients, helping them get back to the tasks of daily living and doing the things they want to do. Come home to recover with Kasuth Regional Health Center. Find us online at krhc.com or call 295-2451.
Kasuth Regional Health Center, your home for health care.
Cook Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Think Cooks for all your new steel and welding supplies. Do you have any leftover material you don't need anymore? Cooks will take your scrap iron and scrap metal too. A family-owned business since 1913. Cooks Scrap Iron and Metal in Algona. Call them today at 515-295-2512 or stop in at 900 East McGregor Street, Algona.
Back here in your Edward Jones pregame show, sponsored by Representatives Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen in Algona, as we get ready for the Kingsley-Pierson Panthers against the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears in the first round of the 8-man playoffs. Now looking at the starting lineups for both teams, a lot of the same faces out there for Bishop Garrigan. They'll start things off with their senior quarterback Tate Furch, who's completing 69% of his passes this year, 20 touchdowns and no picks. He's also gone for 10 touchdowns on the ground. His offensive line, the senior left guard Carter Schwab, the senior center Caden Graves, and the junior right guard Nate Learer. Tight end for Bishop Garrigan is Weston Rosenmeyer. Wide receiver, the junior Michael Joyce. And in the backfield, you've got the senior fullback Carter McGregor and the senior tailback Ethan Marceau, who has 45 career touchdowns on the ground. For the Kingsley-Pierson defense up front, they've got a little beef in the middle there for number 99, Carter Jasperson, a 6'1", 285-pound nose guard. At the defensive end positions, the sophomore Caden Bottorff Beeson with 9.5 tackles for loss this season, and Cal Harvey, a senior at 5'10", 195. Linebackers for Kingsley-Pierson, the junior Wyatt Clayton, senior Tyler Cook, and senior Gavin Trapp. In the secondary, the cornerbacks Easton Nissen and Sam Duskett. Nissen a senior and Duskett a sophomore. On the other side of the football, Kingsley-Pierson's led by their senior quarterback Landon Howe, who's run for over 1,300 yards this season and rushed for over 500. Howe, a 6'4", 205-pound senior. His halfback is the senior Tyler Cook. Out wide, you've got the 6'3" wide receiver Easton Nissen, who caught 2 touchdown passes on the Golden Bears in their first meeting. Tight end is the senior Gavin Trapp. On the line, left guard is Cal Harvey, a senior. Center is Jackson Newman, a sophomore. And right guard is Kieran Schmid, a junior on the Kingsley-Pierson offense. The other starting wide receiver is Wyatt Clayton. Defensively for Bishop Garrigan, at the end spot, you've got the senior Carter McGregor and the senior Carter Schwab. The nose guard is the sophomore Carson Kramer. Linebackers are Michael Joyce, a junior, and Ethan Marceau, a senior. And in the secondary, it's Dalton Klins, a junior, C.J. McGregor, a sophomore, and Tate Furch, a senior. Furch's 7 interceptions this year, the most, or I should say second most, in all classes in Iowa high school football. That's a look at your starting lineups for tonight's game. When we come back, it'll be your Kemba Auto Center keys to the game, next on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
Life changes, then it changes again. At Edward Jones, we believe that when it comes to your financial goals, you can't predict the unexpected, but you can prepare. Challenges such as job loss, change in health, or loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Hi,
I'm Mackenzie Jorgensen, an Edward Jones financial advisor. Let's work together to help make sure you're ready for life's ups and downs. Call us at 515-395-4021 to get started. Together with Brady Ross, Jerry Sokup, and Bruce Keith, we are local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
Get ready for a powerful outdoor experience with products from Tom Ison Sales. They stock and service steel products and Toro mowers and snow blowers. Hitch up and go with their awesome selection of trailers. They carry a variety of trailers to fit your needs, like flatbed, enclosed, utility, gooseneck, and more. Turn pro in your own backyard with a Green Mountain pellet grill. Whatever the job, get it done like a pro with products from Tom Ison Sales. Your store in the country, Highway 18, just west of Algona.
At Wiffles Hybrids, they're completely focused on developing and producing the very best seed corn on the planet. A snack they've been polishing for more than 70 years, right here in the heart of the Corn Belt. Wiffles Hybrid, one thing done right. For more information, contact Rich Rosenmeyer, Dale Lappy, or Mitchell Carroll at JDR Seed of Wesley, 515-341-2452, or visit wiffles.com.
At Kemna Auto Center, they understand that you have no shortage of options when it comes to purchasing or servicing your car. They're your hometown dealer for new GM, Ford, and Chrysler makes and models. Plus, they also offer an extensive selection of pre-owned vehicles. Serving you with a dedicated sales and finance team, along with world-class service technicians that are passionate about keeping your ride in top shape. Visit their showrooms today for an experience you deserve. Kemna Auto Center in Algona.
It's time for your Kemna Auto Center Keys to the Game, brought to you by Kemna's, an experience you deserve. I'm Tyler Lance, joined by Bishop Garrigan's #1 Kemna key. That is Beanie Bodie, our man of the people. Beanie, the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears start off the playoffs tonight with a Week 1 rematch, taking on the 6-3 Kingsley-Pierson Panthers. Looking at our first key for the game for tonight, I'm going to say for Kingsley-Pierson, they've got to generate some big plays down the field. This is an offense that aggressively hunts out the deep ball. They love to take their shots. They're going to have to hit on a few of those tonight against the Golden Bears, because I don't picture them having a lot of 10, 12-play drives. They're going to need some quick scores and some big-time strikes for one of our Kemna keys to the game.
And why shouldn't they take some risks? So I totally agree. They got to Kingsley-Pierson. They got to take some risk, and if those risks hit like a gambler's wheel, if they hit, it could be a game. Because, like you said in the pregame, they've got some skill players. So if those risks pay off, we're gonna have a ball game. But that Bishop Garrigan team is tough. So their ground and pound, their aerial attack, it doesn't matter what route they go. Their key is the Bishop Garrigan key is gonna have to be discipline and playing clean. They've been a little bit sloppy the last couple weeks. They've had some penalties. They got to clean it up. They play clean no matter what risk Kingsley-Pierson takes. Should be a favorable night for the Bears.
It is for this top-seeded Bishop Garrigan team and their 8-0 record. Another Kemna key to the game for the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. It's forced the opponent to do what they don't want to do. I say that every week. This team always puts the opposing team in such tough situations. Teams that are normally running teams have to throw it 20, 25 times. You just put teams in situations where they do what they don't want to do. And what Kingsley-Pierson doesn't want to do, they don't want to play that telephone booth football that Coach Kesselring talked about in the pregame. They don't want it to be a game where everyone's in the box. It's, 3 yards in a cloud of dust, that sort of thing. Like I said, they want an open field, spread it out game. So if you're Bishop Garrigan, if you can change that into a physical war where you cover up those deep passes and force Kingsley-Pierson to try to get some tough yards between the guards, that's going to be a hard way to do it tonight.
Yeah, turn it into a physical war. Make him play up front, and Garrigan's got the advantage there. But another thing that Garrigan has that not every team has every year is they've got speed in the defensive backfield that if Kingsley-Pierson does take risk, get that ball out in the open field, throwing the ball, swinging it out there, Bishop Garrigan's got the speed out there. You mentioned Tate Furchin is second place in the state with interception. He obviously is a ball hawk. He's fantastic in that defensive backfield. Michael Joyce, a linebacker, can drop and get into coverage and run down people. So even if it goes away from the battle up front, Garrigan has the defense, speed to keep Kingsley-Pierson from putting up major points. But this is a team that can put up some points, as they've shown lately.
It certainly is a team that can put up some points. In fact, their record this year is 6-3, but 2 of those are forfeits. So in the 7 games they played that did not involve forfeits, they actually scored 60-plus points 4 times. So it was certainly a Kingsley-Pierson team that had the ability to get some big-time points on the board. And to prevent that tonight, the secondary's got to play well. This Bishop Garrigan secondary depth will really be tested tonight. But the great news is Titan Troyer comes back. How much he plays, we'll have to wait and see. But anytime you can add a defensive back and a great athlete like Titan Troyer to the mix, that can only help Bishop Garrigan.
Oh, for sure. If you're a defensive back like Titan, you're just, he's been sitting out all season. season. I'm sure he can't wait to play, but you don't want to push him back too fast, too soon. But, you never know how your season's going to go. Who knows how that young man could have impacted this already good Bishop Garrigan team. Now that I believe they're getting some Madden Miller, got some reps last week, although I wasn't here. Apologies, Tyler, for not being here last week. I just can't make every Friday night. But yeah, healthiness at this point of the season is a key for all these teams that are entering the playoffs. You got to be healthy.
Well, as you know, Beanie, you're always on some very important business. As I always inform the listeners what you're up to when you can't make it, so
yeah,
there's no doubt about what you can.
What have I been up to? Maybe you ought to tell me what I've been doing. I'm sure it's ridiculous and outlandish, and that's fun. As Tate Furch, number 7, leads the team out to start this inaugural playoff ride for the Bears.
So Bishop Garrigan is back in the playoffs, taking on Kingsley-Pierson in a Week 1 rematch. That's our Chem the Keys to the game for tonight, brought to you by Chem the Auto Center, and experience you deserve. We'll take a quick break and come back with your Grassmasters field condition report after this on KLGZ and the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
What you feed your animals makes a difference. Hi, this is Philip Dietrich from the Algona Feed Store. We are driven to provide you with products and answers that will improve the health and well-being of your animals. We proudly offer products from Hubbard Feeds, so whether you produce meat, milk, and eggs, or just want to give your family pet the proper nutrition it deserves, you can count on the very best with the Algona Feed Store. Visit our location at 525 South Phillips Street and see the difference proper nutrition can make.
Get ready for a powerful outdoor experience with products from Tom Eisen Sales. They stock and service still products and Toro mowers and snow blowers. Hitch up and go with their awesome selection of trailers. They carry a variety of trailers to fit your needs, like flatbed, enclosed, utility, gooseneck, and more. Turn pro in your own backyard with a Green Mountain pellet grill. Whatever the job, get it done like a pro with products from Tom Eisen Sales. Your store in the country, Highway 18, just west of Algona.
At Grassmasters, we believe the secret to a successful season is hard work and dedication, the same qualities that make up a winning team. Preparation, perseverance, and teamwork have enabled us to rise above the competition and bring you a championship team. So as this year kicks off, we at Grassmasters would like to wish all of the local athletes the very best and a successful season on and off the field. Grassmasters, growing satisfied customers.
Back here on your Edward Jones pregame show on Home Country Radio KLGZ. First round of the 8-man football playoffs between the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears and Kingsley-Pierson Panthers. Bishop Garrigan in the postseason for the 3rd year in a row. Kingsley-Pierson in for the first time since 2023, as they made it in 2021, 2022, and 2023. Missed last year, but they are back in the playoffs this season. Well, we are on to our Grassmasters field condition report, brought to you by Grassmasters, the area's premier lawn care and tree care provider. You look in between the hashes here at Conway Field, Beanie. That's where a lot of the damage is done. You know how much Bishop Garrigan loves to dig into those offensive linemen and run up the middle, and there is evidence of that on the field tonight of how many games there have been so far.
For sure, this field has seen some wear and tear, and there's nothing wrong with that. This is a football season. It's a football field that's meant to be played on. But, boy, the Plath family painters sure have it looking good. Once again, that Plath family really does a nice job painting the field. And, Tyler, am I wrong, but is that 30-yard line marker either it's got a spotlight on it or that maybe got a double coat of paint? I got some inside baseball information that they had to replace a part on the painter this week. You know, it's harder than you think to maintain those paint sprayers. And hats off to the field crew here at Bishop Garrigan. Looks great. Wonderful night for playoffs.
Yeah, the markings are in pristine condition. They keep that up to date and well maintained. For people like you and I in the press box who are trying to squint down there and say, what yard line are they on again? There's no doubt about that here at Conway Field with the way they've got this field doctored up and painted here in our Grassmasters field condition report. I always talk about whether it's wet or dry as well, and tonight it's going to be a dry night. There was no rain in the area for today, so the field's going to be dry, but when it gets a little cold, Beanie, you always wonder, at some point, is there going to be a little bit of dew on the field, a little bit of frost? Could that be something that happens later on tonight?
It definitely makes a difference. You know, we usually are typically colder, and historically there is dew forming on the grass at these cold games, but I don't think so tonight. The humidity is low. I think when that dew point hits, it's going to be, I think we're going to be well out of this stadium. So I don't think that'll be a huge factor tonight, but you're totally right, Tyler. You know, I heard earlier this year how many teams in the state are playing on turf. A lot of teams have turf fields. Well, I'm a purist. I like to see this grass field here at Bishop Garrigan.
Folks, that answer to the question about dew can only be delivered by Beanie Bodie. There's not another color commentator in the state who knows that much about dew to know that the dew point tonight is not in the area where we see a lot of condensation on the field. So our weather reports are always the most accurate, I like to say, for this Bishop Garrigan football team in these games here at Conway Field. But as always, that's your Grassmaster, your field condition report, brought to you by the area's premier lawn care and tree care provider, Grassmasters. We'll step aside for a few more words. We'll come back of tonight's coin toss and game time temperature. It's next on your Edward Jones pregame.
Better follow that report. The clock's winding down. Good.
With fall starting, so is seasonal allergies. This is Dr. John C. Kortenberg at Eyes on Thorington. Do your eyes itch? Are they irritated or watering? If you answered yes to any of those questions, you may benefit from a prescription for your ocular allergies. Why not feel better today? Call to schedule an appointment at Eyes on Thorington at 395-EYES. That's 395-3937.
Living in Iowa sure means we rely on our furnaces and air conditioners to keep us comfortable all year round. That's why Algona Plumbing and Heating is proud to be your local trusted Armstrong dealer. They're committed to bringing you the highest quality products in heating and cooling, and it doesn't get any better than Armstrong furnaces and air conditioners. For all your plumbing, heating, and cooling needs, give them a call at 295-5240 or stop by their Dodge Street location. Live comfortably with Algona Plumbing and Heating.
Home Country Radio presents Golden Bear Football. Brought to you by Iowa State Bank, Northwest Iowa Phone, Joint and Sports Surgeons, Security State Bank, Murphy Farm Services, and the many hometown and home country sports club members you'll hear throughout the game. Now we go live to Home Country Radio Sports Director Tyler Lance with the call.
Welcome back to Conway Field, where the high school football playoffs are getting underway in the 8-man class tonight. The 8-0 Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears against the 6-3 Kingsley-Pierson Panthers. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. This Golden Bear football team, they've been itching for the playoffs to arrive. They've been waiting for it. They want these winner-go-home games. They want these games that mean the most. And it gets started tonight here for round one against the Kingsley-Pierson Panthers, a team that is looking to prove they're a much better team than the one that lost 60-20 against Bishop Garrigan in that first game of the season. And I think that's a fair statement to make. In fact, after that, they won 6 in a row. 2 were by forfeits, but those 4 wins that weren't forfeits, all 60-plus point games for this Kingsley-Pierson offense. They did drop their final 2 games of the season, and that's why they're here tonight, Beanie. You win one of those 2 games, you don't have to play Bishop Garrigan in the first round, but if you want to be a team that goes deep in the playoffs, you're going to have to beat a really good team eventually, as the Panthers look to pull an upset, while the Golden Bears look to get into playoff mode here tonight and take care of their home field.
Well, this would be a huge upset, and I'm sure a lot of Garrigan fans are wondering why we're playing Kingsley-Pierson. They're a pretty good team to get in the first round when you're the number 1 team in the state, but the captains are taking the field. They're going to do the coin toss. Tyler, you said that the players are focused and ready to go, and I tell you, that lineup for the national anthem was right in the front of the line was Carter Schwab, followed by Ethan Marceau, and behind him was Tate Furch, and they were standing at attention. They are ready to go for this playoff run. Those guys, upperclassmen, seniors, in fact, and they want this to be a good finale to their athletic football career, and they look ready to go. C.J. McGregor, those McGregor boys, you could tell that they just couldn't wait to get this game started. Either that or they can't wait to pheasant hunt tomorrow morning. I don't know, but those guys are tough. Garrigan's got a lot of tough kids on the field, and I think they're going to be well focused tonight. At least they look the part.
Well, your Eyes on Thorington coin toss is in the books. Kingsley-Pierson wins the coin toss, and they defer their choice in the second half, so Bishop Garrigan will get the football to start the game. Right now, it's football weather outside, 52 degrees. We'll get down into the upper 40s later on tonight, but 52 here at the kickoff. Is that your game time temperature, brought to you by Algona Plumbing and Heating. Bishop Garrigan, the black uniforms, black jersey pants, black jersey tops, gold numerals front and back. Kingsley-Pierson in the whites, white pants, white tops, black numbers outlined in gold, and the black helmet with the gold face mask on it. It'll be the kickoff here from Kingsley-Pierson as Jack Seglem will send it away left to right on the radio dial and get the postseason underway. Michael Joyce, who's run back 2 kickoffs or touchdowns this year, he is back deep to receive for Bishop Garrigan. Seglem gets the official from the The official whistling him to go as he will approach the football. He'll kick it to the near side of the field away from Joyce. It rolls over to Clens to the 15-yard line. Clens to the 20, bounces to the outside to the 24-yard line, and he's taken into the boundary and ridden out of bounds by Sam Duskett. As Bishop Garrigan's offense, 58.6 points per game. They're on the field first, and they will try to set the tone early tonight.
Well, Kingsley-Pierson wisely kicks away from Joyce. That guy's electric when he's returning anything. But Dalton Clens back there, he is a player for the Bears that has gotten significant playing time recently, doing a nice job as a junior.
Kingsley-Pierson's defense allowing 24 points per game this year, rated 15th in the 8-player class, as Tate Furch and his 57 career touchdown passes will take a run on the first play. Furch off the right side getting a good push. He's across the 30-yard line out to the 32, and he's ridden down by Caden Bontorf-Beeson, the Kingsley-Pierson sophomore, after a gain of about 8 yards.
Nice job up front out there. Credit to the line. There's Hayden Miller over there, and Nate Lear getting good blocks on that outside edge. Furch did a nice job reading his blocks there. Didn't force it.
Kingsley-Pierson does have this 285-pound nose guard Carter Jasperson in the middle, but Bishop Garrigan ran to the outside away from him as Furch comes out in the shotgun. He'll read, he'll give it to Marceau, picks his way for the middle. Marceau across the 35-yard line, plunges forward out to the 37, and Bishop Garrigan has the first down on a routine pickup by their senior tailback, Ethan Marceau.
Well, Tyler, we're only 2 plays in, and your forecasting seems correct that Bishop Garrigan's going to try to use that ground and pound up front, exercise their dominance in that line. But, boy, that Kingsley-Pierson, he's a big boy.
Yeah, Jasperson in the middle. He has Harvey and Bontorf-Beeson as the other two ends on either side of Trapp, the linebacker, lined up on the edge as well. Furch is in the shotgun, sends Joyce in motion from the right. He fakes the Joyce. Furch rolls right. He lobs it down the field. He's got a man wide open. Miller 25, cuts back to the middle to the 20. Foot race 15, Miller to the 10, and he's tripped up by the ankles inside the 10-yard line. It was Tyler Cook chasing down the play, but a huge gain for the Golden Bears as Mad Miller rumbles down to the 6, and Bishop Garrigan's inside the Red Power red zone, brought to you by our local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt.
Well, the crowd's cheering for that big play. I'm cheering that Mad Miller, after he caught the ball, he executed a pretty tough move on that bad ankle of his. So that shows that ankle might be stronger than you think, as he is back. He's been out for a while with that high ankle sprain, and always the most demonstrative player on the field, Mad Miller.
5th reception of the season for Miller. Power eye for the Golden Bears. Marceau runs right side, and he bounces off a tackle. He's to the outside, and he's in for a touchdown. He went into a swarm of jerseys, and all of a sudden, he saw number 11 emerge out the end. Bishop Garrigan's on the board, striking first on their opening drive.
Boy, Ethan Marceau in the power. And you know what I love about watching Ethan plow into the way of the end zone? He looks like he's been there before. He gives the ball to the official and goes back to work. It's actually his players have to tell him to get a little more pumped up. He is all about business.
We've seen some of that emotion come out throughout the course of this season as Furch fires left out of the swinging gate. Clens makes the catch, and Clens runs in for the 2-point conversion. How about that for the Golden Bears? What a start here tonight. The Marceau 6-yard touchdown run, and then a 2-point pass from Tate Furch to Dalton Clens. 8-0 Golden Bears, 10:34 on the clock in quarter number 1 at Conway Field.
High school sports on Hometown Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports boosters.
Greg Penning and Company, certified public accountants, where everyone counts.
Albert Electric. Flip the switch to Neil Albert Electric.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers in our area.
Glenn's Green Thumb. Paint your outdoor space with inspiration from Glenn's Green Thumb, North Main Street, Algona.
Weikert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
All sponsors of this broadcast.
Bishop Garrigan marches down the field on their opening drive. A big pass play to Mad Miller sets up a 6-yard touchdown run by Ethan Marceau. And now Gage Meyer will kick it away right to left on the radio dial. Tyler Cook, one of the excellent returners back there for Kingsley-Pierson. They'll kick away from him. It bounces towards Clayton. Running start to the 20, and Clayton gets hit hard at the 24-yard line. He got popped on that play by Carter McGregor, who's pumping his fists and jumping up and down on the sidelines.
Oh, that is so fun on special teams when you get to make that big hit in the open field. I know in the NFL we got to reduce those concussions, and I have no problem with that. But that was a well-timed collision by Carter McGregor.
Now here comes Landon Howe, the Kingsley-Pierson offense, averaging just under 43 points per game. Bishop Garrigan's defense only allowing 6.5 points, number 2 in the 8-man classic to Woodbine. Pistol formation for Howe. Clayton motions. Howe gets a little trouble there in the backfield, hands off to Cook late, trying to bend it to the outside, and he'll run out of the 19-yard line. Confusion between the quarterback and running back as Kingsley-Pierson goes backwards on the first play.
Oh, C.J. McGregor doing a great job there at linebacker. Read that thing all the way, broke on it immediately. He's seen that on film many times. Tyler, it's so different in this modern game where these players see that film all week. They can do a good job of predicting what play is coming at him, and C.J. did that just there. He had that scripted.
And it helped, too. They double-clutched on the handoff there that gave McGregor extra time to get in there for the stop. This time, 2 receivers split to the left, trapped the tight end on the right side of the line with Howe in the pistol, Cook behind him. Howe's back to throw against the free-man rush, zings it left side, has Nissen for the catch. Nissen 30-yard line, Nissen fighting his way forward, 1 yard shy of the first down as he gets spun down, and he may be hurt. Boy, Nissen, their lead receiver, with 10 touchdowns on the year, and he is down on the play.
Oh, that's a terrible thing. As soon as he caught that ball, I instantly remembered week 1 and how good of a receiver Nissen was. He really came on in the second half for Kingsley-Pierson. He was a little dinged up that night as well, but played through it and played hard. Very talented young football player there. What a shame to see him go down after that nice play. But he's on his back right now, and when he got tackled, he kind of twisted his lower body. You got to figure an ankle or a knee or something, but he's getting up, so that's good news, or at least he's sitting up.
That is good news because that's one of those plays where you kind of get twisted awkwardly and guys are falling down right at your feet, so you worry about a guy rolling up on you like a play like that as he pops up and he's jumping around, which is a great sign. There's not a whole lot of 6'3" wide receivers like Nissen in the 8-man game, but he is a legitimate threat on the outside.
You know what? We should probably be focused on the football playoffs, but I bet you anything that kid's their best basketball player as well. And it'd be a shame to see him get hurt here in what could be their final football game.
He'll have to sit out at least one play following the injury, but hopefully it appears he's avoided something that could have been much worse, as it'll be a pistol formation again for Howe with his excellent senior running back Tyler Cook behind him. Cook with 17 touchdowns, 3 rushing and 4 receiving on the season, as Howe sends Clayton in motion towards the right. Back to throw is Howe, has a clean pocket. He's going to gun it down the right sideline looking for Duskett, and Duskett reaches out and made a tremendous catch, and then it came loose. They're going to say that ball hit the ground. He was bobbling it, and he didn't control it through the process of the catch. C.J. McGregor out there in coverage. Howe threw a seed down there, perfectly placed ball, and nearly had a perfect pass. Instead, it's 4th and 1.
You're right, what a toss. But C.J. McGregor, from his linebacker position, I believe, drops back into coverage. A great job by C.J. Good coverage, but a great throw. Just that young man just couldn't make the catch. Interesting, good play call by them because Garrigan was going up tight.
Well, if you take a shot like that on 3rd and 1, you're probably going for it on 4th and 1. Near midfield are the Panthers. 4th and 1 for the 32-yard line. Howe alone in the backfield. Remember, he can run 568 yards on the ground, and there's a flag before the play. There's a flag before the play, and Kingsley-Pierson will be penalized 5 yards. Boy, how big is that? As Kingsley-Pierson goes from a 4th and 1 to a 4th and 6. And now everything changes here.
Looks like they're going to punt now as Garrigan puts in their punt receive as the Kingsley-Pierson clearly makes some player changes. You can always tell how stacked Garrigan is when they go into their special teams. A whole new lineup comes in. That's the depth of this Bishop Garrigan team.
So after a near deep ball down the right side that gets jarred loose by the ground, and then a penalty on 4th and 1, Kingsley-Pierson will punt as Nissen lobs it away. It rolls back towards the 20-yard line. Joyce almost went to it. It rolls loose again. It's picked up by Joyce at the 10-yard line, coming near side to the 15. Splits 2 defenders to the 20. Spins to the 25-yard line, dragging 2 men, and Joyce is finally stopped at the 27-yard line. My, oh my, some slippery running there as he finally got tracked down by 2 white jerseys.
Yeah, slippery running indeed, but that whole sequence was like playground football, kind of ill-advised by both teams. The Kingsley-Pierson cover man was trying to down the football, but he kind of slipped and couldn't do it, and Joyce said, hey, opportunity's here. He picked it up, but that got my heart going a little bit. Typically, you want to let that play run out.
Well, now we'll see if the Bishop Garrigan offense can capitalize on the missed Kingsley-Pierson opportunity. Marceau takes the handoff on 1st down. He jumps over a man in the backfield. They took him out low with a little hit around the ankles, and Marceau will get out just shy of the 30-yard line. It'll go for a 2-yard pickup on the 1st down.
Big 99 is running out. Tyler, what's his name? Because he's the one that got the arm in.
Jasperson.
Jasperson had been blocked to the ground, but he got that big left arm in and tripped up Ethan Marceau. Got his big left arm right around the knees, and that gave Ethan Marceau some trouble.
Yeah, Jasperson's replaced by Alexander McCoy. who's about 100 pounds less here at the nose guard position. Marcel runs right side. He bends it to the edge, jumps over man at the 35-yard line, and surges forward across the sticks. He's just shy of midfield, but a first down pickup by the Golden Bears on their second straight run by Ethan Marcel.
You know, we don't see Marcel run outside the tackles very often, or I guess tight end is what I should say. But whenever he has this season, he's been surprisingly good on the outside. He's not shaking and baking too many guys, but he's got great speed out there.
It's like he's running downhill, too. He gets extra yards after he's hit. Almost 5 or 6 yards after that first contact.
Deceptively fast.
Furch is in the gun. It's a quarterback run up the middle. Big hole for Furch. 35-30. Sideline 25. 20. 15-10. Furch tracked down inside the 5-yard line as Glacian runs him down. But the explosive speed of the quarterback, Tate Furch, results in another red zone trip for the Golden Bears.
Well, this season will probably be over and in the books before we start realizing how good Tate Furch has been these last 3 years. And it's plays like that that really set him apart as his skills as a football player. Just able to read that entire field. He read the hole that he needed to hit up front, but then he knew to break it outside. Never missed a step. Full speed the whole time. Great, great vision by Tate Furch.
And that's where, as a defense, sometimes your ends get too far up the field, and then Furch is by you in a heartbeat after that. Power eye for the Golden Bears. Hand up to Marceau. Marceau for the middle. Great blocking, and he can walk in. That was wide open along the left side as the Golden Bears road graded, and Marceau's up 14-0 as he has scored both touchdowns tonight.
You know, all the coaches before the game, they always give credit to the opposing team, how well they're coached, et cetera, et cetera. But, and how much they've improved over the season. Blocking is the skill that is probably the highest rate of improvement on all football teams in high school as these kids start off the season and the blocking is just popping and dropping. But by the end of the season, you really see their blocking skills improve.
Bishop Garrigan brings the swinging gate in this time. Gage Meyer, 23 out of 29 on PATs this year. So the snap is down. Meyer into the football, and that kick is up and good. Bishop Garrigan scores the first 2 touchdowns tonight. It's 15-0 as we have 8:22 left in the first quarter from Conway Field and on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Thank you to these sports boosters bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
J&J Custom Meats located in Whittemore, continuing the tradition.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new car sales, and used car sales needs.
Tangle Salon for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Fairway Meat and Grocery. Everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Ulrich Construction, let them do the work.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Back here at Bishop Garrigan High School, the score right now is 15-0. Kickoff goes end over end to Glacian. Fields near side 15, 25-20. Glacian up ahead of steam. He's across the 35-40, and Gage Meyer, the kicker, makes the tackle. Glacian looked like he had a chance to go all the way there, but fortunately for Bishop Garrigan, Meyer got in front of him. Great starting field position, though, for Kingsley-Pierson with the score 15-0.
Gage Meyer, the kicker, not always the guy you want making the tackle in that situation. Boy, he got down the sideline in a hurry. I will have to watch that one on film to see what happened, but uncharacteristic big kickoff return allowed by the Bears.
Special teams have been very good this year, but ultimately Bishop Garrigan will have their defense backed up here in a tough spot with Kingsley-Pierson on the plus side of the field. Glacian goes in motion. It's a handoff to Cook, bouncing it to the outside. He runs away from Miller. Cook to the 35-yard line, and he's knocked down along the sideline by Michael Joyce, roaming over there for the Golden Bears, but a positive gain on first down for about 3 yards.
Well, I do recall seeing Cook that first week of the season, and he looks very much improved, especially in his quickness of going north and south. And his power looks much improved as he has definitely built some strength over the season.
Yeah, don't coaches love to say that all the time? We're not the same team we were in week 1, and these aren't the same players they were in week 1 either. It's a much more refined team on really both sides, as it's a motion here by Duskett towards the right. Back to throws Howe, the senior quarterback. Howe pumps, he double clutches, fires to the sideline, and sailed it over Duskett's head. That ball slipped out of his hands up high, and it'll be 3rd down and 7 for Kingsley-Pierson.
Well, even if it slipped out of his hands, that looks good for him because everybody was covered well in the defensive backfield. Good coverage where he threw the ball, but there was nobody open anywhere. Good throwaway there to keep the ball first team here, 3rd down, and definitely 4-down territory for Kingsley-Pierson. You don't want to waste that big kick return they had.
You certainly don't, as Howe, with his 19 touchdowns and 5 picks, 1,335 yards passing this season. He'll have to throw it here on a 3rd down and 7 in all likelihood. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. Tight end on the right side of the line for Howe. Bishop Garrigan just one man with a hand in the dirt. They'll rush free. Howe guns it right side. Kalation dives underneath it, but the ball touched the ground at the 30-yard line. He would have been a yard or two shy of the first down, but instead of a 4th and 2, it'll be a 4th down and 7 with a flag in the backfield.
Well, you know, we know this quarterback can run well. We have not seen him run yet. I kind of thought on that 3rd down play they might just roll him out, see if he might find some open space and get that 1st down for him. So if it didn't work on 3rd down, now it's try again. Oh, it's on the Bears.
We've got a roughing the passer penalty on Bishop Garrigan. That is a big break for Kingsley-Pierson. They'll move all the way to the 20 and go to the Red Power Red Zone, brought to you by your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt. So Kingsley-Pierson gets out of a 4th and 7 with Bishop Garrigan's first penalty of the night.
Oh, I didn't even see it, but boy, hard not to rough passer when you're a high school kid coming with a full head of steam.
Well, Howe's in the gun with a fresh breath of air here. He'll have his back, Cook on his right hip. One receiver flexed out to the left with one tight end each side of the line. Kalation on the left, Trap on the right. Back to throws Howe, blocked the ball again, lobs it left, and he shot it over Dusket's head, incomplete. Boy, I think Howe's anticipating the pass rush, Beanie, especially after that last roughing the passer call, because he's actually had some very clean pockets so far tonight, but he's overthrown a couple of guys.
Well, he probably remembers week 1, and he's probably been warned by his coaches all week. Yeah, don't take any sacks. They could have some bad field position. I think the receiver thought there was someone behind him. He jumped out, and then he short-armed it, thinking that ball was sailing to someone behind him.
Titan Troyer's on the field for Bishop Garrigan. Back from an injury and playing in the secondary as Kingsley-Pierson has one receiver each side of the formation. Pistol here for the senior quarterback, Howe, with Cook right behind him. He'll give it to Cook. Cook looking for a little space for the middle. Breaks one tackle. He's to the 15, bending it to the outside, gets past Furch, and he tiptoes out of bounds about the 12-yard line. He ran a long way there, but picked up about 6, and it's 3rd and manageable. We'll call it 4 for Kingsley-Pierson. And, oh boy, Ethan Marceau down on the sideline for Bishop Garrigan right now. Marceau holding his head as he's keeled over on the near sideline for Bishop Garrigan.
I think he might have just taken a knee in a bad place, perhaps, and he's on all fours just trying to catch his breath and get comfortable again. I don't think this is anything serious for Ethan Marceau. Maybe got something knocked out of him and he pops right back up.
Well, that's good. You always hold your breath with Bishop Garrigan. I mean, they have so much depth, but especially one of their great seniors, you would hate to see any one of them go down. But like you said, Marceau sprung right back up, and he appears to be none worse for the wear.
Tyler, you know what? People don't realize this, but in your illustrious running career on the track and on the open road, sometimes you do get hit in places you don't want to get hit with that jostling, and I think that's what happened to Ethan Marceau just there.
Yeah, so he appears to be all right. Probably not the most pleasant thing in the world for Marceau, but he'll be back out there after sitting out for one play. It'll be 3rd down and 4 from the 14-yard line for Kingsley-Pierson. Duskett is to the short side of the field right. Cook is out to the left. We haven't seen Nissen play a lot on offense since that injury, although he did punt as Duskett takes it on. No, it's a keeper by Howe for the middle. Howe inside the 10-yard line, inside the 5, and he has the 1st down. They fooled me on the fake handoff there on a jet motion, and Howe took it up the gut to move the sticks.
Fooled me, too. I don't know what I did with the camera, but I'm pretty sure I was following the fake handoff and watching Carter Schwab make an incredible tackle before I realized that guy doesn't have the ball. But, yeah, great fake, great ball work in that backfield by Kingsley-Pierson. They are knocking on the door of a score.
So Kingsley-Pierson has 1st and goal from the 5-yard line. 7 minutes on the clock in quarter number 1. As Cook will go out to the left side. Kalation to the right. In the shotgun, it's Howe. They'll send Kalation in motion, and we have a whistle here, and I don't see flag on the field, but there it is in the middle. It was hidden right behind the center, and it's going to be 5 yards on Kingsley-Pierson with a full start.
I think that penalty was called by Ethan Marceau. He was back in the game, and he pointed right away when someone flinched to help the officials out. You know, some officials don't like that, but sometimes they need a little help.
Yeah, they may have gotten that one out of the way. Usually false starts are pretty routine calls, but even Marceau says, I can't hurt if I help out a little bit. Ball now gets moved back to the 10-yard line with 6:39 on the clock, quarter number 1. 15-0 Bishop Garrigan, but Kingsley-Pierson is knocking on the door, moving towards the right. Nissen is out to the left. Cook moves into the backfield with Trapp over to the right, as well as Duskett, as Duskett's wide right. Back to throws Howe. Good blocking again. Howe's going to run it. He has a crease right side. Howe to the 10, Howe to the 5, and he got banged out of bounds by Tate Furch. Boy, that was close to being a little late there, but they are going to say that was fine. And now Howe's banged up on the plays. He's slow to get up.
Wow. Good run by Howe. He got in the open field. We know he can. Furch actually did what I was glad to see him do. He comes in like a missile so many times, and you don't want him leading with his head or getting himself hurt. He actually turned his shoulder there and just laid a pop to him with his shoulder, so nothing malicious there. He was actually kind of protecting himself, but, yeah, he hit him pretty hard, and Howe went flying.
Yeah, it was a big hit either way because they're running in opposite directions, but, yeah, he could have absolutely blown up Howe if he had gone in there full speed, although Howe still being worked on there on the sideline as he took a big pop there. So,
well, the Bears have been doing some damage to opposing teams all season, but as of late, they've been doing some damage physically to other teams. West Bend lost a couple guys against Bishop Garrigan last week. Howell pops right back up, though, and maybe just got the wind knocked out of him. Yeah, he's holding his diaphragm there, catching his breath. You know, that's you're running. I mean, Tyler, I keep referencing you running, but if you're running and someone blindsides you from the side, you're going to get the wind knocked out of you, and I think that's happened to Howell there.
Fortunately, I haven't been blindsided too often on amount of my morning runs here around town.
It would make
the people here in town seem to like me enough where I'm not going to hopefully have that happen.
How much harder would you train, though, if you knew that at any point someone could come out of nowhere and knock you off your feet? Boy, that would really change road racing right there. I might start watching it more.
I might ask Ethan Marceau to borrow his pads if I knew that might be happening, although I'm not sure it would fit me the same way it fits Marceau.
The Bears are hustling back out there. Both teams hustling back out there as the officials are ready to go.
It's going to be Nissen taking the snap as the quarterback, lined up in the pistol with Cook right behind him. Clayton's out to the right, Duskett out to the left, trapped the tight end on the right side. It is a second down and goal as Clayton goes in motion. Snap to Nissen, gives to Cook. Cook whole right side, Cook lunging forward, driving the legs inside the 5-yard line. He had Weston Rosemeyer jump on his back as Cook gets all the way down to the 2. A positive play with Howe sitting on the bench.
Oh, that's what I'm talking about with Cook. That is a very improved running back over the course of the season. He continued to go north-south, didn't lose any speed, and then he moved laterally. That's why Rosemeyer had to drop on him from behind and hold on for dear life. C.J. McGregor comes in to help, but if Rosemeyer's not draped around his waist, he definitely carries that ball into the end zone.
Nissen will be the quarterback again as Eli Schroeder goes out to the right. 2 receivers over to the left have trapped the tight end on the right side. Here's motion from the slot by Cook. The running play to the left by Nissen, trying to get around the edge. He evades Schwab. He turns the corner, and he's in for a touchdown. Schwab was the only man who had a chance, but Nissen outran him as Schwab couldn't get his ankles, and Kingsley-Pierson with a critical drive. They're helped by the Bishop Garrigan roughing the passer penalty, and it's Nissen running it in for 6.
Nissen, good athlete. Boy, any team would be fortunate to have him on there. As Kingsley-Pierson clapping their hands, they're pumped up. They're showing some momentum. And right now the officials are talking to the Bishop Garrigan defensive captain, which is Mike Joyce at this point, about something that he saw on that last play. They're discussing something. You know, we don't always see. A lot of times players are talking to the officials. You know, they say, "Excuse me, sir, can you watch? I'm getting held by, you know, as I go to cover." And that's worth something to the officials.
Nissen in the gun on the 2-point attempt. Nissen runs out to the left side. He's got Schwab pursuing him. He lobs towards the end zone, and that one is incomplete. That play got blown up. Looked like the timing was a little off there for Kingsley-Pierson of some guys starting and some guys not. As the 2-point conversion fails, with 5:37 on the clock, Kingsley-Pierson's on the board. Bishop Garrigan 15, Kingsley-Pierson 6 on Home Country Radio and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
High school sports on Hometown Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports boosters.
Farmers State Bank, a strong history, a bright future.
Iowa Lakes Community College, your community, your college.
PMC Advantage Insurance Services, having the advantage makes all the difference.
Northwest Iowa Bone, Joint, and Sports Surgeons, proud to serve area athletes.
Hy-Vee, use the Fuel Saver card. Fill your cart, fuel your car.
Farm Bureau Financial Agents Dave Beisch and Daniel Foth.
American Glass, for all your glass needs, think American.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Back here at Conway Field, it's Bishop Garrigan 15, Kingsley-Pierson 6. The missed 2-point conversion's big because it stays a 2-possession game early on here at 5:37 on the clock in quarter number 1, but it's Easton Nissen taking it in for a quick rushing touchdown for the Panthers to respond to the Golden Bears' previous score.
Well, Tyler, kick receive is the special teams that has gotten the least amount of practice this season.
Yeah, not many kick receives at all as that ball is line drive towards Clens, takes it to the 16, towards the middle to the 20, 25, breaks the tackle 30, Clens spinning, he's churning the legs, and he is stood up at the 31-yard line by about 4 of the 8 white jerseys on the field, and Bishop Garrigan will start in solid field position, leading by 9.
Well, Dalton Clens did his job there. Sometimes I can't tell what the kick return call was, but that was clearly return middle, because Dalton Clens caught that ball out on the sideline and immediately darted towards the middle of the field to get behind the blocking.
Bishop Garrigan will bring in Michael Joyce and Dalton Clens with a couple of wide receivers. Tate Furch, that senior quarterback, who in his career is completing over 62% of his passes, over 3,400 yards passing in his career. He'll be in the shotgun of Marceau on his right hip, and Clens and Joyce out to the left.
Where the Bears have a formation that says they're going to open it up. Let's see if they're really going to.
Joyce goes in motion across the formation. He'll take it. Joyce evades a tackle in the backfield, makes a man miss at the 35, dives for it across the 40. With some evasive running, he picks up 8 yards, and Bishop Garrigan with a quality gain on first down.
Well, it was decent blocking, but not quite good enough. If a couple more guys get good blocks on that play, Joyce is in the end zone right now. So that is something that, sure, who's going to complain about an 8-yard gain? Well, I am, because I think that could have been a touchdown if blocked a little bit better.
It feels like it could be a touchdown anytime Joyce touches the ball. You almost take a sigh of relief when you hold him to 8 yards as the opposing team. Bishop Garrigan back to the power I formation, packing everyone in. Marshall takes the handoff off left guard. He gets a great block on the left side. Marshall's to the 35-yard line off the Rosenmeyer block, and he has the first down to the 33.
Marshall got in the open field there, and I always assume when Marshall's in the open field and he's looking at that would-be tackler, he's making a decision. Do I try to evade him or do I try to run him over? And that tackler gave him no choice. He went low. A good job by that tackler in the open field. About the only reason you can avoid damage and also bring down Ethan Marceau.
Marceau's averaging over 9 yards a pop per carry this year for the Bishop Garrigan offense. This season, as we have 4.5 minutes left in quarter number 1. Golden Bears have Joyce slot left, Cleanse wide left to Furch in the shotgun, fakes to Marceau, lobs down the field, major breakdown, and it's overthrown as Rosenmeyer can't make the catch. A breakdown in the secondary as Rosenmeyer was open by 10 yards, but those two cannot hook up, and Kingsley-Pierson catches the break, 2nd down and 10.
Rosenmeyer has had so much success as a tight end, breaking away with his speed. Boy, did he break away there, and he's gotten so accustomed to being wide open. He knew that ball was coming to him. He started looking for it a little too early, and that slowed down his speed. 4 games ago, he would have just kept sprinting as hard as he could, and he would have got there in time.
And a bit of a tough over-the-shoulder angle as well to make the catch. That ball was almost directly over the top of him. 2 men in the backfield blocking for Furch. Furch across the 30-yard line, breaks the tackle, 25-20, and a touchdown-saving stop by Nissen. He grabbed Furch down low as Furch could see the end zone in front of him, but all of a sudden his body fell forward with the Nissen tackle.
Just a sleek run by Furch. He just slid right between 2 tacklers. Boy, a talented quarterback all around, running, throwing. Yeah, I'm just starting to realize how good this Furch kid is. Where have I been?
Well, Tate Furch, in his 3rd year starting as a quarterback for Bishop Garrigan, he's improved his game this season. I can tell you that for a fact. As ball's on the left side hash, the give to Marceau right side. Marceau reverses field, he's to the 10-yard line, dragging men down to the 6-yard line. And it's a pickup of 9 for even Marceau on that carry. But back to Furch, Beanie. He talked about adding some distance to his throws this year, and we can see that, but I think he's added some speed in the offseason. He looks more explosive as a runner than he did in the past couple of years with the Golden Bears when he was already a very productive runner.
No, for sure. I guess that's my cue to mention that offseason training program for the Bears headed up by Tim Berkey, scripting the workouts, and those boys hit the training. They train hard for their entire career here at Garrigan, so it'd be a shame if Furch didn't get stronger and faster because that's what he's been working hard on.
Bishop Garrigan inside the red power red zone. Furch gives to Marceau some traffic right side. Marceau bounces off tackles, and he's into the end zone for a touchdown. A first quarter hat trick for Ethan Marceau with his 21st rushing touchdown of the season. It's 21-6 Bishop Garrigan. They'll get those 6 points right back right away.
Well, all Marceau all day, but what you love to see on these last 2 runs by Marceau is the guys that are on the ground because they blocked so hard for him. McGregor and Lear both blocked their guys to the ground in the last 2 plays, and you see Marceau getting up off the ground, and those guys are too.
Furch takes the snap out of the swinging gate. He throws to Caden Graves, who makes the catch for the 2-point conversion. How about getting the center involved for the Golden Bears? It's 23-6. Did not see that coming out of the swinging gate. That's a trick play for Bishop Garrigan, and it's an easy 2 points there on the pitch and catch.
Those are the things centers fantasize about. They're supposed to snap the ball and hit people. Boy, Caden Graves gets to put points on the board. Whoa, that's a big highlight for the senior there.
Yeah, how often does Caden Graves get to get his bear claws on a pass by Tate Furch? Of course, he touches the ball every play, right? He's the center, but when has he ever had a ball thrown to him in his football career?
No
what a play.
Kidding. You know what? I know he's one of those guys. There is a group of guys that they're in choir, they're in band, they're in drama, so they're here late nights all the time, and there's a group of guys that play football late into the night, and Caden Graves is one of them. He's got hands, because when they're playing pickup football, boy, you know he's a receiver and a quarterback, so that's pretty fun. Congratulations, Caden Graves, putting some points on the board in his senior year.
Come on, coaches, put him on the hands team. Let's go. But Caden Graves in there for the 2-point conversion. 23-6 Bishop Garrigan, a 3:27 left in the first quarter, and it'll be Gage Meyer to kick right to left on the radio dial. They have kicked it away from Cook so far, as Cook has had a huge returning season, averaging 31.7 yards on kick returns with 1 return touchdown. They'll kick it to him this time. Cook to the 20, working his way to the 25, near side 30, and a nice ankle tackle made that time. Titan Troyer on special teams.
Troyer's out there wearing a big brace on his elbow. That's what his injury was. It was an injury, long time brewing, I guess, but finally that elbow got too much for him. And I was thinking how awful it is. One time I hurt my elbow. You never realize how much your elbow hurts and is involved in everything in your life until you hurt it. You try to get in your car, you can't. You try to sit in an easy chair, you can't. That elbow, that's everywhere. But good to see Troyer back.
Well, the bad news for Kingsley-Pierson, Landon Howe is not back in the game. It's a 6'3" wide receiver, Easton Nissen, taking the snaps at quarterback. Nissen gives to Cook, has Clayton leading the way, trying to bend it around the edge. Cook fighting his way forward, and he did a good job just to get back to the line of scrimmage where he is snowed under by 3 Golden Bears, including Michael Joyce.
Now, let's test my memory, Tyler, but in week 1, didn't we talk about how Nissen had been the quarterback, and then Howe came in and displaced him? So perhaps Nissen isn't completely new to the quarterback position.
That is correct. Nissen has played some quarterback in the past. Howe was in his second year starting, but you are correct that Nissen, this is not a new experience for Nissen.
Yeah, and he clearly has some talent there. You know, he went down earlier in the game a little dinged up, but he can run. And boy, at 6'3", he can certainly see the field.
Yeah, how about a 6'4" quarterback giving off to a 6'3" quarterback? These two guys just look like quarterbacks as Schroeder goes in motion. Nissen wants to throw. Here comes pressure. Nissen running the wrong way. Lobs it down the field, has trap open, comes back to the football, and that'll be pass interference on C.J. McGregor, who tackled him as the ball was coming in. Boy, if Nissen wasn't being chased backwards that time, Trap was open behind the defense, but even working back to the ball, he'll draw the pass interference call on McGregor.
Yeah, because he was being threatened, he threw that ball off the back foot. It didn't go as deep as he wanted. The receiver came back to it. McGregor just ran right into him. Easy call by the officials. I always love it when the receiver gets up and says, "Where's the flag?" And the officials always say, "Don't worry, young man. It's right there.
There's 2 of them on the field.
It's behind you. Just look a little bit behind you, and you'll see there's some yellow there. No reason to get too excited."
Yeah, and that's one of those plays for McGregor. You don't see what's happening in the backfield. You're thinking this ball's going deep and over my head, and then when the receiver all of a sudden stops and comes back, you kind of run into him there on a play like that. So you can see why the pass interference ended up happening. But Kingsley-Pierson's in positive territory now, just outside the 30-yard line, and confusion on the handoff. Cook takes it. He bounces to the outside. Schwab grabs him. A flag comes in, and he's run out of bounds. Cook went to the wrong side of Nissen, or Nissen turned the wrong way, one of those two, but trouble on the handoff, and then a flag in the backfield to compound it.
Well, I will say, a blown play like that, I expected that running back to get hit in the backfield, but it does appear that the defense is a little hesitant to go in for the kill there. Once that, I think that's their recognition of a good running back and a good quarterback, that they're trying to maintain their gaps, and they're not just seeking the ball.
So holding on Kingsley-Pierson. There's also the aspect, there's a good amount of motion in this Kingsley-Pierson offense. You've got some reverses working sometimes. You always wonder, is this the last guy who's going to touch the ball in this play, or is someone else coming around to take it? Does he actually have the ball? Is this going to be a reverse? So there's a lot to look for, but Cook, he's a very elusive back. The holding call, though, will back them up
Garrigan
outside the 40.
2 guys on the line of scrimmage. Well, now 3, but everyone dropping back in coverage.
Nissen looking to throw, has a good platform that time. Pass tipped and incomplete. Boy, put it right in the hands of Duskett, who claps his hands in frustration, and it'll be 2nd down and a mile.
Oh, apologize. That was terrible camera work because I followed the ball and it looked like it was caught. I thought that was going to be an open field catch and run, but there is maybe the difference we're seeing with Nissen not playing quarterback very much. His throws are not quite on the money.
Yeah, and there's a quarterback-receiver chemistry. You're working all season, taking thousands of reps with Landon Howe as your quarterback. The timing is just a little different. The amount of time it takes the quarterback to release the ball is a little bit different, as Nissen's alone in the backfield. Golden Bears bring some pressure. Nissen's got to unload it. Lobs it down the middle, looking for Cook. He reverses. He makes the catch, and 2 flags on Bishop Garrigan. He was interfered with, but it didn't matter as Cook spun 180 and made an incredible grab inside the 15.
Wow, what an improved football player. That was coverage was there, but just a better play by Cook. Matt Miller had dropped back, had good coverage back there, but just a great athletic play by Cook. And this is working for them. These are these risks that we talked about, I guess, in this coming keys of the game. That was definitely a risky play, and it pays off for Kingsley-Pierson.
So Kingsley-Pierson's inside the Red Power red zone, needing a touchdown here to keep pace with Bishop Garrigan.
This is a time for a sack. The Bears could really use a big hit in the backfield. Let's see if Schwab can get her done here.
Pistol formation for Nissen. He'll take the snap and give to Cook. Cook working the middle, runs into a brick wall. He's given a bear hug by Schwab, but he continues to churn the feet. He is stopped at about the 13-yard line, but he was fighting and fighting for more yardage.
You know, Carter Schwab, he does this in football, basketball, and baseball. All 3 of his premier sports is like, when the team needs something, he kind of turns it up a level, and you see a little bit more from that guy, the senior. Good to see Carter get in there and make a big hit. Bears needed it there. Could kind of tell that one was coming.
You could. Schwab giving Cook the bear hug there. This time it'll be Rasmussen in the backfield. Two receivers split out to the left with Trapp on the right side of the line. This offensive line for Kingsley-Pierson is holding up well in pass protection so far in this game as Trapp now puts his hand in the dirt. Snap to Nissen, fakes to Rasmussen. He looks left, he fires over the middle of the Duskett, and that ball is jarred loose, incomplete. The pass is a bit behind Duskett, and Tate Furch had the hit.
Once again, perfect timing by Tate Furch on his hits. Boy, I think he played some tackle football without pads when he was a youngster because he really knows how to time his hits. And you pick that up when you're playing without pads on the playground when you're a youngster. And boy, Tate Furch, I've seen a lot of kids go through Bishop Garrigan as a teacher, and boy, there's not very many kids that like to play games as much as Tate Furch. It doesn't matter what game. He is competitive.
It is 3rd down and 10 from the 13. Kingsley-Pierson can get a first down without getting a touchdown. Pistol formation again for Nissen of Cook behind him. Nissen stepping for the middle. He's got a hole. He's to the 10. He's to the 5. He falls forward, and he's just shy of the 3-yard line. Ridden down by Michael Joyce. Nissen got 9 and sets up a 4th down and 1 with 1:22 left in the quarter.
Well, the Bear defense has been being so disciplined, maintaining their gaps, the A gap, covering that middle. But that time, everyone got blocked to the outside. Schwab and Marceau found themselves both blocked to the outside. Great recognition by the quarterback to see that green grass up the middle.
They'll say he only got to the 5, so it's a 4th down and 2. Critical play here for Kingsley-Pierson.
Oh, they've got Carson Kramer in there. Bring some size to that defensive front. Schwab's telling him to get down.
Going in motion from the slot, it is Cook. Nissen back to throw, he runs to the left. Schwab thought he got held. Coming around the corner is Nissen. Nissen to the corner, and he runs in for a score. Schwab threw his hands in the air and said, I was getting held, but the official said, I don't think so. And Easton Nissen marches Kingsley-Pierson down the field for a big touchdown.
Boy, yeah, just a brilliant call. It's like they're playing the 1980s Tecmo Bowl, and the Bears called the defense that was big up the middle, and Nissen said, I guess I'll call the play that goes around the outside, and it worked to perfection there. Just two different calls, one by the offense, one for the defense, and they didn't match up, so touchdown, Kingsley-Pierson, showing their ability to score points.
Now we'll need the 2-point conversion. Kingsley-Pierson did play in a shootout against GTRA a couple of weeks ago, so they know how to put points on the board against state-ranked teams. Nissen's in the gun right now, looking for the 2. Back to throw, fires towards the outer edges of the end zone and incomplete. He dirted that one in the direction of Duskett, and a 2-point conversion fails again. Score is 23-12. Back to Conway Field after this on Home Country Radio and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
More Sports Boosters bringing you this broadcast.
The Water Connection. From softeners to bottled water and service. Call 295-SOFT.
Good Samaritan Society Algona, senior housing and services rooted in God's love.
Schindler Lawn Care and Landscaping. Call 515-320-3840 or schindlerlawncare@gmail.com.
Feed Mill Coffee Company, Algona's locally owned coffee shop.
Billy Offerman, your State Farm insurance agent in Algona. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Signworks for all your signage needs as well as printed shirts, caps, and jackets. Stop in or call 295-9544.
All bringing you this game.
Two rushing touchdowns so far by Easton Nissen for Kingsley-Pierson, and the Panthers are trying to get a new track meet here for the Golden Bears. Bishop Garrigan on top 23-12 as it's been Marceau scoring 3 times thus far for the Golden Bears. Seglum to kick it away for Kingsley-Pierson as he's squibbing it down the middle of the field. Takes a high hop to the 20-yard line, returned by Joyce. To the 25, Joyce slips a little bit, tries to reverse field, runs into his own blocker, and he is knocked down right there. Bishop Garrigan hit Joyce a little further up Beanie that time. He got the ball in his hands anyways of Cleanse as the deep man, and he'll get the ball out to the 25 for the Golden Bears.
Yeah, you never really consider that. There's a rule book, of course, have to have a certain number of guys at a certain number of line, but other than that, you can move players around, so if they're kicking away from you all the time, just move your players around. Let's get that ball into the hands of our best return men. So I like what Garrigan did there. Now, I'm going to think that Garrigan took offense to that score, and I think we're going to see some great blocking, at least I bet the coaches encouraged some great blocking on this drive.
Some big-time size in the middle for Kingsley-Pierson. The freshman, Madden Finagua, over 300 pounds in the middle there alongside Jasperson. Hand off to Marceau. He has a crease on the left side across the 30-yard line and tripped up just shy of the 35. A solid pick of about 6 on that first down carry.
A nice shot by Ethan Marceau. Reading the blocker, saw the hole, didn't try to do too much. I bet if this was a state title game, Ethan Marceau would have tried to hurdle that pile of defenders, but instead he just gets it done, gets a big first down gain.
Dalton Clens out to the wide side of the field. Couple tight ends in the back for the Golden Bears. Furch in the gun. He'll give to Marceau. Runs right side this time. Marceau hitches past the line of the scrimmage, and he inches his way forward past the first down sticks. He was tackled by Tyler Cook on the play, but Marceau falls forward for the first down.
Great rehearsal for the Bears here. They're in a fairly close game, 23-12. This is a great time to practice some ball control. Don't get that ball back in the hands of Kingsley-Pierson. Let's run this clock with some ground and pound.
Tyler Cook, by the way, 72 tackles this year to lead Kingsley-Pierson coming into tonight, including 15 for loss. Furch back to throw out of an empty formation, completes to Clens, but very short completion right there as Clens gets stuck on the play by the cornerback Sam Duskett, and he'll pick up 4 on that pitch and catch.
Nice touch on the ball there by Furch. Saw the open man, delivered the ball, a catchable ball.
As quarter number 1 comes to an end, Bishop Garrigan has moved across midfield, leading Kingsley-Pierson 23-12 in the first round of the 8-man playoffs here on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Thank you to these sports boosters bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Daylight Donuts open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
Lichter's Garage Door Service and new installations. A reputation you can trust. Call 295-5988.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Steyr Ag Aviation, aerial and ground application agronomy services.
State Line Cooperative, real people, real pride.
Redding Gravel and Excavating, serving Algona and the surrounding area since 1948.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Start of the second quarter here on Home Country Radio KLGZ as Bishop Garrigan leads Kingsley-Pierson 23-12. We've got a big score update to get to here after this play as the Golden Bears are on the plus side of the field right now. Tate Furch underneath center. Marceau the lone setback for the Golden Bears. 2nd down and 7. A pitch play to the outside. Marceau trying to get ahead of steam. He makes one man miss. Breaks the second tackle. He's across the 30. 25-20. Pushing the pile. Driving forward. Getting assist by Schwab. And he's worked into the sideline. Marceau flexes his arms right there and says, "You can't tackle me. My name's Ethan Marceau, and I'm Bishop Garrigan's sledgehammer."
Well, Marceau can flex, but look at that offensive line. All those guys blocking downfield. Caden Graves was right there, 25 yards downfield. Carter Schwab, Lear, everybody's down there blocking. This offensive line for Garrigan, just like I suspected. They came out and they are showing some power on this drive. That offensive line gets it done.
All right, here's the scoring update. North Union leads 8-0, number 7 ranked GTRA 20-8 in the second quarter. So North Union trying to pull a first-round upset in a 3-seed versus 1-seed game as far as district standings are concerned. Tate Furch back to throw. He pumps, he pulls it down, he fires to the middle. Man falls down in coverage, and Joyce makes the grab. He makes the catch for a touchdown. Michael Joyce adjusted his route, and the defender fell down. Bishop Garrigan's back on the board.
What a play. I kid you not, Tyler. I was listening to sports radio this week, and I thought, why don't quarterbacks do the pass fake as much anymore in the college and the pro game? Tate Furch just does the pump fake there. A guy fell down, but boy, that fake was going to get Joyce wide open anyway.
And it looked like that was just going to be a deep pass down the sideline to Joyce initially. Nissen had great coverage right off the bat, but Joyce then bent that to the middle of the end zone, and that's when Nissen fell down. And Furch on that pass after the pump fires in there for the score as timeout is called on the field with 11:25 on the clock. So Tate Furch passing touchdown number 21 of the year. Michael Joyce touchdown catch number 7.
I was a little worried that Michael Joyce was going to drop that because he was too open. We've seen him make some great catches and coverage this year, but when he saw he had nothing but green, I thought he was looking to make sure he was in the end zone. And you always hate to drop those balls. Sometimes you're too open and you can't catch it. But after a quick timeout, the Bears going to get out there, try the swinging gate. Has resulted in 2 two-point conversions where they've seen something and able to go for that too. Let's see if they actually kick it this time.
So they've gotten a couple of 2-point conversions. They've gotten one PAT by Meyer. Now they're just going to line up right and go for it. Yeah, straight, exactly.
Okay.
Hayden Miller, the tight end on the right side. They've got Ethan Marceau winged up to the left as Tate Furch is in the shotgun. He's by himself there. He's got McGregor to the left as well. Furch, he wants to run it. He's got a hole initially. He got tripped up, but he lunges forward for a 2-point conversion. Sam Duskett, he filled that hole. He put his shoulder into Furch, and then Duskett may have hurt his shoulder making that tackle as he got Furch's knee right into his shoulder pad.
Yeah, that was a huge collision. Furch's knee was going forward and got his shoulder. That's the kind of thing that snaps a collarbone. But Did you also take a breath when you saw that hit? When Duskett filled that gap and Tate Furch had that collision, did you also kind of gasp and like, because it was a hard enough hit between Tate and Duskett. That's we get a little nervous in this playoff situation when in the injury situation. We got to keep everyone healthy.
Yeah, I know. Frankly, Bishop Garrigan's been very fortunate as far as injuries. They've had a few guys miss some time, but the good news is not too severe. Guys are coming back after injuries earlier in the season. Yeah, you just know, like, at this point, this late in the year, it's hard to come back if you get dinged up in any sort of way. So you definitely want everyone to stay healthy.
I'm sure there's not a lot of coaches that do this anymore, but back in the day, I think Tom Freilich was the guest speaker this week, and Fro used to love us doing what he called the Oklahoma drill, I believe, and two guys meet between two cones and mano-a-mano. That's what it was like right there with Furch and Duskett. There was a gap. There was nowhere else to go, and those two guys just had a massive collision. And I'm glad Furch's knee must be made out of steel because his knee drove right through Duskett's shoulder.
Yeah, the Oklahoma drill, that's kind of fallen out of favor a little bit here. They don't like to let you do that in practice anymore, depending on what level you're at.
But I tell you, as a young player, it's a chance to get the coaches to notice you. That's for sure.
Well, Ethan Marceau's into kickoff right now for Bishop Garrigan. Cook and Clation back to receive for Kingsley-Pierson. Golden Bears had 66 touchdowns in the regular season, 5th most in the state in any class, and they've scored 4 touchdowns so far tonight. That ball squibs into the hands on one hop of Cook. He angles towards the right side 20. Cook bouncing it to the 25, looking for space, patiently following his blockers across the 30-yard line and out to the 33-yard line. That was a true running back on the kick return, Beanie, letting the blocks develop, patiently running and picking up those yards.
Maybe the slowest, most successful kick against the Bears this season. That kick return took a long way. That's what I mentioned earlier. It seems like the Bears are a little bit hesitant on their well, I guess I'll call it a kill instinct or a swarm tackling or whatever you want to call it. Once someone makes that initial hit, usually the Bears swarm. It's taken a little longer to bring that back down.
Nissen, the backup quarterback and leading wide receiver, leads Kingsley-Pierson back out. Landon Howe still out with an injury. Boy, talking with Coach Newman before the game, he said, we're such a different team than week one. The playbook is very simple in week one, but it's opened up since. But how does the backup quarterback affect that? As there's a pitch and catch to the outside. Nissen hooks up of Clation for about 8 yards. And thus far, Nissen's looking pretty natural at that quarterback spot. Obviously, it's not the same as having your starter out there, but it hasn't been too big of a drop-off at all for Kingsley-Pierson.
That's a play right there where you just got to tip your hat sideline to sideline. Great play, good defensive coverage, but great offensive design, great play. That's the kind of one you steal from your opponents. Everyone was spread out. The receiver gets open, good pass and catch. And Clation is a very talented player that we have not mentioned enough.
Yeah, Kingsley-Pierson, Clation, and their wide receiver depth. Nissen can't throw to himself, obviously, so you're taking your wide receiver one and moving him to quarterback as there's the draw to Cook. Works his way past the sticks for a 3-yard pickup on the first down. But you take your wide receiver one out, but there's not a drop-off because, like you said, Clation, he's a really good athlete out there. You've got Gavin Trapp, a good wide receiver, Eli Schroeder as well. So they've just got a ton of depth at the wide receiver spot where you can sustain moving your wide receiver one to quarterback.
That's like the sportsmanship of this Kingsley-Pierson team. They all seem like a bunch of solid sportsman-like players down there. Clation, in particular, him and Furch were battling on the edge in the last series, and both hit each other to the ground, got up, did the typical pat each other on the butt and say, good job, back to it.
Pistol formation right now for Nissen. Clation slots to the right, motions over to the left. Handoff goes to Cook, patiently running, gets a block right side, weaves back towards the middle. Schwab gives him a hug, and tough yardage there, about a 1-yard pickup. Schmid, the right guard, made a good block, but Bishop Garrigan filled that hole pretty quickly and forced Cook back to the middle.
Early in the season, we talked plenty about Garrigan subbing nonstop, frequently just changing lineups constantly of guys running in, guys running out. Not seeing that as much this game, typical in the playoffs. Probably won't see as much subbing, but having Schroyer back, he's been coming in. Carter McGregor came off for a breather. Carson Kramer back there in the defensive line, he comes in and out regularly.
10:05 on the clock in quarter number 2. Kingsley-Pierson with a 2nd down and 9. Low snap. Good blocking up front. There's a lobbed pass down the middle to Cook, and that pass is incomplete. Michael Joyce had a beat on it, and Cook turned into a defensive back at the 15-yard line to bump Joyce and make sure he didn't get a pick.
Joyce gets up, hits his chest. He's really mad he didn't intercept that ball. He feels like he just missed a dunk, but that was a tough play. Joyce was he high points the ball very well. He knows when to time his jump, but a good offensive player becoming defense there as Cook made sure he didn't come down with the pick. Rosemeyer was working hard on that outside edge to get in there, but good blocking by Kingsley-Pierson. Bears have not had much pressure on Nissen yet.
Yeah, that O-line, Cal Harvey, Jackson Newman, Kieran Schmid. Great job in pass protection so far tonight against a really good Golden Bear pass rush. Back to throws Nissen. Nissen firing right side into traffic and incomplete. He was looking for Clayton, who got jostled a little bit by Furch, but not enough to draw a flag there, as it's now 4th down and 9.
By that time, Miller, Schwab, Carter McGregor, and Rosemeyer were all there. In another third of a second, they were going to get the quarterback, but Nissen, good job getting rid of the ball there, bringing up 4th down. You know, once again, you got to figure this is a passing situation, but with Nissen's running ability, I still offensively like to get him out in the open. Let him see if he can get this first down running the ball.
Kingsley-Pierson of 10 on the play clock as they hustle to the line of scrimmage. Clayton slot left, now Cook motions out to the left out of the backfield. They'll throw it over the middle of Clayton on the screen. He's got some blockers in front, and Troyer comes out of the secondary and makes the stop. Oh, Clayton had a convoy, but Troyer got through somehow and stopped him 2 yards shy of the first down. Kingsley-Pierson turns it over on downs.
Well, Troyer is pumped up. He's a young player. I don't like to compliment those guys too much, but he's got some wrestling experience in his history, and boy, did he do a great takedown there. And if he doesn't, that's a first down for sure. So good job, Titan Troyer. That was a nice tackle in the open field.
Yeah, welcome back to that young man. What an impact he's already made in this ball game.
He has got a very bright future athletically. I don't know his participation in all sports, but if he does go out for all sports, we're going to say the Troyer name quite a bit.
We certainly are, as Bishop Garrigan will come back on offense, leading 31-12. 9:47 on the clock in the first quarter for the ball at the 28-yard line. Marshall lone setback, works his way through the middle. He gets piled up, and they'll stop him at the 32-yard line. Marshall gets about 3 yards on that play, but Kingsley-Pierson clogging the middle a little better that time. And actually, pretty good spot there for Bishop Garrigan. They'll give Marshall more like 4.5 yards out to the 32.
Well, he doesn't want to come in below his average. You know, these players start reading the statistics. They start to think about him.
Marshall's still averaging 9.1 yards per carry, so that's got about halfway there. It gets hard to maintain that, but Marshall certainly has throughout the course of the season. Furch gives it to Marshall on the draw. Marshall has Rosemeyer leading the way, gets a great block. 40, 35, 30. Marshall back to the middle. He's being dragged all the way down to the 10-yard line and still churning to the 8. A physical run by Ethan Marshall as the Rosemeyer block sprung him into the red zone, and Marshall flexes again.
Oh. Tyler, as wonderful as your play-by-play calling is, that is one of those things that you just got to see Ethan Marshall do in person. We could run that back and do play-by-play replays over and over again to explain everything he did on that play. Dragging people, twisting and turning. They tried to rip the ball away from him. He got that back under his armpit. Just a run to behold there.
It is Hayden Miller on the right side as the tight end. Rosemeyer left. They've got Kramer in as well. Big formation here. Furch running. Furch to the 5. Furch weaving, reaching, and he is shy of the end zone. He is down to the 1-yard line as the crowd groans on that. They wanted the score, but Furch puts them right on the doorstep.
Well, this is the one where if you're Furch, you just go back to the line, and no matter what the play is, you just tell Caden Graves, hey, I'm sneaking the ball. I'm going to get that score.
The quarterback sneak by Bishop Garrigan has been pretty devastating. I would imagine the coaches may be on the same page here as well. Well, here we go. They've got that extra lineman in as well of Kramer. Furch lined up behind Graves. Graves fires off the ball. Furch shifts left, and he'll go in easily. That QB sneak is automatic. Tate Furch has the rushing score, and it's 37-12 Bishop Garrigan.
Wow, well, now the Bears have it in hand for a second there at 23-12. It was a little tenuous, but now 37-12. Everyone's taking a deep breath here. Now, Tyler, the score that you said earlier that's maybe more exciting than the 37-12 is North Union on top of GTRA, at least they were a while ago. We called it when we were watching them up there. We said North Union is developing into an 8-man team, and it sounds like they are.
Well, it's now 28-14, North Union leading GTRA in the second quarter. Warriors are just playing a lot better than when they lost earlier this year, 52-28 against the Titans. Gage Meyer to kick the extra point. Goalposts over to our right side with 8:15 on the clock. Meyer into the football. That ball is up, and it is good. 38-12 Bishop Garrigan. We'll break for a quick timeout with 8:15 on the clock here on KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
We've got more sports club members making this broadcast possible on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Schumacher Well and Water Care. You never know the value of water until the well runs dry.
Lance and Tracy Ludwig, your Channel C dealers in Wesley.
Triple W Livestock of Wesley.
Goshi Custom Cabinets. They'll meet all of your kitchen, countertop, and cabinet needs.
Grand Jeanette Jewelry in Algona. Think inside the box.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown and Home Country Radio. High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio, brought to you by these sports boosters.
Dieterine Brothers in Bancroft, farm equipment sales and service.
Al Lobig Marine in Wesley, your authorized Mercury Repower Center dealer.
Johnny's Bar and Grill in Wesley. Come for the food, stay for the fun.
Jumbo's Liquor in Wesley, everything you need for a good time.
Arndorfer Brothers Seed in Bancroft, providing farmers with high performance and strong yields season after season.
Algona Floor Design in downtown Algona. You'll be floored by their selection.
Miller's Bar and Grill, where sip by sip, bite by bite, you'll create memories.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Ethan Marshall into the football, end over end as Clayton fields it just outside of the goal line. Starts at the 2, he's across the 10, 15-20. Clayton down the right side, 25-yard line. Pile driving his way forward past the 30. A physical return by Clayton. Kingsley-Pierson have two good returners with Tyler Cook and Wyatt Clayton, and they will start at the 31-yard line, but down 38-12 after the Tate Furch rushing touchdown.
Yeah, this kick cover is definitely going to improve their game because they're giving up regularly 20-yard returns. So, I mean, they only netted 20 yards on that kickoff. They could just squib it 20 yards and try to get there, maybe get their hands on the ball if they're going to allow that. So Garrigan's going to want to get that kick cover a little more aggressive on pinning that team deep.
All right, here comes Easton Nissen again. Nissen will have Cook behind him in the pistol formation of Clayton out to the left. A second wide receiver over to the right side, that is Schroeder. And the center, Jackson Newman, over the football. It'll be handoff to Cook. He bounces it to the outside, and he evades Schwab. He's to the 30-yard line, and a flag comes in as he is knocked down at the 32-yard line. Boy, again, Carter Schwab is clapping in frustration because Cook's gotten around him a couple of times, taking it off the end, but this will come back as a block in the back against Kingsley-Pierson.
Well, and it was Joyce making the tackle, and I believe he was the one that was being blocked illegally. Boy, Joyce, he has really come along as a linebacker. I wouldn't have guessed he would be a linebacker at the beginning of the season. I would assume he would have been a cornerback or a free safety, but he's such an aggressive player. Just weighing in at probably about 170 pounds, but his aggressiveness and his speed has made him quite a linebacker. Another one of those players that, you know, you kind of say about this on everyone on the team. You don't realize the impact they have till you start to think about it. But, boy, Joyce has been really good at that linebacker spot.
And remember, too, he started in the secondary, but injuries forced him to play a lot of linebacker. Now you've got Mad Miller back as taking it off the right side is Nissen. Nissen trying to turn the corner, and the Golden Bears contain that on the edge. C.J. McGregor set the edge that time, and Nissen will actually lose yards as he runs out of bounds.
Now that is just a coverage tackle. They just string it out, eventually run to the sideline. Ethan Marshall over there to escort him out of bounds. The statisticians probably can't see all the way over there to see who give credit to the tackle. So when in doubt, give it to the linebackers. Right now it's Marceau, McGregor,
and Miller.
And Miller. So good to see Miller getting those reps at linebacker. That requires a lot of cutting, so he must be feeling really strong on that ankle.
Kingsley-Pierson well behind the sticks. They have to get across midfield to get a first down. On second down, Nissen back to throw. He's going to gun it deep, looking for Clayton. Ball's a little underthrown. It's a jump ball and incomplete. Clayton had a real chance to make the catch. He's up a little bit slow as well, but he will get to his feet. It was a jump ball of him and McGregor past the first down sticks.
There's Furch and Clayton. They seem to be patting each other every single play. Maybe these guys know each other. Who knows? I know Tate Furch plays in some wooden bat leagues. Maybe Clayton is also one of those baseball players. You never know how these high school kids know each other. And, of course, social media gets them all too familiar with each other.
I know, Beatty, you've been pretty active on social media as well, tweeting about this game. In fact, we saw those tweets about how cold it was going to be and that you didn't want to come here tonight, but I was glad you decided to come anyways in spite of all that negativity.
Well, I am Mr. Negative. I try to be as negative as possible. I'm just the Grinch of broadcasting.
Here comes pressure. Nissen stepping up past the rush. He's going to gun down the field again. He's got Cook open. He makes the catch after the bobble. He's the 30, 25-20, reversing field. Marshall's trying to chase him down. Miller coming from behind, and Miller and Marshall finally knock out Cook inside the 10-yard line. What a run after the catch, and a flag comes in. Cook made a first down pointing motion, and I wonder if they're going to call a taunting penalty here because that was right in the face of Ethan Marceau. That may be unsportsmanlike conduct, but we will see what the officials determine after that flag.
Yeah, boy, you know, I guess it's touchy to know what flags to call when guys start chirping back and forth because everybody chirps a little bit out there. Was it the flex? Because we do plenty of flexing.
Yeah, I think part of the determination is, do you do it at the opposing player, or do you just do it in the open? It is unsportsmanlike conduct on Kingsley-Pierson, so they'll get Cook for that first down point. And again, I think the difference of Marshall flexing is Marshall's doing it towards his own sideline. I think they're saying Cook did that in the direction of the Bishop Garrigan players.
The taunting penalty, if you will, but they call it, what do they call it, unsportsmanlike? But that is huge because, boy, they were knocking on the door of the goal line. Now they're all the way back at the 22.
Yeah. Boy, that's tough, too. I mean, it's such a quick motion by Cook, and I truly don't think he maybe meant to do that, but it just happened in the heat of the moment.
It was a great run. That's why you just act like you've been there before, boys. Just play the game. Too much TV screen watching. Oh, wait a minute. They're TikTok watching. They want that highlight.
All the above. Rasmussen takes the handoff off the right side, and he is buried. He's got Moose jumping on his back with Weston Rosenmeyer helping out down low, and it's going to be a 1-yard pickup on the play.
Oh, great job by Moose there, blocking that up front, filling the line. It's hard. You got to remind yourself that Moose is just a sophomore. That guy is a man out there, and boy, he's a smart kid, a kind kid, always helping his teammates out. Fun player for us to follow in the future. And it's getting a little cold here for Moose because Moose has decided to bick that scalp of his. And, boy, it's got to get cold on Moose's head in the winter now that he's all bald.
Well, it looks intimidating to whatever center's looking across the line at Carson Kramer as Cook will motion over to the right. It is Nissen looking to throw. Nissen stepping up through the pressure. He is twisted forward. He stays on his feet, but then he's swallowed up by Ethan Marceau. There is a flag on the play on the far side of the field. That'll go as a Hy-Vee sack for now, but we will check on the flag.
The flags came out immediately, but they didn't blow it dead, which means maybe someone's in the neutral zone.
It could be that, maybe an illegal shift, probably one of those two penalties.
Either way, it looks like Kingsley-Pierson is walking backwards, so what turned out as a promising drive after the big play, they're going to be all the way back at midfield after this one almost.
Well, it's on Kingsley-Pierson because they're asking Bishop Garrigan, do you want to accept this penalty or not, or do you just want to take that tackle by Ethan Marceau? Early in the game, it was Bishop Garrigan with the big penalty, that roughing the passer that eventually led to a touchdown. But now, like you said, this drive is getting derailed by penalties. Illegal shift declined by Bishop Garrigan. Sack will go down for the Golden Bears here, as I believe Marceau will get credited for that.
It's the best to decline a penalty in that situation when you're the defensive captain because you like to tell her, no, we don't need it. We don't even need the penalty. We'll take the result of the play. Thank you very much.
Clation goes over to the left, covered by Joyce. In the shotgun, it's Nissen. Nissen back to throw. There's a flag again at the time of the play. It's a fade towards the end zone, and it is picked off in the end zone by Michael Joyce. He thought about returning it, and they're telling him get down in the end zone. Joyce is faking a huge 80-plus yard run back, but I believe that's another illegal shift here on Kingsley-Pierson, so Bishop Garrigan will decline if that is indeed the case.
Yeah, Joyce with another interception. Boy, the Bears between Furch and Joyce are racking up the picks this season.
Yeah, it takes Furch 7 interceptions for Michael Joyce, pick number 5. And the Golden Bears have now forced 21 turnovers as they're still discussing the penalty, but the Bishop Garrigan offense is back on the field, so that is pretty clearly on Kingsley-Pierson.
Well, with 5 interceptions, if you said Furch is number 2 in this state, Joyce can't be too far behind him, I suppose. At least top 20, I guess, especially an 8-man, 8-player. All right, Furch back out to lead the team. That what looked like it could be a score for Kingsley-Pierson. Bears have the ball back.
And boy, what a crushing penalty inside the 10-yard line after that huge catch and run by Cook. You thought, if you're Kingsley-Pierson, all right, we'll get the score here. Maybe our defense can hold strong. We'll get the ball to start the second half. But now Bishop Garrigan has a chance to put a huge punishment on here.
Yeah, the big difference is Kingsley-Pierson now, they're starting to get that look in their body language that says, this isn't going well anymore. We're not having fun, and they're going to start slumping here.
Marshall Malone set back, play fake for Furch. Furch has got a gun down the middle of the field. Rosenmeyer fell down, and that pass is almost picked off. It was off the hands of Eli Schroeder in coverage. Rosenmeyer was open down the field, but that pass would have come up short of him anyways as it's 2nd down and 10.
So if Kingsley-Pierson is able to go in there and score, maybe get 2, it's 38-20. That inspires your team like, hey, we are in this against the number 1 team in the state. But 38-12, 6 minutes to go till halftime. This is a chance for the Bears to take advantage of their slumping and really put some serious points on before half.
This time, C.J. McGregor, who's a big play waiting to happen, is in the backfield. McGregor takes the handoff, running left side 30. McGregor has a convoy in front of him. He's across the 35-40, down the sideline 30, 25-20, out of a tackle, 15-10, 5, touchdown! C.J. McGregor takes it to the house. Bishop Garrigan hits on another big-time play. He just got him for 65 yards.
Oh, Tyler, what'd you say? Big play waiting to happen? You called it once again, Tyler Lance. What a big play by McGregor. Hats off to the offensive line as always. They do the blocking up front. The end gets sealed, After that, blockers out in front, and the rest was C.J. McGregor. Great speed by the youngster there. C.J. a sophomore. A couple sophomores coming up big.
C.J. McGregor rushing touchdown number 6 of the season. He is now over 340 yards rushing, actually over 350 yards rushing on the season following that run, and that doesn't even take into account the 12 two-point conversions that he's gotten. Gage Meyer will kick the extra point, say no need for 2 points here, we'll take the one. Snap is good to Furch. He puts the ball in the grass, and Gage Meyer continues to be reliable on the PATs. It is up and good. Bishop Garrigan has blown this game open in the first round of the postseason, leading 45-12 over Kingsley-Pierson here on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Fidelity Bank and Trust in Bancroft, banking on the community's future.
Burhow and Dornbeer Drainage and Excavation in Wesley. Innovative drainage solutions that return for generations.
Jason Gardner, your Whiffle seed dealer. Plant your independence. Plant Whiffles.
All right, there we go. We've got the audio back there, folks, as Bishop Garrigan will kick things off here with a long touchdown run of 65 yards by C.J. McGregor. Now Golden Bears 45, Kingsley-Pierson 12, and it'll be Ethan Marceau on to kick the ball away.
Always easy to tell that it's Ethan Marceau. He's got a little size differential between he and Gage Meyer.
Yeah, your 230-pound kicker will kick it to the far side of the field. That ball will bound it down to Clayton at the 10. Returns up the far sideline, looks to the numbers to the 20, and a nice tackle made by guess who? Titan Troyer. Welcome back to the Golden Bear football field, Titan Troyer. He's been all over on special teams and even on defense.
Oh, now he's limping a little bit. He made the tackle and he got up and was jumping around. I think he may be cramping up or rolled his ankle or something. But great tackle by Titan Troyer. He's going to get off to the sideline here. Great. Boy, he has got a nose for the football. You know, there's plenty of guys that are fast, plenty of guys that are strong. But there's certain guys out there that just have a nose for the football. Tate Furch is one of them. Titan Troyer looks to be the same.
And Michael Joyce, who had the interception. By the way, Bishop Garrigan, 16 interceptions this year, which is second in the A-player class behind Gladbrook Rhinebeck's 18. Nissen in the shotgun right now. He'll put it into the belly of Cook. Hesitates in the backfield, tries to get to the right, and he is covered up by Carter Schwab. Nowhere to run for the running back, Tyler Cook, and Schwab drops him for a 3-yard loss.
Was that Schwab? I think that was Moose. Schwab was out there on the right. Well, Moose is coming out. You might have been right, boy, but that was dead to rights there. Big defensive hit. Boy, Cook hesitated in the backfield, and that did not pay off.
Second down and 13. Sometimes against this Garrigan defensive line, you've just got to get north and south. Just accepting, hey, this play's only going to go for 1 yard, maybe just back to the line of scrimmage. Against some teams, you can dance around and hope for a big play, but this Garrigan defense, they just don't get out of position very easily.
Boy, now the coach is really spreading out the offense. 3 receivers, quarterback all alone.
Nissen awaiting the snap. Golden Bears only rush 2. He throws quickly. It's picked off. Ned Miller has it. He's knocked down inside the 20-yard line at the 19. Tackle made by Wyatt Clayton as Miller steals it away.
Wow, he read that all the way. The quarterback telegraphed the pass, and Miller read those eyeballs, and boy, stepped right in front of it. Could have been a pick 6, but the receiver, the meant-to-be receiver, was fortunate to get Miller to the ground.
Bishop Garrigan's defense starting to impose their will. Golden Bears offense will start inside the Red Power Red Zone. Brought to you by your local Red Power team in Bancroft, Corwith, West Bend, and Humboldt. 5:06 remaining in the first half, and already a 45-12 score as the Golden Bears have ripped off 22 straight unanswered points. Tate Furch will go under center. Marceau winged up to the left with C.J. McGregor in the backfield. That play almost got blown up there as Furch got away. He's looking to throw. Eyes down the field. Flag comes in the backfield. Furch lobs it into the sideline on a throwaway. That flag comes in there, sitting at the 29-yard line right now.
Once again, Rosemeyer, the receiver in the end zone, slipped and went down when he tried to cut. So maybe there is some dew. Maybe I was wrong in the pregame, Tyler. Maybe there is some dew forming on that grass out there, and it's getting a little slick.
Better get a new gauge to measure the dew point. And this will go against Lear. So flag sitting at the 24-yard line as Bishop Garrigan will be backed up outside of the red zone.
Well, Tyler, I like to follow the agricultural weather and the long-term forecast. And you know what I learned today, which might not be good news for you as a runner?
Uh-oh.
Big snows this winter. So get out those little cleats you wear so you don't slip on the sidewalks because, well, you know, they've been wrong before.
They have. Well, maybe that's the thing. If you predict there's going to be snow, it'll be a pretty dry winter. If you predict it's going to be a dry winter, you get a ton of snow. Maybe that's what'll happen this year.
It might have been big snowblower just wanting the advertisements to go out, get everyone buying snowblowers.
Well, Bishop Garrigan lines up. Bit of an unbalanced line here with Miller, the tight end, to the right off of Graves. Hand off to McGregor. McGregor, big hole left side. He's got his brother leading the way. C.J. McGregor turning the legs, fighting his way down to the 21-yard line. He'll get that penalty yardage back, and Bishop Garrigan sets up a 2nd down and 13.
Boy, C.J. McGregor explosive with speed, but those linemen must be fast too because Nate Lear was right in front of him 20 yards downfield. He must have fired off the line and got downfield to keep blocking, and that's the key. That offensive line, you make that initial pop, and then you got to keep moving. The play's not over.
C.J. McGregor on the hip of Tate Furch. Michael Joyce to the wide side of the field right, covered by Nissen. Furch getting signals here with 4:23 on the clock. Looking to throw. Blocking is great up front. Furch of time. He's going to take a deep shot to Joyce in the end zone, and it's picked off. It is intercepted by Nissen in the end zone, and that'll be a touchback. First interception of the season by Tate Furch. Only his 4th career pick, as the shot play does not pay off.
Well, since I am so negative, I will complain. There's been 2 picks in the end zone now, one by us, Michael Joyce, and there by Nissen. I'd like to see both those guys bring it out. Try to run that thing back. That's a fun part of the football game. Those Oskies.
That is Nissen's 5th interception of the year, as that play was whistled dead there immediately following the pick. So Nissen and Joyce, they're tied now in those state rankings interceptions. Joyce may have to try to get another one later in the game to move back up the leaderboard here.
Well, it might happen because with 4:15 left to go into half, they're down 45-12. They might open this up. They've got the receiver split wide. Cook out there is in single coverage.
Here's the handoff to Cook. Cook jitterbugging his way past the line of scrimmage. Carson Kramer gives him a hug as Cook falls forward for about 2 yards.
Well, that was Clayton out there. I got to start looking at the numbers more. Those guys have same physical builds. Clayton and Cook are both well-muscled young athletes there.
Yeah, so Cook will gain 2 on that pickup. After that pick, again, I'm not to pick on Tate Furch here after the interception, but you look at his career stats, they're still pretty good, Beanie. 58 touchdown passes and 4 picks, so that's a little blemish on the resume there, but again, you're up 45-12. You don't mind a shot to the end zone there to Joyce.
I don't know how they factor and do the equation for quarterback rating, but I imagine if we did for Tate Furch, his QBR is pretty solid.
I think the words proprietary formula come into play with that, as there's trouble again on the procedure. A false start against Kingsley-Pierson, who's had some issues tonight with the procedure penalties.
Yeah, boy, not what you want to see in a playoff game. Penalties on teams. And the Bears have had a few. They've had a few.
Actually, it's an offensive offside. You don't see that a whole lot, but it'll go as a 5-yard penalty nonetheless and set up a 2nd down and 13.
Oh, they are pinned deep. Boy, the Bear defense, this is their chance, boy. This is a big play waiting to happen. Miller had the interception a second ago. They're just in the spot for another big play. Let's see another pick 6 by, I say Joyce and Furch are both out there in coverage. I say they're most likely. C.J. McGregor's going to drop back from his linebacker position, but they're going to take a deep shot here, I think, with on 2nd down.
Tyler Cook as the wide receiver to the left side of the formation. Nissen is alone in the gun. Nissen back to throw. Cook with the double move. They're passing it to him, and it's incomplete. Overthrew him there as Michael Joyce had some solid coverage, and it is 3rd down and 13.
Cook had already forfeited on that play. He knew the coverage was all over him, and he took a peek to see where the ball was going, and he saw it was going to go long, and he thought, well, I'm not trying for that one, and probably a good decision. All right, now 3rd down and long. We have not seen very many punts all year. If the Bears can hold them here, you got to think KP is going to kick that ball.
Yeah, backed up this deep in their own territory, but they'll try to get the 1st down here and make that a moot point. They have Porter Hackett in the game as the receiver over to the left. Cook is slot left of Clayton to the right side. Bishop Garrigan has Besh at the nose guard spot of Schwab and Rosenmeyer on the end rushing positions.
Yeah, that offensive line for Kingsley-Pierson is getting worn down. You can see it on their body language. The fresh Besh is in there. Watch him get after this quarterback.
Nissen stands alone on the shotgun. Bishop Garrigan rushes 4. Marshall has the late rush. Nissen running for his life. He's in the end zone. Look out. Being chased back to the right. Guns it near side. And Clayton makes the grab. He's to the 20-yard line. Gets back up the field again. 25-30. Breaking a tackle. Dragging a man down the field. And finally chased down by Carter Schwab. What an extension of the play by Nissen. And a run after the catch by Clayton.
Wow, what a strange play. I guess you see those occasionally in the 8-player game, but starts off with the scramble. You thought he might get tackled for a safety by Marceau, but he keeps it alive. Athletic play by Nissen, the quarterback. And then Carter Schwab, the defensive lineman, makes the tackle in the defensive backfield. That's a strange one.
Well, it's a first down in any case, out to the 34-yard line of 2:41 left in the half. Bishop Garrigan leading Kingsley-Pierson 45-12 as Cook takes it on the handoff, started right, cuts back to the middle, and he runs into a bear hug. Even Marceau right in the zone there, as well as Matt Miller for the Golden Bears, and it will go for a 1-yard loss.
Boy, the cadence by the quarterback, I'm sure not playing quarterback all season, his cadence is becoming very predictable, and you can tell because the defensive line, Carter Schwab, and the linebackers all were leaning on that play, getting a jump on the snap. That puts your offensive line at a disadvantage, and they've already got a tough row to hoe already.
You're right. They've got to work so hard to hold off Bishop Garrigan that you can't give up any of that advantage to this Golden Bear defense. Hackett goes in motion. They'll fake to him. It's a 3-man rush. Now Nissen, he steps, he fires, he's looking down the field. It is a jump ball, and it is bobbled and brought in by Schroeder inside the 20.
Wow.
He was battling with C.J. McGregor, and Eli Schroeder catches it at the 17-yard line.
What a catch. Boy, yeah. Miller gives CJ a high five, and you say, boy, there's not much you didn't do right there. McGregor was all over him and still makes a tremendous catch.
Well, you can see the weapons on this Kingsley-Pierson team, and again, I emphasize, this team was in contention for a district title. Instead of being a third-place district team, they could have been a first-place district team. Competitive loss to GTRA, competitive loss against St. Ed's in the final game of the season. You reverse those two games, obviously, and Kingsley-Pierson, they're at home with just a one-loss record. As here's a pass near side by Nissen, and he sailed it over Schroeder's head, incomplete. McGregor had the coverage.
Oh, Matt Besch and his counterpart blocking him on the line. Boy, they went to the whistle and beyond. Both those guys tussling there.
And again, it's those fresh bodies for Bishop Garrigan. It's almost demoralizing an offensive lineman. You're playing all these snaps, sometimes playing both sides, depending on who you are. And then you have Matt Besch coming in, fresh motor, not a grass stain on his jersey and ready to go. It almost doesn't feel fair.
Yeah, he came out upset with himself, but he's playing great when he's in there.
Schroeder's over to the left, as is Glacian in the slot. Now motioning out is Cook. Flag at the line of scrimmage. Running is Nissen off to the right side, and Furch will chase him into the boundary. I think we've got another illegal shift against Kingsley-Pierson on that Cook motion, as there's 1:19 left in the first half.
And that could be another cadence problem as the quarterback's calling a signal, getting ready for the hut, hike, or go, whatever he says. His players are not in sync with him.
Illegal motion on Kingsley-Pierson. A 5-yard penalty, and the Panthers will back up outside of the red zone to the 22-yard line.
Well, just 1:19 to go in the half. Kingsley-Pierson trying to get on the board. They've had a couple successful drives, mostly because of a few big plays.
Yeah, big plays are one thing that their offense really lives off of, and again, you turn it into these long, grinded-out drives. The Garrigan defense eventually just finds a way to win, as Hackett is tight off the line to the left, Glacian out to the right, Cook in the backfield with Nissen in the gun. Nissen looking to throw. Here comes the rush. He steps forward. He lobs it towards the end zone, towards the boundary. Glacian trying to keep the feet in bounds, and he could not. Tight coverage that time by Tate Furch, taking the opposing wide receiver Glacian all the way to the edge, and it's 3rd down and 15.
That play took 20 seconds off the clock between the officials blowing the ball ready to go, and if Kingsley-Pierson was running their 2-minute offense or really trying to punch this ball in, they wouldn't have let that 20 seconds go off the clock in one play. Another sign that these guys have had enough of the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears.
Well, you're also thinking about, boy, if we leave a little time here, Bishop Garrigan can get the ball back again and try to do something as Cook goes in motion towards the right. Nissen looking to throw. Here comes McGregor on the rush. Nissen unloads down the right side, and it's bobbled and incomplete. Joyce nearly had his second pick of the night as that pass was intended for Cook at the goal line. 4th down and 15 for Kingsley-Pierson.
Well, we're just tempting these interceptions, Tyler. This is the night to get interceptions because Nissen, not their starting quarterback all season, and they're desperate. They're going deep. This is the night to go play some playground ball, go up and play some 500. That ball was up in the air for a long time. Everyone's going to want to get those picks.
Yeah, and against these 8-man teams that are running things like the triple option, the Garrigan secondary is like, come on, pass the ball. We want a chance to get an interception, and you're getting at least a chance tonight against some talented wide receivers.
Starting to tempt that quarterback to throw it.
4th down and 15, they will go for it. Nissen rolling out to the left, being chased by Schwab. Nissen trying to reverse field. Here comes McGregor as well. Nissen's in trouble. Nissen is being held onto, and he's going down. He cannot unload the football. It's Carter McGregor making the sack, his 2nd Hy-Vee sack of the year, and the Golden Bears get the ball back with 44 seconds left in the half.
Well, not only did they get the ball back, that was about a 25-yard sack by the time Nissen was done trying to run away from it. So not only did they get the ball back, Carter McGregor's nifty long-term sack gets some field position.
Yeah, you're right. That's a huge field position change as Bishop Garrigan gets to their own 34-yard line. So with 2 timeouts, there's a chance to really add an exclamation point to this first half and extend the 45-12 lead. Tate Virtual running here for the play for Bishop Garrigan. Kingsley-Pierson did defer the opening coin toss as they will start the second half of the ball, but it has been all Bishop Garrigan tonight. Carson Seidels in the game going out to the left side. Joyce is to the right with McGregor slot left. Tate Furch operating from the shotgun. Looking to throw over the middle, and he has a wide open Seidels. Seidels to the 30-yard line, and he has the first down after a 14-yard pickup on that completion.
Nice catch by Seidels. I bet we can count his varsity catches on one hand this year. Doesn't get in the game that much. The junior, number 13, brings in the reception there. Beautiful toss by Furch. Good route by Seidels, and that clock is stopped with. Oh, they got the clock. So there must have been about 40 seconds left.
It's the timeout clock that's sticking out right now. But yeah, probably. But I think the play started at 44. So yeah, probably 39-40.
Yeah, so that's plenty of time here with the ball on the 30-yard line for the Bears to punch another score in.
Yeah, and again, Tate Furch, it's kind of a cooler night. You've got a bit of a breeze here. You know, your hands are cold on a night like this, so the grip on the football can be a little bit tough. But again, it's just such an accurate ball. He's not afraid to throw over the middle. Sometimes you see a quarterback who's, only 5'11", and you're like, well, he's going to throw to the middle. But Tate Furch is not hesitating at all to do that.
Yep, you see they brought Rosemeyer into the offensive huddle. They're talking about the next play. So, if Kingsley-Pierson is deciding that they're going to go for the end zone and you send Joyce and everyone deep, that leaves the tight end open over the middle. So I'm guessing we're going to see some tight end action here.
Yeah, Tate Furch has already taken a couple of shots to Rosemeyer that didn't land. I know they want to get at least one of those before tonight is gone and get those two back in the same rhythm.
It's fun on this one. There's an obvious passing situation. You watch that offensive line pass block. You got big Nate Lear, Caden Graves, and Schwab. You see them do their proper footwork. They set up in the pass blocking position, and then you just hear the pads crack.
3 receivers out to the right for the Golden Bears. In the shotgun, it's Furch. Furch hanging on back to throw. Here comes the rush by Clation, and Furch is going down.
Oh.
Clation came in at the blitz off the edge, and Furch is sacked back at the 39-yard line.
Yeah, from the blind side. He came in on a late stunt. Rosemeyer, like we predicted, had gone out for the pass. Normally, Rosemeyer would be blocking that guy, but without the block there, Furch was dead meat.
Yeah, that's one where Furch has his eyes down the field, and you look up, and all of a sudden, number 44 is in your face. That is a shot that will wake you up in the morning, Beanie.
Yes, it will. If they called that blitz, great call by their defensive coordinator. I think maybe that young man did it on his own. When you get down in games like this, you start getting a little desperate. You just say, you see something, you go for it.
Clation, one of the athletic linebackers for this Kingsley-Pierson team, came into tonight with over 40 tackles. You've got Cook as well with 72 tackles. Some guys who really roam around and fly to the football. And now Bishop Garrigan's out of timeouts. They expend their last one. So at the 39-yard line, leading 45-12, they will have to operate here without the benefit of any more timeouts.
Well, who we haven't seen in a long time is Ethan Marceau. They went with McGregor, giving Marceau a break running the ball. And he's on the sideline there with his hands on his hips. Boy, he just wants back in the game so bad. But McGregor has been doing the running back duties here, and he's out there again.
So second down and a long way to go for Bishop Garrigan. They have to get the ball to the 20-yard line as it's second down and 19. Empty set here for Furch. Joyce will motion towards the backfield across the formation. Furch will swing it out to the right to Joyce out in front of him. Joyce will have the ball go in and out of his hands, incomplete. Had his eyes on number 44 wide Clation, who was going to come in and make the stop. Wanted to make him miss, but did not hang on to the football.
I'm okay with that. As good as Joyce is in the open field, Clation had a beat on him, and he was going to put a serious lick on Michael Joyce there. We'll save that for another day.
And Bishop Garrigan will say, that's good for the first half, as Tate Furch will take a knee on the football, and half number 1 is over. All Bishop Garrigan at intermission in this opening round playoff game. Bishop Garrigan is ready to run off the field, but
yeah, that should do it.
But now they're being called back here. I mean, unless Kingsley-Pierson wants to use a timeout, but clock is still running right now. I think the officials are saying, don't jump off sides. Don't go across the football here until the clock is officially out.
That would make sense. You gotta keep it proper.
Yeah, I don't know. I feel like I've seen in other games they run off when the knee happens, but now the buzzer sounds, and that is the moot point here. Is we will now officially go to the locker room. Bishop Garrigan on top of Kingsley-Pierson, 45-12, as we have hit halftime. We'll get to your Edward Jones halftime report, a quick timeout leading into that, and we'll get to the halftime report coming up next on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
That's it for the first half of play. Now get set for the Edward Jones halftime show featuring Algona Municipal Utilities. You make the call. And the Murphy Realty and Management first half recap. Your Edward Jones representatives are Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen.
We've got more sports boosters making this broadcast possible.
Worspin Chiropractic and Massage.
Greenfield Spreading and Sales for all your spreading needs.
West Bend Community Lumber, your local Marvin and Birch dealers.
Dean Meyer Electric. They'll help you look to a brighter future.
Wine and Spirits, locally owned at 111 South Phillip Street in Algona.
Algona Manor Care Center, your home away from home with quality care.
Rothler Electric. Don't be left in the dark. Call 295-7117 today.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown Home Country Radio.
High school activities have given me the opportunity to get involved and make new friends.
Compete in sports that I love and meet new people.
Do something I love while building the programs in my community.
Not just be a role model off the court, but also be a role model on the court.
Make connections and meet new people.
They give me a reason to work hard and better myself for the future. Set good examples to the younger athletes.
Have a positive impact on my community.
Help us support Iowa high school activities.
High school sports on Hometown and Home Country Radio. Brought to you by these fine sports boosters.
Miller Construction, proud supporter of area athletes.
Doctors Klepper and Trainers, Family Vision Clinic, Total Family Eye Care in Algona.
Premier Pizza, your locally owned pizza place in Algona.
Algona Municipal Utilities, community owned for community benefit.
Northwest Bank, commitment you can bank on.
Algona Dairy Queen, happy tastes good.
All bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Positive sportsmanship is an essential element of IHSA events.
Even as competitors, good sportsmanship puts us all on the same team.
We should all support the student athletes competing. Let the coaches coach.
Respect the officials working the event. Be a positive representative of your school.
Thank you for supporting sportsmanship at Iowa high school activities.
What does it mean to be rich? Maybe it's less about reaching a magic number and more about discovering the magic in life. Hi, I'm Edward Jones financial advisor Jerry Sokup. Count on me for financial strategies that can help support a life you love, because the key to being rich is knowing what counts. Contact me at 515-295-7766 and let's find your rich. Along with Bruce Keith, Brady Ross, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Member SIPC.
Safe and affordable housing. Those are words we like to hear. And Murphy Realty and Management Incorporated provides just that. With properties in Algona and several surrounding counties, Murphy Realty and Management Incorporated provides safe and affordable apartments at a time when everyone could really use it. They pride themselves as a local entity that aims to help you find exactly what you're looking for. Give them a call at 515-295-2927 or stop in their office located at 208 East State Street in Algona. This institution is an equal housing opportunity provider.
We're back here at halftime here on Home Country Radio, KLGZ, 98.5 FM, AM 1600, and the Algona Radio YouTube stream. At the half, it's Bishop Garrigan 45 and Kingsley-Pierson 12 as the Golden Bears ended the half by scoring the final 22 points in a row to blow this game open in the first round of the postseason. This is now time for our first half recap, brought to you by Murphy Realty and Management. Looking at the way the game started, Kingsley-Pierson deferred on the opening coin toss, and Bishop Garrigan got the football, and it was a nice workmanlike drive. They marched down the field. One big pass play from Tate Furch to Mad Miller, and then even Marceau punched it in from 6 yards out to give Bishop Garrigan the early 8-0 lead. After Kingsley-Pierson did not score on their first drive, they actually had an opportunity for a deep shot down the field that was falling incomplete when the receiver got the ball jarred loose going to the ground. So Kingsley-Pierson had a 4th down and 1. They decided, or they were going to go for it, but they ended up having a procedural penalty, got backed up to a 4th and 6, and punted away to the Golden Bears. Bishop Garrigan got the ball back. They went down the field, and Marceau scored his second touchdown of the night, 15-0 Golden Bears. After that, Kingsley-Pierson got back inside the red zone. Their quarterback, Landon Howe, went down with an injury, but Easton Nissen moved from wide receiver to quarterback, and Nissen ran it in off the left side to make it 15-6. Then it was Marceau's third rushing touchdown of the first quarter, 23-6 Golden Bears, as Marceau responded right away, getting his third rushing touchdown of the night and 21st of the season. Kingsley-Pierson came back on their next drive. They scored their second touchdown of the night the same way. Easton Nissen off the left side on a fourth down to make it 23-12, but since then it's been all Golden Bears. Tate Furch has gone for a rushing touchdown. Tate Furch threw a passing touchdown to Michael Joyce, and then C.J. McGregor, he took a ball 65 yards to the house, and the Golden Bears now lead it 45-12 for the half. Turnover battle 2-1 in favor of Bishop Garrigan. Michael Joyce has picked up a pass, as well as Matt Miller. Easton Nissen had an interception for Kingsley-Pierson, but ultimately, Beanie, Golden Bears are winning. They are wearing down Kingsley-Pierson, and ultimately, you lose your quarterback. That's a big emotional blow. They battled with Bishop Garrigan early, but it's just been a huge offensive night.
Yeah, they lost the quarterback. I see him on the sidelines over there in full dress still, so maybe he'll come out of the halftime locker room in street clothes, but I hope he's not injured too bad, and I don't know, maybe he'll come back in the game, but either way, you're down 45-12 to the Bears, and one of the great things about small high school sports in Iowa is most kids anyway play multiple sports. Garrigan's full of guys that are 4-sporters, even 5-sporters. And you got to assume Kingsley-Pierson is the same. Usually when you have a solid team like they do, it's because kids do participate in all sports. I know that's not always possible at the big schools, but in small schools, you love to see those kids participate in all sports. I think that's why I get so worked up every time I see a kid get injured. I'm not just thinking about the game. I'm thinking about that young man and his other sports that he's playing. But so far, the Bears looking healthy. Troyer looked like he got dinged up when he was celebrating after a big tackle on a kickoff, but he's just coming back. Miller's coming back from injury. He's looking good. He's moving around really, really well, coming off a high ankle sprain a couple weeks ago. And you never want to see players get injured. You especially don't want to see seniors in playoffs get injured. That's what always has me on the edge. And when players get injured is when they're not concentrated and they're not playing hard. So despite being up 45-12, I want to see these Golden Bears continue to play hard as they can. Play like you're in the playoffs in a tight game, because the Bears have not been challenged much. They will be, and they need to. You're right, Tyler. I have been negative tonight. They need to sharpen up. Like there's a good team waiting for them, and I see guys out there taking plays off, and I don't want to see that. They need to come out and be sharper.
Yeah, and that's always what you're looking for, really, throughout the season for Bishop Garrigan. You're always looking for room to improve, because you can have these games where they end up being 52-0 or 56-0 and say, we're the best, we're the greatest, you already have it made. But you're always trying to take those incremental steps. This team has their eyes, hopefully, on a state championship this year. That is the ultimate goal, and you're always looking to take steps forward towards that. And that's the nice thing about tonight. You're playing a Kingsley-Pierson team. They've clearly got some really good athletes. They present something different offensively than what you've seen, and even though the quarterback goes down, they still have a lot of great wide receivers. Kingsley-Pierson's offensive line, I think, deserves some praise tonight, because they've held up way better than they did in the first matchup against the Golden Bears. So that means the secondary's been tested. The quarterback's had time to throw. Kingsley-Pierson, even with the backup quarterback in, is still pushing it down the field, and that test tonight has been risen to very well by the defense for the most part.
Yeah, the quarterback for Kingsley-Pierson doesn't have a ton of time to throw, but I am surprised that the defensive line of Garrigan has been held out by that offensive line of Kingsley-Pierson. They're giving up some size to Bishop Garrigan usually. I mean, if Garrigan is playing with their big heavies on their defensive line, and that's Carson Kramer, Carter Schwab, Rosemeyer, if they're going big up front, Besh comes in there. They're bigger than the offensive line for Kingsley-Pierson, but those Kingsley-Pierson guys are doing a pretty decent job on their pass blocking.
And Bishop Garrigan is starting to get home a little bit more as the first half goes on, and that is just, again, you're wearing teams down. That's the identity of this Bishop Garrigan team. You wear teams down, and by the second half, they're out of gas, and you could slowly start to see that happen as the first half went on. That's our first half recap, brought to you by Murphy Realty and Management. We'll give a couple quick updates here before we get to You Make the Call from Algona Municipal Utilities. North Union and GTRA, they are just underway in the third quarter. North Union up by 8, 28-20 over the Titans, and in fact, North Union is driving inside of GTRA territory right now in the red zone, so they may be trying to go up by 2 scores in that one. Meanwhile, Algona, they're playing Bishop Heelan tonight in the final regular season game. Algona up 14-7 heading to the fourth, but the Bulldogs are driving right now, also trying to go up 2 scores as well in that one. Those are some score updates going on here tonight. We'll take another timeout. We'll get to You Make the Call from Algona Municipal Utilities next on your Edward Jones Halftime Show.
Life changes, then it changes again. At Edward Jones, we believe that when it comes to your financial goals, you can't predict the unexpected, but you can prepare. Challenges such as job loss, change in health, or loss of a loved one can have a big impact on your family's financial security. Hi, I'm Mackenzie Jorgensen, an Edward Jones financial advisor. Let's work together to help make sure you're ready for life's ups and downs. Call us at 515-395-4021 to get started. Together with Brady Ross, Jerry Sokup, and Bruce Keith, we are local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
It's time for You Make the Call as we test your knowledge of the rules. You Make the Call is brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit. Our referee this evening is Tom Claude.
In 11-player football, Team A would like A78 to line up as a tight end and be eligible for a forward pass. A78 reports to the referee that he is eligible. Is this legal? You make the call.
Make the call with AMU Telephone Service. AMU local and long-distance telephone provides the call clarity and reliability you expect at an affordable price. Enhance your AMU telephone service with calling features like caller ID and voicemail. When you switch to AMU telephone, you can keep your 295 phone number and you get friendly local customer service. Make the call to AMU to install AMU telephone. Algona Municipal Utilities, community-owned for community benefit.
Under 11-player rules, A78 can line up as an in on the line of scrimmage. However, he is ineligible to run a route or catch a forward pass as he is not wearing numbers 0 through 49 or 80 through 99. In 8-man football, there are no number requirements for any of the 8 positions.
And this has been You Make the Call, brought to you by Algona Municipal Utilities, where they are community-owned for community benefit.
Do you see yourself traveling, working part-time, or moving somewhere warmer when you retire? Hi, I'm Bruce Keith, your Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help make your retirement goals a reality. Let's talk about where you are, where you want to be, and how we get you there. Together, we can plan for the expected and make sure you're ready for the unexpected. Contact me, Bruce Keith, at 515-295-5173. Together with Jerry Sokup, Mackenzie Jorgensen, and Brady Ross, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, members SIPC.
You shouldn't need an advanced degree to figure out how to pay for one. Hi, I'm Brady Ross, your Algona Edward Jones financial advisor, and I want to help you understand all the options you have when paying for an education. Whether you're the first in your family to attend college or planning for a grandchild to build on a legacy that goes back generations, let's work together to take care of your unique financial needs. Call me at 515-295-7763 to get started today. Together with Bruce Keith, Jerry Sokup, and Mackenzie Jorgensen, we are your local Edward Jones financial advisors. Edward Jones, member SIPC.
More Sports Boosters bringing you this broadcast on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Sportsman's Corner, your power sports headquarters. Can-Am and Honda side-by-sides, ATVs, and motorcycles.
Farmers Cooperative of Odison and Algona, offering Kent show feeds for all your livestock projects.
Capacious Brothers Incorporated, Pioneer Seed.
Flipside in Laverne, open 7 days a week. Dine in or carry out.
Advanced Drainage Systems, our reason is water.
Snap-on Tools, the most valued tool storage solutions in the world.
All bringing you this game.
Thank you to these sports boosters bringing you this game on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Emerald, serving your favorite steaks and seafood, a great salad bar, and more.
Algona Hearing Center, better living through better hearing.
Bodie's Moonlight Garden, for all your fall pumpkins, gourds, and squash.
Vanward Trucking of Odison, livestock and flatbed hauling.
Suiday Health and Production.
Carroll Implement of Laverne, serving area farming communities for over 50 years.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Where you bank matters. Hi, I'm Sherry Bacon at Security State Bank, and we're relationship bankers. We get to know our customers and understand their financial needs. We're locally owned and operated, which means family, community, and service always comes first. So come to Security State Bank. We'll treat you like family. Security State Bank in Algona, Burt, and Laverne. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Security State Bank.
We've got more sports boosters making this broadcast possible on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Central Financial Group, where you belong.
Chemco Tires, your Goodyear tire dealer.
Murphy Farm Services, your local Generac and Cummins authorized sales and service center.
AK's Chrome Kitchen. Come get you some yum.
Stroman Family Dental, giving you something to smile about.
Bill's Auto and Truck Repair. Service is the difference.
High Point Land Company, your destination for land transactions.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Back here at halftime on Home Country Radio, KLGZ 98.5 FM and AM 1600. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie as the Bishop Garrigan Golden Bears. They're on top of the Kingsley-Pierson Panthers right now, 45-12. We continue to update you on another big 8-man game in our area. North Union leading GTRA 36-20 in the third quarter as the number 7 ranked Titans 8-0 on the season, but they're in danger now against North Union. We also got the update from Brian Wilson on the Algona Bulldog game as they're on top of Bishop Heelan right now, 14-13. Those are some other score updates here at the half, but in this game, 45-12 Bishop Garrigan. Beanie, you mentioned you want to see Golden Bears be clean here in the second half, stay injury-free as well, make sure that execution's good moving forward here. But as you kind of look back to the first half there, what were some of the biggest things that stood out to you from what the Golden Bears are able to do?
Well, as always, it always starts with the offensive and defensive lines for Bishop Garrigan. They've been good as always, but they've had little sparks when they needed it. I thought C.J. McGregor coming in, putting a little spark in that offense when he got in the backfield. Marshall's been fantastic as always with his big rumbling run down the field. When he just rumbled for about 35 yards, breaking tackles all the way. Every time they've needed a little bit of a spark, they've gotten it, and it's come from different players here and there. But there's been a few missed opportunities. There's been a few slips where receivers have slipped and haven't come up with passes. Furch has thrown some really nice balls, but yeah, they as always, the Bears get that spark whenever they need one, whenever there's a lull. They seem to come through with a big play.
And that's the exciting thing about this Bishop Garrigan team. Obviously, they played extremely well. You don't get to 8-0 without being a really good team, but you do watch games sometimes and say, they're playing great, but there's still one or two more plays they're leaving out there on the field, which tells you there's an even higher level this team can go to. So that's the thing to watch here as the playoffs go on. Just can you keep climbing up those levels, continue to play a little cleaner each week? You avoid those missed opportunities, right? That overthrown ball, that turnover. Yeah. There's still one or two plays that Bishop Garrigan left out there on the field that they can try to continue to improve on in the second half.
And can you be consistent? Boy, they started the game like world beaters. They marched that ball down their first two possessions, just beautiful drives. And then there seemed to be a little bit of a lull, just maybe a little bit of a lack of intensity. And I think that comes to bear from having such a successful season. You don't want to have complacency creep into your team at all. So I am very much looking for the Bears to come out looking like they did at the beginning of the game with some serious fire in their belly, as the RIP Deacon Larson years ago would have told them to find that fire in the belly.
Bishop Garrigan will kick off to start the second half. Right to left on the radio dial of Marceau wearing the black number 11 jersey, teeing up the football at the 30-yard line. Clayton and Cook are back deep to receive for Kingsley-Pierson to start the second half. Bishop Garrigan has scored the last 22 points in this one as they lead at 45-12. And they're going to whistle and stop things here before we get started.
Well, that's going to ruin the fire in the belly. Just when you get fired up, the officials blow everything to dead, and it looks...
They're telling Sean Tilgis to fix his uniform here.
He's wearing a hand warmer because he's usually on the bench, and they say, hey, you can't wear that hand warmer. And he throws it off the sidelines, gets to stay in the game.
Yeah, come on, only quarterbacks are allowed to do that. You special teams guys don't get pampered like that. Ethan Marceau is into the football in the second half from Bishop Garrigan High School underway. Clayton backpedaling and fielding at the 3-yard line. Returns up the right side to the 20, back to the left to the 25. Here comes a flag, though, and he barrels forward across the 26-yard line. Tilgis and Sink in there on the tackle, but there are two flags on the play on this run back by Kingsley-Pierson.
Well, one of the officials down there is Johnny Come Lately, because every time a flag gets thrown, another official comes in and just throws on the pile. Like, he sees a flag, and I'll add to that.
I saw that too.
He saw that too. He wants to get credit for that hanky. Someone out there is a late flagger.
Well, it is on Kingsley-Pierson on the run back, as those kickoff return penalties typically are. The Panthers now start at their own 13-yard line.
Well, the Bears did not win the toss, so Kingsley-Pierson deferred, and they took the ball in the second half. It's fairly moot now that the Bears are up 45-12, but now the Bears can start with this defense, see some fire out there. Carson Kramer on the front line, Carter McGregor, Carter Schwab.
As Kingsley-Pierson flips the formation around, Easton Nissen at quarterback after Landon Howe got injured in the first half on a hit by Tate Furch. Cook motions towards the left side as Nissen is in the shotgun right now, all by himself in the backfield. He fires out quickly to the left to Cook. Cook across the 15. He lowers the shoulder along the sidelines and scrambles out to the 18-yard line. He and Michael Joyce had a big collision over there as Cook will pick up 5 on first down.
Nice little play there for Kingsley-Pierson. Swing that ball out right away. We've seen Cook and Clayton doing a nice job in the open field. The plan is to get those guys the ball more, and Howe shows no sign of coming back in the game. Still in his uniform, however.
Yeah, that is disappointing. A senior quarterback in the last game of the season here for Kingsley-Pierson, and he goes down on that first half on an early drive for the Panthers. Cook in motion, he takes the handoff, running right side, runs into a bear hug of Mad Miller, and then even Marceau will finish off the tackle. Carson Kramer piles on top for good measure as that play maybe gained 1 yard out to the 20.
Well, there was some great lateral movement by Madden Miller. He did his footwork to the outside to seal the edge and then closed down fast to work with the linebacker and make the tackle. Textbook teaching on how to work that play.
Third down and 5 for Kingsley-Pierson. 11:21 and rolling in quarter number 3 as Kingsley-Pierson with the first drive of the quarter. Pistol formation for Nissen with Cook behind him. He has Schroeder and Clayton out to the right side. Trapp on the line as the tight end as Cook will motion out towards the right. Nissen zings it over the middle. Pass is tipped and picked by C.J. McGregor. He's got blockers in front. He's to the 15. He's to the 10. And Trapp will flag him down at the 8-yard line. C.J. McGregor, his second pick in 2 weeks. And the Golden Bears will start inside the Red Power red zone.
Oh, the good old-fashioned tip drill. Defensive coaches, you do the tip drill so often in practice, and the players start thinking, why do we always do this tip drill all the time? Well, that's why. Perfect reaction by C.J. McGregor. Ball gets tipped, and he's off to the races. Beautiful interception. Just like that, Bears are knocking on the door of the goal line. 11 minutes to go in the third quarter. One score will get the running clock going.
3 interceptions tonight by the Bishop Garrigan defense. One by Joyce, one by Mad Miller, and now one by C.J. McGregor. And a couple near misses as well on other pick opportunities. Tate Furch has Marceau on his left side. 2 tight ends, 1 wide receiver. Marceau takes it. Marceau barreling forward, driving the legs, and then he is taken down by Clayton inside the 5-yard line. Marceau picks up about 4 yards on that first down carry.
Marceau took a few big hits during that run, and they just glance off him. When he does hit the deck, he just pops right back up, tosses the ball back to the official. Just powerful running. And boy, with second and goal at the 2, can you say more Ethan Marceau?
Ethan Marceau already has 3 touchdowns tonight. Power I formation, 2 tight ends, 2 backs. McGregor the fullback, Marceau the tailback. Furch underneath center. The give to Marceau, and there's a flag at the time of the play. Podorf Beeson came shooting into the backfield as well, wanting to blow up Marceau, but it is a dead ball penalty as Bishop Garrigan false started.
Ooh, that will change. It might change the play. That was going to be I formation, fullback lead, Marceau into the end zone, but might change up the play now. I suppose it's confusing for teams when they see Marceau the size of the tailback there, and then Carter McGregor weighing about 50 pounds less than him blocking for him. That is a testament to how hard Carter McGregor hits and blocks. He's the fullback in front of Marceau, but now they will have an open backfield.
C.J. McGregor to the left, Carson Seidels to the right. Rosenmeyer's the left tight end with Miller the right tight end. Furch in the shotgun. And Furch is going to run left side. Bodorf Beeson had him briefly. Furch escaped him, but that is Clayton coming in to finish off the play as Furch gets down to about the 8-yard line, picking up a few yards on that carry.
The experience of the KP defense sniffed out that play. I think they could tell all the way that the way Furch was standing, the way the offensive line was set up, I think they knew that was run all the way. We're not threatened by the spread formation.
Third down from the 7-yard line for Bishop Garrigan. Third and goal with 9:30 again on the clock as Rosenmeyer's flexed out to the left. Seidels and McGregor to the right with Marceau joining Furch in the backfield. Caden Graves over top of the football as he'll snap to Furch. Back to throw is Furch. He guns it right side. He's got McGregor, and it is incomplete, out of his hands. Late flag in the backfield, though.
I think that might be unsportsmanlike on KP. Offensive line for Garrigan did a nice job pass blocking. Lear had his guy, Graves had his guy, but then after the play was over, there was some little extracurricular activity.
Yeah, it looked like, hopefully I got the 2 names right, but Graves and Jasperson looked like they were tied up and continuing at it after the play. Oh no, it's Lear, they'll get him on that.
Usually it's the second guy that gets caught. Now I saw Lear initially make a good pass block out there on the right side, and then I took my eyes off him, and apparently something after the play or maybe language, but we were down on the 3-yard line, and now we are back to the 22-yard line. That is the wrong direction.
Yeah, there have been red zone penalties tonight on both teams, and Bishop Garrigan is now no longer in the red zone. 4th and goal from the 22. At this point, you may as well go for it. See if Furch can lob one into the end zone here, and perhaps Joyce can win a jump ball. It'll be Joyce and McGregor going to the right. Rosenmeyer tight off the line to the left with Marceau joining Furch in the backfield. Down to 5 on the play clock. Furch lifts the right leg in the air and takes the snap. 3-man rush. Furch looking down the field, has some time, rolls to the right and buys more time. Furch to the sideline to Joyce, off his hands, incomplete. Passes inside the 5-yard line. Clayton was steaming over there to try to take out Joyce as well, but Golden Bears will turn it over on the 4th and 22 as there is a flag on the far side of the field.
Boy, the flags are coming out tonight. Boy, so what looked like a very promising turnover perhaps turned into a score.
Illegal motion on Bishop Garrigan, so penalty declined.
I saw that Garrigan never really got fully set. When you said 5 seconds on the play clock, they hurried up and not everyone got set before first snapped the ball. So, well, there's no way I can be positive about that one. That was an ugly drive. That was flat out ugly by the Bears. This is exactly the type of thing they got to sharpen up here in this playoff game.
Yeah, they could not capitalize on the McGregor interception, and Kingsley-Pierson has the ball back down 45-12 at their own 22-yard line. Nissen in the pistol, has Cook behind him. Cook takes the handoff, barreling on the left side, and he gets pushed back by a wall of Golden Bear defenders. Carter Schwab, the first man in there, and he maybe got 1 yard on the play.
Boy, Carson Kramer, he smacked the ground with his fists and dug his feet in. He came in on that defensive series right there determined, and boy, did he stuff that. Him and Schwab over there on the right side took on about 4 blockers and won the battle.
2nd down and 9 from the 23-yard line of 8:48 and ticking. Bishop Garrigan leading Kingsley-Pierson 45-12. We'll try to get you another update on that North Union GTRA game here in a couple of minutes as Nissen takes the snap. 3-man rush, here comes pressure, he unloads quickly and finds Clayton on the right side, and then Clayton gets planted at the 28-yard line. C.J. McGregor makes the stop. That's a solid pickup of about 5 yards, and now a man down on the field for Kingsley-Pierson again, as it's been a physical game tonight.
Boy, C.J. McGregor timed that perfectly, not a dirty hit at all, just a head up, good solid tackle on the sideline. You could tell C.J. McGregor from the opening national anthem when he was standing at attention, you could tell he just couldn't wait to play this game. And he's been outstanding on both sides of the ball all night tonight, the sophomore McGregor. Not to be confused with his senior brother, Carter McGregor, who's also had a good game.
Yeah, the McGregor brothers have been in the middle of a lot of things tonight. Carter McGregor had an earlier sack. C.J. McGregor a rushing touchdown on a pick. By the way, North Union, they still lead GTRA 36-20 about halfway through the 3rd quarter there, so that potential upset continues. Jackson Newman, the center, over top of the football as Hackett goes out to the wide side of the field. 3rd down and about 4 yards for Kingsley-Pierson. Howe gives to Cook. Cook looking for space on the edge. Besh takes him to the sideline, and Cook can't escape. He squirms across the 30-yard line. Only got 1 on the play, and it's 4th down and 3.
Well, that went right into the Bishop Garrigan sideline. All those guys are standing there in the pen, and no one moved an inch. They were like, well, we're used to this. We're not worried, but Tyler, I was running the chain gang for a JV game. When those running backs are coming at you full speed, you got to get the heck out of there. Those guys are coming at your legs. But, boy, when you're down there at field level, the whole game takes on a different personality when you start to see the speed and the helmets cracking.
Yeah, you see some violent collisions sometimes with the chain gang in college and NFL especially, as Nissen will punt the ball away. Michael Joyce goes back to his own 20-yard line as Nissen will unload that one. A spiraling kick down the middle of the field. Joyce a chance to return. Fields at the 15-yard line. Gets past Rasmussen to the 20. Tiptoes to the 25 and taken into the sideline as Joyce goes tumbling over the tackler that time. Stop made by Schmid on the play as Joyce will set up Bishop Garrigan at the 1st and 10. 7:55 on the clock and a 45-12 lead.
Michael Joyce made a great hard step to the right, almost like he's setting up for a basketball drive. He plants his foot hard right and cut back left, and that was good for 12 yards, that one move, because he was pretty good coverage on the play. At the end of the play, someone was clamoring for a hit out of bounds, but the Kingsley-Pierson person was on the ground. Joyce just tripped over him.
Yeah, that was more of a, yeah, exactly. Joyce was tripping over the man rather than a late hit. That's not one you're going to get called if you're Bishop Garrigan, as Furch comes out with Marceau's the lone setback. Marceau takes the handoff through the middle, lowers the shoulder, runs over a man across the 30, still chugging the legs. He's all the way out to the 34-yard line. A physical pickup by even Marceau of 8 yards. A classic run by number 11.
Oh, no kidding. What I like about that run is when the tackler was coming up to Marceau to hit him in the knees, as you got to do to get him down. Marceau got as low as he could, but he put his arms down there to plow through that tackler, even though the tackler was lower than him. That is skillful.
Second down at 8 for the Golden Bears. I formation right now, as it'll be McGregor taking it this time. C.J. McGregor squeezes through a small hole. Clayton makes the tackle, but it's a 3-yard pickup, and McGregor moves the sticks.
Well, this is really fun little thunder and lightning going for the Bears here with this game, where they've got Marceau in certain drives, and then they bring in McGregor right behind. Really good contrast.
As it appears that's Caden Graves down on the field right, or no, Graves is up, but one of the Bishop Garrigan players is down on the field right now. Well, that may be Schwab, actually. I thought that was one of the linemen there.
Yeah, it's either Schwab or Lear. I'm going to find these guys on the sideline.
Nope, it's Lear. I was 0 for 2 there. Sorry, folks.
You got 52
go for the linemen, but 52 and 53,
and 53. Yeah. We confuse those guys a lot, and they're both outstanding offensive linemen. They're always in there doing their job. He's getting up. Good news.
Well, we've seen guys get banged up all throughout the night, but Lear is walking normally off the field, so just got a little dinged up on that run here in a game where there's some hard hitting going on in the trenches. Of course, Garrigan's got the size that we all know about, but Kingsley-Pierson, a bit of size as well on the defensive line. So this Golden Bear offensive line has to be on their P's and Q's here tonight to generate holes for Marceau and company.
Nate Lear is one of those linemen that wears braces on both those knees. I know the Garrigan coaching staff always encourages those guys to brace up on those knees, but ultimately it comes down to the player. But Lear, you see those guys with braces on their knees, you figure they might feel it.
Carson Kramer playing right guard in his absence as McGregor has a hole. There goes C.J. McGregor again. 30, 25-20, 15-10. C.J.'s gone again. No flags in the play. McGregor for another house call. What a night by the Bishop Garrigan sophomore, and it's 51-12.
C.J. McGregor does not even hesitate when there's a tackler nearby. It almost makes him run better, and they just glance off him. He's so slippery. Seen him in JV last year and this year in varsity. He ran the Wildcat for 2-point conversions. He just has that je ne sais quoi. I don't know what it is. You can't bring him down.
He gets Kingsley-Pierson on a 39-yard run as Gage Meyer, who's been perfect on the PAT so far tonight, will look to tack on one here. Tate Furch to hold. Snap is a little low. Furch tries to get it down, and Meyer kicks it into the back of the offensive line. Not a good operation there on the PAT for Bishop Garrigan, but the McGregor touchdown run makes it 51-12 with 6:55 left in the third quarter on Home Country Radio, KLGZ.
The best place to buy a new appliance is also the best place to find a used appliance. And locally, that's North Iowa Appliance Center. You'll find a good selection of used washers and dryers, ranges, and refrigerators. Every used appliance is inspected by their experienced service technicians. And when needed, repairs are made and parts are replaced. They sell the best appliances in the industry, carrying Maytag, KitchenAid, Whirlpool, and Amana, so they get the best trade-ins too. North Iowa Appliance Center, Highway 18 East in Algona, where they sell the best and service the rest.
C.J. McGregor is as slippery as they come, ladies and gents. He just got Kingsley-Pierson for another big touchdown run, one of 65 yards, one of 39 yards, and Bishop Garrigan has extended their lead to 51-12 and activated the running clock. Even Marceau will kick off right to left on the radio dial as Rasmussen and Cook are back deep to receive for Kingsley-Pierson. Marceau will squib it over to the right side. He misfired on that kickoff as it'll roll into the boundary and out of bounds.
Well, up big, 51-12 here. We'll see if some second teamers come into the game here for Bishop Garrigan, but still a lot of time left. The difference is that clock's going to be running now. So even though there's 6:55 left in the third, this game's going to start flying right along.
Well, Beanie, we like to talk about current events a lot on this broadcast. We get people up to date with some important things going on.
We are newsworthy.
I saw the most delightful clickbaity headline today, and I'm just going to read the headline. I don't have a whole lot of context for the article, but I just want to get your reaction to someone who's an expert in what I'm about to read you here. So here's the headline I read today. Scientists say there's no limit for how big pumpkins can get. Your reaction?
World record, over 2,000 pounds. But you know what? Those guys have refrigeration. Those pumpkins are growing on a scale. You know, is this a challenge? All right, I think it is. I'm growing a big pumpkin next year, Tyler. Give me the $200 I need for the one seed.
Got a miracle seed to grow a 2,000-pound pumpkin as Cook tries to work the right side, and he has Carter McGregor jumping on his back. That'll go for a 1-yard loss.
Tyler, if I grow that pumpkin, I could carve it. You could probably live in there as small as you are.
Yeah, who wouldn't want to live inside of a pumpkin? Well, the world record is over 2,900 pounds.
2,900.
So it's going to take a while to grow it, but you could get there, Beanie, if you have the right formula in place.
I knew it was over 2,000, but boy, they're pushing 3,000 pounds for a pumpkin. Wow, that's heavier than I was in high school.
Imagine trying to carve that into a jack-o'-lantern. Clation motions towards the line of scrimmage. Nissen drops back to throw. He looks right side, and that pass is broken up by C.J. McGregor, intended for trap along the Bishop Garrigan sideline, and it's 3rd down and 12 for Kingsley-Pierson.
C.J. nearly had an interception on that. Boy, he has just been everywhere tonight, offensively and defensively. Boy, he must be wanting to run this football season as long as possible because wrestling is next for CJ. As we've mentioned tonight, a lot of these guys playing multiple sports. I think every single player out there for Bishop Garrigan right now is at least a 2-sporter, most of them 3 or 4.
Yeah, ideally for Bishop Garrigan, there's not going to be a whole lot of rest in between the fall and winter sports season, but that'll be determined as the postseason goes on. A pass over the middle of Clation, catches at the 30. He breaks a tackle to the 35, still rumbling forward out to the 40-yard line. He's chased down from behind by Matt Besh, but some tough running by Clation to pick up the 1st down.
So the big play there off camera is Carter McGregor put a pretty good pop on the quarterback, and the official came up and talked to him. They did not give him a penalty, but you could tell the official was saying that was unnecessary. But Carter said, yeah, it wasn't anything illegal about that. He got there right as the ball was released. It was a screen pass, so they let Carter through.
Yeah, Kingsley-Pierson does like that middle screen as Matt Besh has been banged up on the play. He's being looked at on the Garrigan sideline right now. That's the thing for a quarterback. When you're throwing a screen, you want to draw that defensive line as close to you as possible before you unload the ball to make sure that they are out of the play by the time the ball gets to the intended target.
Yeah, and McGregor was the guy that was kind of left unblocked, and he came firing through there. And when he got to the quarterback, he didn't hit him. He just gave him a kind of a forehand shiver there as Besh gets up and heads to the sidelines, a little gimpy. The head trainer, Jim, helps him off. Jim works with a lot of schools here, gets to all the games. Great athletic trainer, checks out all the injuries here.
Yeah, it's been, fortunately, most of the injuries tonight haven't seemed too severe, but it's been a night of a lot of guys getting banged up and having to come off the field.
Nate Lear earlier, he's back up on his feet, his helmet on, he's okay, you know, got to have him in there. If you need an offensive lineman, Nate Lear is in the dictionary as what they look like.
Nissen looking to throw on 1st down. Nissen gunning it over the middle, and that pass is incomplete. Was looking for Cook, but he was blanketed by Tate Furch down the field inside the 15, as it'll be 2nd and 10 from the 40.
And this is where the running clock really makes a difference. With a passing team like Kingsley-Pierson has been tonight, typically that would stop the clock, but with that running clock, it just keeps on chugging, and they're going to run out of time real quick on the offensive line for Kingsley-Pierson.
So 2nd and 10 from the 40.
Oh, the field is holding up really well, Tyler. We talked about that before the game, but I thought we might chew it up a little more with the cold temperatures.
Yeah, it doesn't look too dewy out there at all tonight. Maybe you were right after all, beating about the dew point in our pregame analysis. Cook motioning towards the right. Back throws Nissen. Here comes McGregor off the edge. Running away is Nissen towards the left side. He guns it deep down the field, and that pass picked off by Tate Furch at the 10-yard line, and he'll jog into the sideline. The 4th pick tonight by a hungry Bishop Garrigan secondary, and Tate Furch has his 8th pick of the season.
Wow, did he read that beautiful? He could have went up and covered the ball carrier or the receiver, but he thought, hey, if I stay back here, I might get the pick, and he does that. Great job, Tate Furch. Bears get the ball back again. You know, Tyler, these boys have had just wonderful weather. They're down there with their hands in their pockets and in their hand warmers. This isn't even cold yet. These guys haven't had a cold game. They haven't had a rainy game. A couple years ago, you got drenched at Rockford.
Oh, don't even remind me of that game.
They haven't had to go through anything like that. So, boy, these guys are just having such a great season, even when it comes down to the weather.
Well, another quick scoring update. North Union leading GTRA 42-28 in the 3rd quarter. So That game is still in favor of the Warriors right now. Another big 8-man playoff game. Here's the run on first down. C.J. McGregor scampering along the sideline again. We'll see where he stepped out. He got close to the sticks, and it looks like they will mark him shy of the first down yardage out to the 18.
Now the big defensive lineman Jasperson is slow getting up. Tate Furch has been very sportsmanlike tonight. He's helping up the big fella that's trying to kill him, and he's been helping guys up and patting butts all night. The gentleman, homecoming king Tate Furch. Boy, C.J. McGregor on that last run, he headed towards the left gap between center and guard and then saw something to his right and made a beautiful cut back to the right and picked up that 8 yards. That is a big accomplishment for the Bulldogs after a frustrating season, so hats off to them. 2 Catholic schools playing tonight in Algona. Only one of them's going to win.
Exactly, all in the same town here. Bishop Garrigan's had a little better night than Bishop Heelan has, up 51-12, that is. 2:42 and rolling with Furch giving the football to Carter Sink. Sink skittering his way past the line of scrimmage, jitterbugging and getting out to about the 20-yard line, and that is enough to move the chains. He got 6, he needed 6.
Carter Sink, another sophomore, had a great season running the ball at the JV level. And when he gets in the varsity minutes like he is right now.
That's the thing. I don't think I've seen a whole lot of Carter Sink behind this offensive line of Graves, Lear, and Schwab. So he's saying, wow, some big open spaces here being put on by this excellent offensive line. Some more room to roam than I'm normally accustomed to.
Yeah, that's right. Let's see what Carter can do behind the big fellas. Lear back in there. Schwab. Oh, they're overloaded to the left. Big guys on the left.
Bishop Garrigan gives off to Sink. Sink makes a man miss in the backfield. He's across the 30-yard line. Big acceleration forward, and he has a 12-yard pickup on first down. He was knocked down on the play by Cal Harvey, but plenty enough to move the chains.
Well, already got the wheels turning for next year. You see these young guys coming in running the ball. McGregor and Sink. That backfield looks very deep moving forward, not to mention Schroyer. Whew, the future is bright.
It always seems like Bishop Garrigan has a real stable of running backs at their disposal. You talk about Marceau, but there's plenty of guys who'd be starting on other teams behind Marceau. As it's first down and 10, Furch underneath center, and this play is blown dead as he was giving it off to McGregor, but flag came in from the official on the far side of the field to blow this one dead before it got started. They call offsides on the offense. And Bishop Garrigan goes back 5 yards for a first down and 15.
Well, they got to clean that up, but there's, well, most of the same bodies in there right now. Caden Graves, center. Carson Kramer in there playing. They're overloading that left-hand side of the line. They got Carter Schwab and Carson Kramer left of the center.
Furch gives it off to McGregor. Carter McGregor picking his way forward. He gets held up at the 30-yard line, and then the tackle is made by Rasmussen on the play. It was Cook holding him up, and then Rasmussen coming out to help out with the team tackle. A 2-yard pickup by McGregor.
That clock is running down to 50 seconds left before the third. I think the Bears will probably get one more play off before the end of the third quarter.
They do have to snap it at least once more with 45 seconds on the running clock and leading 51-12. It'll be I formation once again. Got Kramer in there, adding some bulk along the line. Here's the second down handoff to Sink. Patient running up the middle. Not a whole lot there as he explodes late, but only got about 1.5 yards back to the initial line of scrimmage with 27 seconds remaining in the quarter.
Well, the Bears are just overloading one side of the line. Got some big heavies up there blocking, but seem content just to have a rugby scrum and end this play and this series as the clock ticks down. They're looking for the sideline.
So Bishop Garrigan will look towards the sideline. We will run down to the end of the third quarter. Golden Bears in control in this opening round postseason matchup, leading Kingsley-Pierson 51-12. As we've hit the end of the third here on Home Country Radio KLGZ and at the Algona Radio YouTube stream.
Thank you to these sports boosters bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Iowa State Bank, helping people succeed.
Algona Livestock, sales every Monday.
Algona Frame and Auto Body, we meet by accident.
Farm and Home Services. View their listings at farmhomeservices.com.
Holmes Animal Clinic. Animals large and small. They love them all.
Engineered Farm Drainage, specializing in drainage tile solutions. Visit them on Facebook or engineeredfarmdrainage.com.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
Thank you to these sports boosters bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Daylight Donuts, open early with delicious donuts and great coffee.
Lichter's Garage Door Service and new installations. A reputation you can trust. Call 295-5988.
TAFE Wellness Center in Algona and Armstrong, keeping athletes in the game with chiropractic care. Take charge of your health.
Steyr Ag Aviation, aerial and ground application agronomy services.
State Line Cooperative, real people, real pride.
Redding Gravel and Excavating, serving Algona and the surrounding area since 1948.
All sponsors of this game broadcast.
We get the fourth quarter underway from Conway Field at Bishop Garrigan High School. Bishop Garrigan starts with a pitch to the wide side of the field. Carter Sink, full head of steam into the open. 30, 25, 20, 15, and at the 10-yard line, he's tracked down by Hackett. Another big run by Carter Sink, eating up yardage, and Bishop Garrigan leading 51-12 is inside the Red Power red zone.
Good blocking downfield by the offensive lineman and Rosemeyer after that initial pitch. Boy, that's the spark we're talking about. It was 3rd and 10 for the Bears. Looks like they might have to give the ball back to Kingsley-Pierson, but then, as on cue, they come up with a big play, a big spark that time. Good pitch play. We don't see that pitch play very often in the Bear playbook, but Carter Sink makes the most of it.
Bishop Garrigan's been gradually subbing out the regulars as Jared Graves now takes over for Tate Furch. Anytime Carter Sink gets into open space, he makes at least one man miss as Graves will try to sneak his way forward. Burrows behind the left guard. He's getting a big push inside the 5-yard line. He gained about 4 or 5 yards on a quarterback sneak, and it's 2nd down and goal from the 4-yard line for Bishop Garrigan. But the Golden Bears, they're going to have Graves taking the calls here, of Till just coming in as well. Hayden Miller, the tight end on the right side, of Weston Rosenmeyer on the left side. You've got Kramer at left guard for the Golden Bears playing right now, or at right guard, that is, for the Golden Bears playing right now. Sink the tailback. Matt Besch at left guard. And the center is going to be Noah Schaefer. Graves under center. Do they sneak it again here? They want to. Graves off the right side. He's got a crease. He dives forward, and he's down to the 1-yard line. He had an open green grass in front of him there for a second and almost took that in.
Yeah, he didn't follow right behind the center. He took a little sidestep to his right. Saw a little opening. 2 successful sneaks there. They're knocking on the door. Boy, down to what do we call this, the half-yard line?
Yeah, the half-yard line, as it's inside that 1-yard marking. They've done back-to-back sneaks, but do they get in there? That is the question here with another quarterback sneak, or do you try to go back to Sink here? Either way, you have confidence in those guys up front to generate a push. So Golden Bears leading 51-12. Again, this fourth quarter is going to fly by here for the running clock. Under 10 minutes left. Schaefer over the football. It's quarterback sneak number 3 in a row. Graves got tied up in the backfield, but he got loose, and he'll go in for the touchdown. They had him there for a second, but he broke loose, and Graves takes it in for the score, 57-12 Golden Bears.
Well, nifty blocking by Carson Kramer. He blocked down and hit what I'm going to call the nose guard, and then he used his big frame to kind of take on 2 guys, and that allowed Graves to squirt off to his right side. Good job, Carson Kramer, taking on 2 there. Give him credit with the touchdown, along with the youngster Graves, freshman, getting some mop-up QB duties.
2-point attempt for Bishop Garrigan of Graves underneath center. No sneak this time. It's a pitch to Sink. Sink has Till just leading the way, but he is brick-walled by Tyler Cook. A crunching hit that time, and the 2-point conversion is no good. Bishop Garrigan will settle for a 57-12 lead. We'll take a quick timeout. Back after this on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
Thank you to these sports club members bringing you this game on the radio.
Jagger Associates, North Iowa Roofing Specialist.
Murphy's Realty and Management, serving Algona and the surrounding area.
Prism Wealth Advisors, your roadmap to financial freedom.
Jake Ingalls Electric, shockingly good service.
Thompson Sewer and Drain, your septic specialist.
Steyr Flooring, home of the Floorinator.
River Road Golf Club, your friends go here.
Sponsoring this broadcast on Hometown and Home Country Radio.
Bishop Garrigan in playoff football mode tonight, leading Kingsley-Pierson 57-12 in a rematch of Week 1 of the regular season. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. Beanie, the Golden Bears continue to answer questions all night long. Not that there's a lot of questions about the team, but I've got a question here, and this one less about the Golden Bears and more about something that you've got to answer. What in the world happened to the Minnesota Vikings on Thursday night?
Oh,
My
dear.
goodness.
Oh, you know what? Those Minnesota Vikings, don't count them out yet, though. They're going to, J.J. McCarthy coming back. Carson Wentz throws the ball too hard. That's what happened.
There's a spinning kick. That one is running away from Hackett, who chases it at the 19-yard line and slides down.
I noticed
the wheels are off the Wentz wagon.
You didn't ask me about the Minnesota Vikings after they played your Cleveland Browns.
I did not ask about that. I knew all I needed to know about that game.
Well, you know, I'm okay with it because I don't like Thursday night football, and I don't like that it's on Amazon Prime. I like football for us normal people, so I'm going to just forget about that Thursday night game that the Vikings were part of. It's another Thursday night debacle for the NFL.
Yeah, Thursday nights, weird things tend to happen. It's the Thursday night games, the international games. You can just throw out the results from all those ones.
The Vikings haven't had any normal, good Sunday at noon kickoff, it seems.
Kingsley-Pierson has the football right now at their own 19-yard line. It's a pitch by Nissen near side to Cook, running to the 20. Cook to the 25, lowers the shoulder, and he's forward to the 30. It's a 10-yard pickup on that first down carry by Cook.
Wow, Cook laid the wood there. He is a good football player, a varsity player going against some youngsters there. But Leo Schneider, he came over, made the tackle. Carter Sink came over there to help, and that was some big collisions down there. And the coach is now going to bring Cook out of the game after that big run. Coach is giving those guys some hugs. That's nice to see. But Kingsley-Pierson calling off the dogs as Cook was about to run over our secondary.
Yeah, Trapp, the tight end, and Harvey, the left guard, also coming off the field and getting hugs from the head coach. New quarterback is Schroeder. He'll hand off to Rasmussen. Rasmussen taking it to the outside, trying to turn the corner, and he is turned back by Mahler. Jack Mahler kept the edge that time, and it'll only go for a half-yard carry. Yeah, this Kingsley-Pierson team, if you're just tuning in tonight, their senior starting quarterback went down early as it was on their second or third drive, and Landon Howe had to run to the sideline, and he got a cold shoulder that time by Tate Furch, and Howe went down with an injury. Easton Nissen, he played as well as he could in his absence, but ultimately the turnovers piled up tonight, 4 interceptions, and that really offsets the 2 touchdown runs by Nissen as Kingsley-Pierson down 57-12. So again, Schroeder, who started the game as wide receiver 3 or 4 here, is now the quarterback on the field. Third quarterback of the night, hands off to Rasmussen. Rasmussen right side, shimmying, getting out of an ankle tackle and reversing field, and then landing on his back and stopping that run is Leo Snyder. As Rasmussen saw some green grass to the near side, but couldn't get loose. It's third down at about 5.
Well, Snyder making some tackles here, but I think he's still reeling a little bit from that big hit he took from Cook before he went out of the game. But Leo's had a great JV season, and he's come in and played great varsity linebacker when he gets his opportunities here, typically in the second half, as most of these guys are there. And now we got Carson Seidels in the defensive backfield. He's another junior scrapping for playing time. He's going to be cornerback on the near side.
Yeah, it's interesting. You mentioned Leo Snyder's name, and talking with John Kesselring, one of the Bishop Garrigan coaches, he said, you know, these second-team guys make things really tough in practice with the scout team as there's a tackle in the backfield by Snyder. He's able to knock down Rasmussen, and that'll go for a 4-yard loss, but Coach Kesselring says Snyder's a guy who's really hard to contain on the practice field. He kind of takes things over sometimes, and he'd be a guy who's starting on a lot of other teams in the district.
Yeah, I do not doubt it. I mean, Garrigan, I'm beating a dead horse here. They're so deep. Some 8-player teams don't have enough players to really run a good practice, or at least have a very challenging scout team, and then the first-team offense just runs all over them. But Garrigan has the depth that their practices are hard and competitive. When you have that scout team defense, they're no slouch.
Kingsley-Pierson goes for it on 4th and 9 from their own 31. Schroeder grabs the snap of one hand. The rush coming from Besh. Schroeder got tripped up, but he got out of it. He spins forward, and he's shy of the first down by quite a bit. Gone past the line of scrimmage as Sink makes the tackle. Tilgis also helping out. That'll go for a 2-yard gain on 4th and 9, and Bishop Garrigan will get the football back.
Boy, Matt Besh, one-on-one, came out of nowhere. Almost spun him to the ground, but I thought he was going to break into the open field. I'm very impressed with Carter Sink and Sean Tilgis's closing speed from their linebacker spots. They had dropped back into coverage at their 45-degree drops, and they broke right out of that and closed really quickly. That's another good sign. I'm always thinking about that future, Tyler. I always, you know, I like to live in the present, but I'm also thinking about the future of this team.
The future is fun to think about as a timeout's called on the field. So timeout called by Kingsley-Pierson at 5:48 on the clock. But this is, again, it's a time to give the guys, the second team, a lot of love because you get to see the scout team in action and what they do on a week-to-week basis to get Bishop Garrigan prepared. I always love watching the Golden Bear pregame warm-ups, Beanie, because I see Jared Graves leading that second team offense. They're out there imitating the Kingsley-Pierson plays to get, you know, for the first team defense to get some final reps in. So if you're here at the Golden Bear field at Conway Field prior to the games, you can always see that second team offense trying to imitate the opposing team. So it's tough. You know, you've got to learn a new offense each week on the fly and play it well enough for your varsity start starting defense to get a good look at it.
Yeah, as a youngster, I always enjoyed trying to mimic the opposing team players. I just never got to when they had anyone fast.
I can't say I'm too surprised by that. Did you get to imitate like the water boy on the opposing team or something? What was the
towel boy? A towel boy.
All right, there you go.
You guys really got to watch out for this towel boy. Be ready. Tyler, I have a question for you. Are you going to be carving a pumpkin for Halloween?
I might be.
What if I give you a pumpkin? If I give you, will you carve one?
Yeah, I'll definitely carve one.
Would you go classic, the classic jack-o'-lantern face, or you have some sort of ridiculous design like a Guardians G or something?
You know me too well, Beanie.
I knew it.
I'd be carving a Cleveland logo into that very quickly. Nothing wrong with the traditional jack-o'-lantern, but got to get a little high representation in here from my home state as Till just takes the run for the middle, but he is brick-walled. He runs into a couple of white jerseys there of Jack Segla making this stop for Kingsley-Pierson. No gain on the play.
It appears the Bears are just going to run rugby scrums to get this clock moving. 5:30 left in the game, up 57-12. So I'll ask you another question. Who do you got in the World Series, Tyler? Who you rooting for? Who you think is going to win?
Oh, man, this is one of those World Series where I really dislike both teams in it. I will say I will root for the Blue Jays because I can't possibly root for the West Coast Yankees to win the World Series. But ultimately, I think the Dodgers are the better team. They have elite starting pitching, so I've got the Dodgers in 6. What about you, Beanie?
Dodgers in 6. I think Guerrero Jr. is going to hit 8 home runs this series.
Whew. Sink running left side, gets past the line of scrimmage to the 30-yard line, working the sideline, fighting for extra yards. Almost got the first down as he picked up 8 on the play.
Now, of course, it's not the day to talk about gambling, but here's a prop bet. Ohtani pitching to Guerrero Jr. Guerrero takes him deep in game 4.
Wow, that's a very specific bet there. But
there is. Put money on it right now. It's happening.
That's right. If that's your thing, that is what Beanie thinks is going to happen in the World Series. But yeah, that's an interesting to watch. Of course, Blue Jays and the Dodgers in the World Series.
Someone told me they would never cheer for a Canadian team, and I said, it's not really a Canadian team. I mean,
yeah, how many players in the Blue Jays are actually from Canada? I think is a fair question to ask. As Graves will sneak, but he is blown up on the left side. That was Jasperson just blowing back Herrick, the left guard, and burying the quarterback Graves in the backfield. It'll be 4th down and 2.
Well, he is a big fella. He's going to get out of the game now. He's played all night, big number 99. And, I have not studied the Kingsley-Pierson lineup. They were a 11-player a few years ago, very successful. I think this team is here to stay. Kingsley-Pierson might be here in the future as well.
Yeah, they've been a pretty normal playoff team. They didn't make it last year, but they were a playoff team the prior 3 years. So this is a team that's won a lot of games, including this season. As on 4th down, it's a hard count by Graves, and he got Kingsley-Pierson the jump.
I heard him from here. I heard him call that out. Wow, that was a freebie. Garrigan looks like it's going to be a 4th down and maybe end of the drive, but it moves forward. Clock continues to run. Well, Tyler, this 8-player game has gotten different in our area now that North Union is in the 8-player game. That could be a future rivalry brewing for the Bears.
Yes, and it could be a future postseason matchup for the Bears, depending on if North Union can hold off GTRA tonight. We've been updating you on that score all night long, as North Union has led most of that game, and they still lead, but it is one possession, 42-34 in favor of North Union right now in the 4th quarter. So that game is not over yet. GTRA and that explosive offense is trying to fight back into it. Graves on 1st down and 10. Gives off to Sink, working his way for the middle. He's across the 15-yard line and down to the 13. Well, Beanie, since this has turned into a questioning session, we're firing questions back and forth to each other.
Loving it. Bring it.
The Halloween season's coming up. I got to know, what's your go-to Halloween candy? What were the Bodies giving out at their household over the years and Halloween when people stop by trick-or-treat? What's your answer there?
Well, since I live out in the country, as they say, we don't get a lot of trick-or-treaters at the Bodie Ranch. But I will tell you, I have always enjoyed a Milky Way candy bar. However, making a late run at it, I'm starting to really enjoy the Kit Kats.
Oh, man, a little sleeper coming in.
You're supposed to share those with someone, but I'll never share one with you.
Here's the handoff to Till, just bouncing it off the left side, fighting forward for the 1st down, and he just got there. Well, actually, folks, believe it or not, I actually saw Beanie eating a Kit Kat bar the other day, and it was the craziest thing ever. He did not break the individual pieces off. He actually bit directly into the Kit Kat bar. It was one of the most unsettling things I've ever witnessed. So you might have to explain that to our listeners, Beanie.
Sometimes I don't even take the wrapper off. What's the point? When you're eating such junk food, you might as well eat the paper. Boy, but there's such crazy Halloween candies this year because chocolate's more expensive. Bad cocoa year for the cocoa farmers. They've been replacing chocolate with all kinds of weird things. So you got to read those wrappers, folks. It's maybe not chocolate. I saw something called Snickerdoodle Twix bar. That seems blasphemous to me.
They've got a little bit of everything now on the shelves as Grave gives off to Sink. Sink bouncing around. He's across the 5-yard line, plunging forward down to the 4. Sink with some in between the guards running that time to the middle of the defense. And Bishop Garrigan continues to matriculate towards the end zone with 90 seconds left.
I'm just going to guess in the Lance family household, you guys were one of those houses in Cleveland that gave out toothbrushes.
we did not give out toothbrushes. In fact, in the Lance household, we always overdo everything. So we would buy bags and bags of candy, and then we'd only get a couple of trick-or-treaters and say, well, we've got to eat the rest.
Yeah, you do overdo everything. Most people just run maybe a half a mile. You go for the full 26.2.
Yeah, we knew. I was at least burning off a few of those calories, but there was some Halloween candy to be had.
I used to go for the popcorn balls, but then you start losing your teeth when you get old. You bite into those sticky things.
Graves will take a seat on the football as Bishop Garrigan will now take one more knee and then run it down into the next round. It's a 57-12 score right now in favor of Bishop Garrigan. And, of course, we'll find out the opponents for Bishop Garrigan and the pod that they're in tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. from the state. Again, assuming the website doesn't crash, but they did well last week. Website stayed up. We got that matchup at 10 o'clock sharp, so we should see that again next week as well. As there's the seat on the football by Graves, and this one is in the books. It's first-round domination for the Golden Bears, defeating Kingsley-Pierson 57-12. Golden Bears will be back at Conway Field next week for the second round, as we'll find out that opponent tomorrow morning. We'll take a timeout, wrap up our broadcast after this with our player of the game and tonight's recap on KLGZ Home Country Radio.
High school sports on Hometown Home Country Radio, brought to you by these fine sports boosters.
Greg Penny & Company, certified public accountants where everyone counts.
Albert Electric. Flip the switch to Neil Albert Electric.
Dump It, Kasuth County's local and reliable waste service provider for commercial and residential customers in our area.
Glenn's Green Thumb. Paint your outdoor space with inspiration from Glenn's Green Thumb, North Main Street, Algona.
Weichert Realtors, the 515 Agency, a fresh approach to real estate.
Tom Eischen Sales, your store in the country, carrying steel and Toro products and Green Mountain pellet grills.
All sponsors of this broadcast.
Thank you to these sports boosters bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
J&J Custom Meats, located in Whittemore, continuing the tradition.
West Bend Ford, meeting your service, new car sales, and used car sales needs.
Tangle Salon, for all your cuts, colors, hair extensions, and massage therapy needs.
Fairway Meat and Grocery. Everything's easier, fresher, and faster with Algona Fairway.
Lusher Family Dentistry, serving your family since 1965 on Call Street in Algona.
Ulrich Construction, let them do the work.
Trend Salon, your complete family hair salon. It's all about you.
Bringing you this game on Hometown Home Country Radio.
Players, put your pinky rings up to the moon. Girls, what y'all trying to do?
Back to wrap things up from Bishop Garrigan High School, where the Golden Bears take care of business in the first round of the postseason, a 57-12 win over the Kingsley-Pierson Panthers. I'm Tyler Lance alongside Beanie Bodie. Beanie, always odd in the first round of the playoffs. The state really tries to avoid first-round rematches from the regular season, but sometimes it's unavoidable for the way you've got to schedule things and kind of finagle the brackets. So Bishop Garrigan draws the rematch from week one, and a similar outcome as they beat Kingsley-Pierson 57-12 in this ball game. Boy, I think tonight the offense really just kept the pressure on. Early on, I thought we might have a track meet tonight. Kingsley-Pierson and Bishop Garrigan trading touchdowns, but eventually, if you don't start getting stops on defense as the Panthers, your offense feels that pressure to catch up with the backup quarterback. Eventually, you start to get discouraged. You get down 2 scores and think, are we ever going to get a stop here? So I thought the Golden Bear offense tonight, they really just kept the foot on the gas all night and eventually sort of demoralized Kingsley-Pierson.
Yeah, this offense is really able to step up. Every time it seems like they might be in a tight spot, they're able to really lock it down, step up, pull off a big play. And that consistency hasn't been there, but when they need to really ground and pound, you just give that ball to Marceau, let that offensive line, boy, when they hear that play call and they know that Marceau's running behind them, they block well. But yeah, when that offensive line wants to move people, they can move people. We haven't seen anybody able to stop those big guys up front yet. And yes, offensively, they can get it done when they want to.
Yeah, there were some big-time alleys created in the run game. We probably don't talk about the offensive line as much as we should, but those guys up front, they are doing their job. Carter Schwab, the left guard, Caden Graves, the center. You've got Nate Lear at right guard, and I thought tonight, Weston Rosenmeyer, the tight end, he again had some really good, really devastating blocks down the field. And that's the thing for the Golden Bears as well. They're not just blocking at the line of scrimmage. You've got guys running down the field. They're following the play. They're giving guys a convoy and really just continuing that blocking effort for the backs all the way down the entire length of the gridiron.
Yeah, that was a bright spot tonight. Their downfield blocking was excellent when they got into open space. Matt Miller, back from injury, also did some great blocking in there when he got in there at tight end. But yeah, great blocking most of the time. I'm sure the coaching staff would like to see more consistency, less mistakes. Every coach always wants that. But as it is, the Bears have moved forward from the first round of the playoffs on a night when a lot of the state is still playing regular season. An 8-player game gets the playoffs going already, and round 2 coming up.
Round 2 is coming up for the Golden Bears here at Conway Field, as we were talking about. We'll find out tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. who the pod of Bishop Garrigan is in. We'll find out the matchup, we'll find out the pod, so we'll know the whole playoff bracket, the whole path to the Uni Dome that the Golden Bears would have to try to follow coming up tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. from the state. But big win here tonight for Bishop Garrigan. Defense deserves some credit as well. This Kingsley-Pierson team, so many great skill position players, so many good wide receivers, but the secondary tonight, they were hungry for a test, and boy did they rise to the occasion. 4 intercepted passes. Furch and Joyce each had 1. McGregor had 1, and then the linebacker, Matt Miller, also got a pick. So it's one of those nights where, again, you throw the ball down the field for Kingsley-Pierson. The Bishop Garrigan defense is not going to let you have any freebies.
You're right, and especially that defensive secondary really looking for those interceptions and doing well in that regard. But early on in the game, they really came up and made some excellent tackles, which as the game went on and you saw how talented the Kingsley-Pierson running backs and skill position runners were, you realize how good the defensive backs for Bishop Garrigan and the linebackers were tackling out there, especially on the edges. Because you saw Cook and company really able to lay some wood, but the Garrigan defense, they can step up and make some hits too. And we saw big hits by, well, a host of Bishop Garrigan players, but particularly Furch comes up, makes some big hits. C.J. McGregor makes some big hits. Joyce, boy, all of them. We can just go through the whole lineup. But very solid defensively and opportunistic for sure.
Yeah, and a tough way for the season to end for Kingsley-Pierson. You look back to what they were. They were 6-1. Their only losses to Garrigan, so they were undefeated in the district. You say, all right, final 2 games. Obviously, if we win both against GTRA and St. Ed's, we're district champs. If we just win one, we'll get in second place and have a pretty good first-round matchup. But you lose to GTRA in a game that kind of got away late. Then just a tough loss last week against St. Ed's where the offense didn't get going. And you drop those final 2 regular season games. You get sent to Bishop Garrigan. That's a really hard first-round draw. So it's one of those situations where I think this Kingsley-Pierson team could have made some noise in the playoffs, but this was just a tough matchup. You go against the 2-time Dome team, Bishop Garrigan. The past 2 years they've been to the Uni Dome, and this is just a team that is really experienced now when it comes to these playoff situations and knows how to come out in these games and really set the tone.
Yeah, they have the appearance of a solid program over there, right down to the very end of their season here. They're out there on the Bishop Garrigan field still meeting. You know, this is always a sad point for any team when they end the season. It's no fun, but it's also a chance to inspire those guys and talk about what they accomplished on the field this season. But you're right, a very good team. It's unfortunate for anyone to have to come in and play the #1 ranked team in the state right off the bat. But yeah, a good team over there in Kingsley-Pierson. But unfortunately, their season comes to the end of the night. Bears will play here again. So if you're listening to us, especially if you're one of the Bulldog fans that just saw a great upset of Bishop Heelan and you turned over to listen to Tyler and I, come out to Conway Field, watch the Bears next Friday. Every game gets bigger from this point out. More on the line, and crazy stuff happens in playoff sports of all kind. But the Bears are home for a while.
Yeah, the competition continues to build each additional round, so we'll see who the Golden Bears get next. We've got one final thing to do in our post-game show, as that is award our player of the game, brought to you by Erpeling Voigt & Company CPAs.
Erpeling Voigt & Company CPAs has a simple philosophy about the way they approach their business. Put people before the numbers. Before they can help you plan for a better financial future, they must have a thorough understanding of where you've been and where you want to go. They listen, then ask the important questions to build long-lasting relationships with their clients. They promise to know you and help you. Erpeling Voigt & Company CPAs. They're more than just taxes.
Time to award our player of the game, brought to you by Erpeling Voigt & Company CPAs. Each week we choose a Bishop Garrigan player who really stood out on the gridiron, played a big role in the Bishop Garrigan effort. Tonight, Beanie, it was an undeniable player. I always talk about, I usually try not to double up too much. We're at the point in the season where a lot of different guys have won the award, and there's some nights where a guy just plays so well, even if they've won it in the past, you gotta double up. And I think that night, C.J. McGregor had a huge game for Bishop Garrigan. Of course, you saw the big flashy touchdown runs, a 65-yarder, a 39-yarder to the house, pair of rushing scores from McGregor. But outside of that, really good night defensively, tackling some athletic players out there in space, and an interception as well. He really played an all-around game tonight.
Yeah, boy, everyone likes the flash on offense, and he certainly did that with the scores. But sometimes, Tyler, I think you and I could run behind that offensive line. What's more impressive to me on C.J. tonight was his defense. Boy, he was fantastic against some very good outside running backs for Kingsley-Pierson. He made some great tackles in the open field. I remember particularly one of the first half, just a beautiful open field tackle by C.J. McGregor. And he was just – his head was on straight tonight. Boy, you could tell from the very beginning of this game that he was in it to win it. Fantastic game by C.J. We don't always give it to sophomores, but C.J. has really stepped up. And I don't know that everyone predicted C.J. was going to be the player he is for the Bishop Garrigan team. There's a lot of guys I could say for on that Bishop Garrigan team, but C.J. steps up, gets the player of the game, well-deserved. Fantastic first-round playoff for that youngster.
Yeah, it's funny when you talk to coaches sometimes and ask them who are some of the big weapons that Bishop Garrigan presents to you that are going to cause some issues. Of course, they'll say Tate Furch, they'll say Michael Joyce, they'll say Ethan Marceau. C.J. McGregor kind of gets a little bit buried on that, but he's a guy that, again, you put him on another team, this guy might run for 1,200 yards in a season, and maybe he'll do that in the future at some point as he takes a bigger role and players graduate for Garrigan. But in the small doses you get C.J. McGregor, something electric always seems to happen when he's around the football.
Yeah, for sure. And as a sophomore, you see him out there as a sophomore, giving directions, communicating well. That's such a key that we don't talk about very much, is the communication on the field. And those guys, it doesn't matter if you're CJ the sophomore or his brother Carter the senior or Carter Schwab or Nate Lear, all those guys out there, they all seem to communicate well. It's crucial if you're going to put a run together in the playoffs, that they not only communicate well, but also have a common goal. And they don't have to get along, but they have to have a common goal and work together to get there.
Well, that's our player of the game, brought to you by Erpeling Voigt & Company CPAs, as C.J. McGregor takes home another award for Bishop Garrigan. One final note here, we've been following the score of the North Union versus GTRA game all night, and GTRA has gotten back into this. It's 48-42 North Union. The Warriors have the ball near midfield. That game is about midway through the fourth quarter, so that's still anybody's game. It was 2 possessions in favor of North Union earlier on, but GTRA again has it back to within 6, so that one's going to come right down to the end. We'll hear about that tonight over on the Iowa High School Scoreboard Show on 92.7 KLGA as the Scoreboard Show gets underway at 10 o'clock. We'll wrap up our broadcast for tonight here from Conway Field. Again, we will see you folks next week as Bishop Garrigan is on to the next round as they'll play again on Friday night against opponent TBD. Golden Bears move to 9-0 while Kingsley-Pierson will fall to 6-4. This has been a sports production of Home Country Radio KLGZ and the Algona Radio YouTube stream. For my partner Beanie Bodie, I'm Tyler Lance signing off. Final score tonight, Golden Bears 57, Panthers 12.